Hello, everybody. Welcome to Season 2, Week 3 of Canadian Contenders League. This is the final week of regulation for all the teams that are participating this season. It sounds like it's going to be an incredibly exciting night, one with a lot of potential upset that's present. So, looking forward very much to this match. Also, looking forward to being joined by Fuego.
Yeah, how you doing tonight, Kender? I'm super pumped for this matchup as well. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be a barn burner, I know, because these teams are fighting for their playoff spot. This is going to be a super high stakes matchup. These teams are going to lay it all on the line, play all their cards. We're going to see everything that they've got. No strats left, no strats saved. They're going to be doing everything they can tonight to secure this W because their playoff spot for CCL all rides on how they perform tonight. So let's take a look at the standings and see where these teams are really placing in their group. So looking at Group C already, we're gonna see Shift North. They have locked in their spot. Shinigami is out of it, and we saw Agony Esports on Wednesday lock in their spot, beating Acme 2-0. Didn't let it go to a map 3. So we're saying Shift North and Agony taking their playoff spots. And moving into Group B, what are we seeing here?
Newt Neuters earlier this week secured their playoff berth. I mean, they were basically already there to begin with, but they solidified their first place spot with a 2-1 win over Catlaf, and it was a very much of a meme kind of game, but a very fun one to witness nonetheless. Aerial Arise as well, 6 points, so pretty high differential between the top two and the lower two of Group B. They've been mostly decided for a while now, but sure enough, here at the end of Week 3, Newt Neuters and Aerial Arise will be heading on to the playoffs.
Yeah, and in Group A, it's not quite as decided as Group B was. These teams there's not a huge differential between the skill gaps in these teams. So Achieve Esports, Mystic Academy, and Seer Esports all fighting for their playoff spots tonight. Seer Esports is expected to 2-0 Sonic Boom. So that means Achieve and Mystic, they could possibly be fighting for a second place spot, depending on how this match goes. If Mystic Academy can take it all the way to 2-1, and we're going to see map 3, then Achieve Esports, they might get knocked down to third. They might lose their playoff spot, which is going to be huge as they are the reigning champions of CCL. And speaking of reigning champions, let's take a look here at our rosters and see who we're going to be expecting to see play tonight.
Yeah, so on the side of Achieve, not all of the former members of the championship team are still here, but you do still have Badger, Shu, and Genji who have remained on the team and are looking for that second championship run in this season. Joining them, though, will be Yams and Stu's World. I've had the pleasure of casting this team at least once in the past couple of months, and they're very well put together, and I don't just say that because Stick, their coach, is a good friend of mine, but I enjoy what I've seen from Achieve so far. I think they've got what it takes, most definitely, to take this all the way back to the championship game. But what are we looking at for Mystic Academy, Fuego?
Well, Mystic Academy, what we're seeing is Shapai. If you guys are unfamiliar with the scene, Shapai actually took an opportunity to leave Mystic Academy, and Mystic Academy elected to pick up Hacker, a member of Overture Gaming, and they're going to bring him into their roster. But Shapai is still playing with Mystic Academy here tonight, trying to lock in the playoff spot for his former roster. So huge props out to him just for showing up and sticking with it. He was with this roster for about 6 months. So I'm really going to tip my hat off to him for showing up tonight and really helping his former boys lock in their playoff spot.
Definitely two very capable teams coming out tonight. They're going to butt heads in a very, very intense match. And looking at this match, what maps are we going to be going to?
You know, I am honestly not quite too sure what these two teams are going to be bringing to the table. First off, we're going to see Chalet banned by Achieved. Not exactly a surprise and border off the room. So those are super frag heavy maps. A little bit attacker favored for both of them, especially given how borders changed out. Theme Park off the board, followed by
Skyscraper is going to drop as well. We are going to see Oregon and Clubhouse be the first two maps to get picked, Bank and Cafe, leaving only Villa as the final decider map should we go all the way to a third map. But Oregon and Clubhouse, you know, those are your bread and butter kind of maps. Both teams know how to play these super well. You don't want to throw in a dark horse map like a Skyscraper or a Theme where maybe one team hasn't prepped as much. Both teams know that each other know how to play these maps. And that's sort of a good thing because they can take confidence in their own abilities, in their own fundamentals, and their own basics when it comes to figuring out how to play and how to win.
No, definitely. Oregon Clubhouse and Villa. Those are the staple American maps. Those are the maps that every team in NA knows how to play. And so I feel like you hit the nail on the head when saying that these teams are going to be playing with confidence tonight. They're not going to be running around like chickens with their heads cut off. They're going to know what they're doing from start to finish. They have every site that they're going to go to. They have it planned out. They have their strats ready, and they're not going to be saving anything tonight. So let's go. I really am excited to see how this matchup's going to play out. I know that Oregon Clubhouse and Villa get a little bit stale, but with the staleness that you see on those maps, you also see excellent fundamentals. You're going to see how these teams come together, see if their fundamentals are really good. So we're going to see if Yams and Stews are great pickups here for Achieve, and we're going to see if Mystic Academy maybe going to regret Shapai leaving. You know, Shapai took a better opportunity, but maybe he might decide after tonight, like, hey, these boys, they still got it, and I still want to be here. You never know. You never know.
He's certainly with them for the championship run tonight. If they win tonight, I'm sure that he will stick around with them and hope to push them on to further victory. But like you were saying with these maps, we do see a lot of fundamentals, but I think that also grants a great opportunity for some really interesting, nuanced sort of strategies. As I believe Stephen King once said, one must know the rules and how to follow the rules before you can break the rules. So on a map like Oregon and Clubhouse, everything is very regulated and structured, which means you can learn how to nuance and break those structures. Maybe bring out some interesting pocket strats. I know I've seen them on Clubhouse over the past year or so. Some fun little jump outs, interesting rotations. There's definitely room for diversity on both these maps, even if some people might see them as stale at times. I'm very, very excited to jump into them and to get this match going as soon as possible.
Yeah, Wednesday we saw Agony on Clubhouse bring out a bar strat, and it worked. It actually worked. Bar for the longest time before the Clubhouse rework was a total meme, but they added a full rework which introduced the full top floor as we know it now, but then they also changed up how bar plays. They changed up the bomb site, so the bomb site is no longer in stock, and they actually move it over to stage, so it makes it a little bit easier to defend. You can do a little bit more top down verticality. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bar site tonight, especially given the higher pick rate that we've seen accelerating into this map and how it plays. But I think we're ready to almost get into this match. What are you expecting to see here with Mystic Academy starting out on defense for Oregon?
Obviously, defense is the exact place that you want to be sitting in on Oregon, especially to start. Achieve may have picked the map, but again, both teams going to be very confident with it, so I say Mystic Academy has the definitive advantage. Oregon, a lot of narrow hallways, a lot of easy choke points and cutoff positions that the defenders can hold really well. That having been said, those are pretty easily read by the attackers, and with the new attacker repick that's been in circulation for 3 or so weeks, almost a month, the attackers might be able to thwart some of those defensive holdings by switching those operators last second and playing around those rotations that they see on the drone phase. So as long as there's good intel from Achieve, even though they're attacking first on the usually defender sided Oregon, they definitely still have a very, very solid chance of taking this and getting the W here. I
Yeah,
think we're just about ready for teams to ready up. Hopefully here in just a second. But let's go ahead. Let's look one more time at Villa before we take this into the game.
yeah, Villa. That's again, Mystic Academy starting out on defense on that map. It seems like Mystic Academy is going to have the advantage because they want to take it through to 3 maps. So Mystic Academy, they're looking extremely advantaged tonight with the way that they're moving on. So, but I think we're ready to get into this matchup. I can't wait. Let's get right into this and let's see what we're going to be looking at as far as these operator bands go.
So speculation is not always my job, even though I like to try to include it in my position as caster as much as possible, but I do love to speculate on operator bans. So we see Thatcher most likely coming out here from Achieve. Pretty standard ban here, and yep, oh, who could have seen it coming? Now, if I'm going to throw out my bans, my predicted bans for the rest of the game, I'm going to say I see potentially Flores going down here, Kaid to boot with the Thatcher, and Mira as the final ban.
You know, I think all three of those bands are probably exactly what I would say. I would love to see a different band. I would have loved to have seen a Maverick. I would have loved to have seen a Ying band, but no, we're going to see the Flores off the board. He's the staple operator on this map because this map, even though we've seen a lot of shield changes in the meta shift, Flores and shields are still, I mean, they're commonplace on Oregon. You're going to see a bunker shield, you're going to see a tarp shield, and so Flores just makes it so much easier. Now, Valkyrie, one I did not expect. So Achieve obviously have a plan to deal with the Cade. Probably going to be seeing Maverick played heavily by Achieved as they just don't want to deal with getting the Cade claws off the wall. But for this last ban, Well, my.
Wamai.
Okay, so
Ooh.
100% on the attacker bans, 0 for 0 on the defensive bans, which is going to make for some exciting gameplay. These are bans that are shifting away from the default meta bans that we usually see. So this is probably going to change how it plays. We're probably going to be seeing pretty fast-paced gameplay coming out from these attacks from Achieved. And given the operators that we're already kind of seeing from them, yeah, they're going to be relying pretty heavily on their gun skill.
We're already seeing the Mira take advantage of not being banned. The Spaniard is usually taken out on a map like Oregon. Her hold down in Laundry, which is going to be the first bomb site, just so absolutely powerful. That position inside of Laundry, she can watch the long angle from that Black Mirror window all the way into the freezer and take out heads from an exceptional distance. So I'm sure she'll be very useful there, as well as inside of that E-box on the basement floor, stalling players inside of bunker. The attackers are going to have to look to find a different way to get around from that pillar location, from that freezer location. Maybe we'll see a laundry push come out, a big funnel there. They still have to deal with the mirror window. Perhaps not quite in the same way. Exactly. Look at this. We're already seeing aggro on the mirror. Make this. He's actually put the mirror window on freezer itself, so he's definitely prepared for the push to come that way. Achiever going to have to adapt accordingly. But they so far no operator switch ups. They still have 20 seconds with which to do so. But the operators that they're bringing so far, Hibana as the hard breach is an interesting one. She can mostly focus hatches, but she does have enough X Kairos pellets to also bust those walls open, damage those those black mirror windows, and make way into sight. Even if she's not a traditional hard breacher.
No, and I saw the Warden pick come out, and I was expecting probably because Ying is just super common in the meta, especially on Oregon as you try to take the basement site. And, seeing the Warden pick, I'm not really foreseeing that we're going to see a lot of usage out of him. Stews is bringing some smokes, but that's only 2, and most likely he'll just be using those for burn anyways, as flashes and smoke. And then those Zofia concussions are the only burn that we're seeing on the side of Achieve Esports. But the Warden pick, I love it. I'm not surprised to see it. He does bring a shield. He brings a lot of versatile utility, but overall, they're not going to be seeing too much coming out of the Warden pick on this first bomb set.
The Warden pick, though, probably more preventative to get rid of Yings to at least scare the attackers from playing Ying with that attacker switch ability. And like you said, he does bring some solid utility, so even if his own gadget isn't super useful, his C4 and his shield can provide some great either kills or vantage points from which to get kills for the rest of the defenders. But we're already a minute inside the round, and we've got VDOT posted up here at the bottom of White Stairs. He's going to go ahead and do some intel work. We're not going to see an all-out rush into the site or anything of that nature. Instead, we're going to see a bit more of a calculated push here. It looks like the freezer security drop might be the way the attackers really want to go, but also backstairs looks to be pretty popular as well. Genji going to take down Hacks. That's the first kill coming for the way of Achieved. A great start for them. That Finka doesn't even need the adrenal surge to pick up that kill, but he can certainly use it to pick his health back up, start pushing him back up towards that full health bar.
Yeah, going to be a beautiful first pick coming out from there. Just going to be catching off Hacks. It seemed like he was roaming a little bit in the kitchen side and then tried to switch his way back, and he's going to get pulled out. Excellent work by Stews there to pop the laundry mirror there, the closet mirror. So that's going to be making the freezer main push that it looks like they're trying to do just all that more effective. We could be seeing a little bit of an E-box drop probably late in the round, but overall excellent start as they're going to be clearing a lot of vital utility into Mystic Academy's hold, and they're already trying to work their way down White Stairs, and a great nade kill is going to come out from VDOT to secure Baron. That's your smoke off the board, and that's quite a bit of utility as well. That's a lot of time denial, and he already had got one off, but that's going to be a lot of utility off the board there for bringing down smoke.
VDOT will continue to push his way down into freezer, the first member of Achieve to actually make it downstairs so far. And so far, he's successful. He does still have to contend with this angle. I don't believe that mirror window has been busted out. It hasn't yet. He will deal a lot of damage, or somebody will, to Cryptics on the Jaeger. So the defense right now crumbling ever further as down will go Candle. That's your Warden off the board. Can't use those smart glance glasses at all. Cryptics downed even further, crawling away to try to survive. Aggro's the last man left standing literally right now. He'll manage to grab one onto Shu. He's going for the rotate through bunker. They catch him out, but he'll somehow win it out with the Vector. A beautiful headshot lineup right there. And Aggro's pincered all the way inside of bunker, though, with no real way to get back inside of sight. He'll try to rotate E-Bucks, but he sees the player on the pillar coming for the swing. He'll miss him. He's got 2 different angles to contend with right here, not to mention the rotate behind him. He's going to have to start getting aggressive if he wants to win this out. He'll get a trade, but the trade is not enough to win when you've got 2 attackers left on the board, and Achieve take their first attacking round.
Yeah, it was great work by Achieve Esports, just walking in, isolating the single roamer of hacks upstairs, and then being able to work their way down. We saw a beautiful nade come down the white stairs, which secured smoke, which allowed Freezer just to be kind of taken at their will whenever they decided to work their way down, which we did see them come. They came down main stairs, they came down Freezer, and they were able to push the player off of Chala, which allowed Freezer to be free real estate for them. They found the down pick on the Cryptics as he was trying to contest the Freezer angles, and so then you've got the mirror left in that 1v4. She did a great job of finding a few picks, and if she hadn't traded there, if she had just found the pick on a Maverick, maybe it's a little bit more winnable. But I don't foresee a Chief throwing a 4v1 scenario like that, as much as we would love to have seen aggro sort of get super. Get his clips for Twitter there. Aggro's a fantastic player. He's got excellent gun skill. He's going to demonstrate that in round one, but overall, just not quite enough. And so now Mystic Academy not electing to go back to that same site. They're actually going to be heading upstairs to the dorms kids site, which is tend to be most teams' preferred secondary site. So we're going to be seeing that come out of Mystic Academy for round two.
And interesting, we're not seeing the Warden here. I mentioned last round how the Warden is sort of a precautionary ban at this, or a precautionary pick at this point to deter any attackers from using that new attacker repick ability to switch on to Ying last second. And usually Ying, I mean, especially if you're Space Station Gaming, but really any team can do this, Ying is most popular when pushing onto the upstairs objective. Toss a couple Candelas through the dorms window, and you've got basically free real estate inside of the site. So it's interesting that the Warden doesn't come here when he might be needed most, but regardless, we're not seeing the Ying at all, so neither of those players will be here, and are therefore not really relevant. What is relevant, though, is Genji getting into a bit of an engagement, just trying to get this main door open downstairs. The roam game was really not present very effectively from Mystic Academy last round. We're going to have to use that a bit more. They don't just want to turtle onto site, because Achieve Esports have proved they're already absolutely skilled in the department of just picking off players one by one. They need some roams, and the roams need to have partners so that they can refrag off of each other should one of them fall. If they're not able to do that, I don't know if Mystic will be able to hold off the onslaught that has been Achieved Esports' attacks thus far.
One, it doesn't look like we're seeing a super effective, like we're not seeing Achieve Esports go for this roam clear down on the bottom side. They're just electing to ignore it. They're sticking to their attic and trophy take. They're trying to get open the master wall. We're seeing Genji throw his nades up through the AC window and clear the utility that they got off. Just a single mute jammer, so not a whole lot to deal with. I think he had to burn an ADS, which is why he had to throw both of his nades. So a little bit of effective utility gone. Fair for Achieve Esports, a couple of nades off the board, but them not challenging the downstairs roam here is pretty much going to mean that we either have to see nitro cells come out from below, or we're going to have to see these players rotate back up. Baron's still kind of hanging out by white stairs, trying to contest a little bit of white play, but for the most part, we've got 4 players back up on site. So that downstairs roam effectively just didn't really serve a whole lot for Mystic Academy here in this round.
It hasn't served so far, but we do see Cryptics down below beneath the rotate that's been opened from that master bedroom closet into games room. That C4 could be the critical decision maker at the end of the round if Achieve Esports are not quicker about getting this diffuser down. Beyond that, like you pointed out, Baron playing on that rotate, he's actually getting super aggressive here, not opting to wait and use a C4. He's pumped with the pump shotgun, actually. He will be taken down before he can do a lot of damage. It's an even trade out on the whole, though. 3 versus 3. Great back and forth gunplay from both teams. And the defense, though, when it comes to an even gun trade, the defense is always going to stay in the advantage, almost always, because they're the ones protecting. The attackers still have to make headway into the site. Making matters worse is VDOT falling to aggro, utilizing that great gun skill, whether it's the Vector or the MP5, and all 3 members of Achieve will quickly fall to the last remaining anchored defenders on this upstairs objective.
Yeah, I wonder how Aggro was able to hit off that flank, because we saw earlier in the round as a flank cam was set up in T1. So Aggro should not have been able to rotate around. And actually, we're going to see Aggro get removed by BattleEye, most likely for his ping. And so that is, I don't think we're going to have to result in the pause. We're actually probably going to have to see a rehost here if he was removed from by BattleEye. That typically means that he's not going to be able to rejoin. But anyways, as we move into a little bit of a last round analysis, Aggro shouldn't have been able to hit that flank because they had the flank cam up. So that's just a little bit of missed opportunity from Achieve there to find that flank pick and bring the man advantage back in their favor. We saw a couple beautiful swings. Yeah, we are going to be seeing a rehost here. But we did see a couple beautiful swings come out from Achieve Esports as they worked their way in. We saw Badger get super aggressive there on the games breach, and so as he was challenging the thermite, the Zofia was able to swing behind in bricks and was able to secure that kill. Everything looked pretty good, but then the Zofia was traded out. The thermite eventually was taken down, and so then we just saw the 3v3, the even tie that they had just fall absolutely by the wayside, and we saw a Mystic Academy take their first round against Achieve on their secondary site, which bodes well here heading into the third round.
Yeah, I think it shows that last round, especially, just how close these two teams are in terms of caliber of players with regards to gun skill, positioning, strategy. I mean, all those cross angles. You mentioned the mute trying to get a little bit aggressive onto the game's wall, and the crossfires there from the Zofia in the doorway to cut him off. But then the second he gets traded out, you see two more trades come the way of Mystic Academy, kills in their favor, and then another one in the favor of Achieve Esports. So it's just complete back and forth. They were all positioned perfectly to get those kills, but as I mentioned, the defenders always going to have that natural advantage because they're the ones holding the position. The attackers are the ones that have to make the move. They have to keep pushing forward, and unfortunately, they weren't able to push forward much more. Everything they did resulted in their death. So a great bounce back that round, certainly from Mystic Academy, proving that this is going to be a very, very tight game.
No, and attic is ultimately the pinnacle of a master take because you have to get the attic control. Otherwise, you're not allowed to walk in breach and go for your default plant, which I believe they did have shotgun holes or some sort of preparation for regardless. But the attic control is ultimately, it's the swing point of a master trophy take because you have to be able to enable those crossfires and be able to push the people off of the kids in bunk side. I would have liked to have seen maybe a rotation to big window just to apply a little bit more pressure
Mm-hmm.
onto the back part of that site. That wasn't there, and they weren't able to get the attic control. So ultimately, that round was going to go into the favor of Mystic Academy, regardless of what Achieve tried, unless we just saw Achieve walk in there and just win all their gunfights and just slay out. But overall, the attacking setup that we saw from Achieve there was just not as flawless as we saw from round one. They definitely left a lot of holes in their attack strategy, and so beautiful job from Mystic Academy to sort of exploit those and find their picks. And then when it came down to the 3v3, they pretty much had really nowhere to go on the side of Achieve. They had no pressure. They really had no map control or no site control at that point. They didn't have a way to get the plant down. And so beautiful round there from this academy to secure round two. Heading into round three, what site do you think we're going to be going to? Back to basement? Or do you think Mystic Academy's got something else up their sleeve?
Given how badly they lost basement, I think Mystic Academy are going to opt to go to one of the tertiary sites, either kitchen dining or I believe the more popularly now chosen dining or kitchen meeting hall, which seems to be the more predominant objective that's been coming up so far in recent games. Mostly for the fact that it's not just a long vertical line. That can make it very difficult to defend if you're defending kitchen and dining. As long as the attackers, I think the thermite trick still actually works from above. You can blow out the wall. If you can run and plant behind the couches inside of dining, you've got a very long way for the defenders that are probably anchoring inside of kitchen or meeting hall on the opposite side to get back to try to stop that plant in time because it's just such a lateral map, and when it comes to that positioning specifically, there's no real way for the defenders to roam above because small tower is its own isolated position in the map. So I don't think we'll see kitchen dining as a defensive objective. I do think we'll go to kitchen meeting though, which also has its own problems. There is a lot of verticality that comes into playing kitchen meeting hall, just like kitchen dining. And I think the attackers on Achieve could use that to their advantage as long as they don't get bottlenecked like they did in the previous round.
Yeah, kitchen meeting is certainly the preferred site. I think kitchen dining was super prevalent in the meta when we still had shields sort of as the predominant piece of utility that defenders would bring. And now with the changes to Jaeger and the changes to Goyo, we're not probably going to be seeing kitchen dining because that site just doesn't play the same as it used to. I wouldn't be surprised to see kitchen meeting, but anyways, I think we're ready to head back into this matchup. So let's jump right back into it and see where Mystic Academy is going to bring us for round three.
Absolutely, all of that speculation could have just been for naught, depending on whether or not Mystic Academy decided to go basement. It's not completely out of the picture. They did get flawless there, but again, this is Oregon. Everybody knows how to play this map. You lose one round, you go back, change up your strats a little bit, try to throw some nuance in there, and see if you can get something different cooking. Speaking of something different, we're going to see the Warden again. So we haven't seen him since the first round. He's coming back here, preparing on basement especially. He will actually change off onto the Jaeger last second, opting instead of trying to be preventative against a Ying, just running the Jaeger that can kind of counter all sorts of projectiles and grenades of the sort. So Jaeger, a very nice pick, especially given Wamai's being banned out in this game. He needs some sort of anti-nade, and he'll be running in tandem with Hax's Aruni. Aruni, who obviously offers kind of a trap as well as an anti-utility, anti-nade with utility with her Surya gates that can be really great at funneling players in certain positions, forcing them to waste utility and giving away their location when they do eventually decide to push. The Melusi and the smoke combo as well, I think, can really work in slowing down this attack if they can place those members in proper positions. We saw how Baron on the smoke died very early on the first time they tried to defend basement. If he's able to survive, then I do believe that he'll be able to make a very big impact on the round, potentially in Mystic Academy's favor.
Yeah, switching off the Jaeger here, bringing a little bit of that change, like you said, a little bit of more nuance. They're actually swapping to doing the Malusi. So I'm wondering if they're expecting more. Um, they need a little bit more intel on how these players are going to be pushing, because as you do the freezer walk down, as you do the main walk down, it seems like the Mystic Academy boys were just a little bit caught off guard by the way that Achieve Esports was attacking it, especially in the 3v5. They need a little bit more intel sort of to act on, because they're going to have to get aggressive. We know that when you're in a 3v5 situation, you kind of have to get a little bit active. You have to find that pick and swing the man advantage back into your favor if you can. Or the other option is to sit back and wait and hold a crossfire and hope that you can find a couple picks there and hope that your defense is really as solid as you would hope it would be. So the Malusi is going to kind of enable that, because as soon as you hear that wub wub go off and that Banshee starts screaming, you're going to know exactly where a player's at and be able to decide in the moment, okay, this is a tradable opportunity for us. We can find this pick and we can capitalize on this. Another thing that we're not seeing here is the Mira. So that's going to really switch up how Mystic Academy is going to play into this defense. And what do you think that they're going to be bringing different since they don't have a Mira?
We can see the lines of sight that they've got set up. They've got the Aruni to help put some Surya gates up over those holes. So they're not just rotation positions. They're not quite as clear to throw frag grenades through. I'm certain of that for the defense. But yeah, no Mira means you're just going to have to watch those lines of sight yourself and not have any sort of serious protection behind that. So it requires a bit more frag potential, but I think we saw that come out from Mystic Academy in the last round. Speaking of frags, aggro right here, position so precariously inside of the kitchen. The Finka of Gingy seems to know that he's there, but the swing, comes out at the wrong time. Just barely mistimed. Gingy with the great pick onto the head. An excellent opening kill to start for Achieve, and we do see this upstairs roam. It's the Malusi trying to make her way over to counter that kitchen player. Meanwhile, above, Shu taking a lot of damage, presumably from a pre-placed C4. I'm not exactly positive who might have thrown that out because the mute was already dead. Not 100% what that was that did so much damage, but regardless, Shu can be healed up by this Finka adrenal surge, but it'll be a very slow process and over quite a bit of time. Meanwhile, the attackers still have yet to flush out this Melusa. They were able to quickly take down aggro on the mute, who's not only a roamer, but also one of the top fraggers. You can't see it right now after the rehost, but he was top fragging for the defense last round. And now they're going to have to go ahead and try to push onto this Melusi, this Cryptics player right here on the back tower stairs, see if they can force her out of this position and go ahead and go for a pillar push.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit more of a different attack strategy coming out from Achieve Esports, especially off the back of that first pick. They're able to take map pressure very aggressively, and we're going to see Gingy get a double kill, taking the head off of Candle. That's your Jaeger off the board. No utility is going to be lost with him, as he doesn't hold any in his pocket after he's put it all down. VDOT's going to get traded out. That's your Maverick down. Hax is now rotated back up, taking a little bit of map control away from Achieve Esports here, and we're seeing Gingy sort of fight his way back, trying to find this pick, but Hax is going to pull his head off, and now we're working that back into a 3v3. As I said, when you are down in the man advantage like that, you've got to get active and work that back into your favor. And that's exactly what we're going to see from Hax as he works his way back up. Now we're going to have to see Achieve Esports slow down, sort of assess the utility placement and the positioning here for Mystic Academy boys, and see what they can do here as they work their way into the finals 30 seconds.
Even man count running into these last 30 seconds. We do have the hard breach on Hibana. She's going to go ahead and get this laundry hatch open, not even caring to drop down to 2 pellets. Just get that open as quickly as possible so that we can use it to bait and push into sight. They can use this hold, especially with these stun grenades, shut down the Surya gate, have the laundry hold as well as the hatch, potentially shut down some of these defenders deeper in sight. But as the smoke canister comes out, it looks like some of the attackers are going to have to go for a rotate in different direction. Laundry being focused with those smokes, but it looks like Freezer is going to be the main point of attack. Stews and Badger both going to drop in. Baron will manage to grab Stews. I don't think he realizes there's another player there, but it doesn't matter. He'll be taken down. No, just kidding. Badger's still alive, but he'll finally be shut down by Hax. He can rotate off the site and pick up kills, or he can sit there and anchor very properly. He's done a great job saving his team that round. It would almost tipped in the opposite direction, but Mystic Academy will go up 2-1.
Yeah, and that's the beauty there of the timing when you do a little split execute like that, because you got the single player working their way down the attic stairs. And so as they work their way into pillar, their timing has to be excellent, because they are the isolated player. That's the easy 2v1 crossfire that the defense can hold onto that player. And so losing your backside presence and leaving both of those players there in laundry, even though Badger was able to trade out and eliminate the smoke, we saw the Zofia, or I believe it was Genji actually, or was it Genji Shu, whoever, the LMG, beautiful gun, worked their way down the tower stairs, and they got caught off. They were isolated alone, and so their timing just wasn't quite in their favor there. And so we saw once that player was eliminated, it was only Badger left in Freezer, and so that's an easy crossfire. As soon as he swings out, he had both guns focused on him. And so Mystic Academy, they're going to switch things up. They change up their attacking style, and we saw it work in their favor. They're going to take their second round, leading them into a little bit more favorable as they head into their tertiary site now with 2 defensive victories in a row for them.
A great opportunity for Mystic Academy to go up even further. I think, as you noted, their defensive roam last time and their ability to respond. They were down 2 members within the first minute and a half. It was a 5 versus 3, looking absolutely awful for Mystic Academy. But that rotate from Hacks, the attackers were not expecting it at all. That aggression had not been shown from Mystic thus far in the game. They used it to their advantage. They're going to have to use it again to win a site, especially one that's as sprawling as this middle floor site. With being middle floor, it means that you've got players that are going to be playing above, as you see in T3 right here. I don't know if they're going to drone this in time. They might be able to grab a pickup here for Achieve Esports on the defense. They're going to drone him out. Oh, that's unfortunate. He's now going to be forced to rotate away. As I was saying, you've got players playing above, you got players playing below, you got players playing in small tower right now. The aggression from Mystic Academy, but it's being read perfectly. Genji with yet another opening pick. The LMG lined up, ready for that roamer, and the aggression not having been tempered properly so far. Mystic Academy will lose the opening frag yet again.
Yeah, it was excellent work there. It seemed like Aggro, he had a plan for the crossfire there. Malusi getting caught out, but Candle's actually going to win that gunfight, and that's going to be Genji off the board now. It's just repelling in Zofia. Shoo! He's just going to repel in. He's going to take that pick, but Baron's going to trade that out with the well-placed Nitro Cell onto the T2 attic window, and that's going to pull down VDOT. So here we are again, a minute and a half into the round here. You know, it seems like we get to this mid-round here, and it's already a 3v3. The aggression coming out from these players being read perfectly from both sides of the fence, but ultimately every round it's kind of favored Mystic Academy, or well, at least in the last round especially favored Mystic Academy. And here, as far as the damage done to Shu with the Finka down, it's favoring Mystic Academy again. And so granted, the SMG-11's not one of the best guns that you want to be left into this 3v3, but I think let's see if they can close it out here.
If you've got to have 3 operators left, I don't think these are terrible operators for Achieve to have. They've got the Thermite, he can get that wall open as he just did. You've also got the Zof who could help open above, get that anti-breach off the wall, can cuss those defenders, break any potential enemy shields. But you've got the Osa, who was a specific pick for this site. Because of her shield placements, her Talon shields, she can walk in and essentially set up her own defensive shield to plant behind pretty much safely. You can see that the entire back half of this big tower side of the map, this northern half of the map, has been completely locked down by the attackers so far. So if she can get behind a shield and go ahead and get that diffuser down, she'll have absolutely no problem planting it as long as the attackers are to cover any C4s or potential rotates from down the kitchen hallway. So it looks like that Osa might be absolutely pivotal here in bringing this back for Achieve Esports, but time will tell. And speaking of time, 45 seconds left. Cryptic's taking a lot of damage, but he'll get the smoke canister out. That's exactly what you need to hard counter that Osa. But Shu, he's going to catch Hacks with his pants down up inside of tower, or inside of attic. He'll get a great pick for his team. It's a 3 versus 2 now, but those smoke canisters, there'll be more than one person here and how much damage they're able to do. It looks like the Osa will try to move in, but Stews will be taken down. A great pick up there from Baron, very clutch. Both of the SAS operators going to have to pull it out big here if they want to shut down these remaining attackers. The push comes into kitchen and it read perfectly by Baron. He's up behind the refrigerator, taking him down, stuffing him full of food, lead, and other bullets. Meanwhile, Badger walking to side, trying to swing here. He'll try to grab one. He'll actually down him. It's not unwinnable right here, but he can't win out the last fight. Baron with a well-timed headshot. He's 3 for 3 with headshots in that round, and he very well just saved Mystic Academy's chances of victory.
Oh, beautiful work there. SAS operators. I doubted them. The SMG-11s, that's just not what you want in a 2v2 scenario like that, especially when you got such power coming out of the 5.56 XI on both the, or the 5.56 XI on Thermite, and then the 150 bullet LMG coming out from Shu, but they were able to win it out. I mean, it was beautiful work there from them. They were able to close that out. 2v2, they found the pick onto the Osa as they tried to walk in and get the plant set up, but then as soon as the Osa falls and you're left in a 2v2, Achieve Esports has no opportunity left but to try to push in for the kills. Beautiful work there as the Thermite walked his way down Green Hall. He's able to swing in. He pulls down the smoke, and as he swings around to try to secure the mute, he just doesn't quite hit it. And Baron's able to close that round out, finding both of those last 2 kills. So beautiful work there as Mystic Academy secure 3 rounds in a row. We're going to see a hat trick come out of them, and that's going to be 3 rounds that they've secured. So they've at least solidified a decent half onto Oregon, and now as they move into their top 4 site, this is when we saw them win the very first time they came around. So at GB Esports, they got to mix things up here, and Mystic Academy, they're adapting as well. We're seeing an alibi come out, which is going to bring an extra or the only shield, because we're not seeing the smoke, so we're not going to be seeing any super aggressive plays as smoke loses his life early. And we're seeing a little bit of a similar setup as Aggro here is on the Malusi. Probably going to see another tower flank. Let's see if Achieve account for that. And the picks that we're seeing come out of Achieve Esports, the only thing that we're seeing different here is the Nomad, so they're going to be really cautious of those flanks. So we're probably not going to see Aggro try to go anything too aggressive as he tries to work his way up the back stairs.
Yeah, Aggro probably won't be able to live up to his name quite as much, and neither will Hax, actually. We've seen the last 2 rounds now. Hax has been the one on the roam to be able to flank, usually a late game roam at that, to try to flank these attackers. We saw that in the last round as he pushed up into Attic unsuccessfully, as he did not find Shu in time. But nevertheless, he was there, and we see Achieve adapting accordingly. They're going to go ahead and bring that Nomad to shut off those rotations so that Hax, if he does try to go for another long or extended or late game roam, he's going to be knocked down by an air jab and potentially finished off in quick succession. Stews, though, I have to give him props. You can tell he's definitely the flex player of the team. He's switched operators probably more than any other member of Achieve so far. We saw him on the Osa last time, the Nomad this time. He'll play basically any operator that they need to help get them inside of the site. And I like that they have a dedicated flex like that who's willing to switch things up, play different operators with different guns and styles simply because the team needs them there. They might not always be the top fragger, but their willingness to change and to work alongside their team and to bring those operators that can be super clutch in the late game, that's absolutely huge. This time, though, Genji will not get the opening pick. Shu, the other LMG boy on the team, will find that. It's the first one onto aggro. Like you said, he wasn't able to do a whole. He probably wasn't going to be able to do a whole lot in this round, and that has certainly been proven to be true. Genji with another one. It's, oh my gosh, these LMGs just in quick succession, always finding these opening picks. We're seeing Mystic Academy already in a 3 versus 5, but they've had this before and they've come back from it, so they're not completely out of this yet.
Yeah, as he put this tower pressure on, we saw Candle just sitting up on the boost angle trying to find the head of Stews, and he wasn't able to do those so successfully, but he's going to trade a little bit of damage out with the Finka on the board. That's going to only leave one Adrenal Burst from her left, so he's going to be able to make his way out of there successfully, and so now this attic pressure is really going to come in strides. But this is not the first 3v5 that we've seen from Mystic Academy where they've actually worked it back in their favor. Now, they have allocated a little bit of utility to slow down this attic push, which ultimately, as I said earlier, it's just the penultimate positioning here that you need to take. You need to take attic if you're trying to go for this this trophy master push that they're trying to go for as well. And I don't see a player rotated over to the big window, so if they can't take attic here, they're probably not going to be able to secure this round. They've got the games breach open, they're working their way into attic, but attic pressure is ultimately going to be what decides the overall momentum of this round. With 5v3, let's hope that they can trade this out successfully and not lose it.
We see these Surya gates getting popped back up as well. Great use by the defense to waste even more attacker utility. Shu, though, he's absolutely poised on this angle right here, looking inside of attic. The attackers might not have full control yet, but the defenders are certainly going to have a difficult time getting out of there. But Candle on the late game flank. The Nomad didn't have her air jabs in position in time. Genji had no idea, and it looks like Shu didn't either. Both LMG top fraggers will be felled in quick succession. Candle now, he's looking to find even more. A great rotate off of site. The attackers now split up, separated. They're going to have to push individually, try to make something work here. They got control of attic, but they don't quite have control. They will actually win it out ultimately. Walking into the game room door, Cryptix will trade it back out. 2 seconds left. Another one bites the dust. It's a 1 versus 1 right now. Stew's World, he has to make the plant, and he doesn't have the time to. Coming up white just a little bit too late, and Mystic Academy by the skin of their teeth win yet another defensive round.
That's another 3v5 that we're seeing Mystic Academy win. It's absolutely insane, the poise and the prowess that they have in these scenarios to not get overly aggressive on site and lose a site player. Instead, we're seeing a very calculated and smart flank come out of Candle. He picks Genji as Genji's walking down, and then Shu, at that point, you just don't swing into that because it's a 4v3 and you know a player's off site. So you either set up a drone to watch the main flank again, or you just know that he's probably going to be rotating up the white stairs. And so then you act on a 4v2 within the site, but Shu's going to swing out top main, and then you see Candle just pull him down. And so now they've worked it back into a 3v3 by a very well-timed flank there from Candle and a little bit of stolid aggression there as he just elects to stay on the main stairs. And so that's another round for Mystic Academy in the 3v5. It's absolutely incredible. I'm really impressed by their performance tonight, and this is what I wanted to see because we spoke to this earlier. If Mystic Academy can pull off a 2-0 against Achieve and pull them down, they will secure 7 points for them. They will lock in their first place spot, and so then a 2-0 coming out from Seer Esports, we're leading to seeing Achieve Esports go from first place to third place based on how this matchup goes. And so I couldn't be more thrilled with the progress that Mystic Academy is making in this map, especially after round 1. What we saw, it was not very impressive. But Mystic Academy, mental fortitude, they're not letting anything slip, and now they've brought it back, and we're probably, I mean, I'm just super impressed. Like, I want to see Mystic Academy make it into the playoffs here, and I want to see Seer as well make it into the playoffs and Achieve fall into third place, and we might be seeing that.
The closeness of this division, by far the closest of any other division in CCL at the start of week 3 right now, makes this an incredibly intense game. These teams are definitely, they're not just throwing anything against the wall. They know that these games matter and they've got to play them accordingly. Right now, Achieve just a little bit down in the dumps. They haven't done a bad job so far. I think both teams have been very disciplined in how they've played, and Achieve have been especially excellent at finding those frags in the early game. When it comes to the late, they just can't quite execute properly. Mystic with these great late game roams, and it looks like right now they've got a little bit of an early roam going on. This double-headed hold up here inside of the kitchen meeting hall area with the rotate into security and that freezer hatch open, so aggro can do a little damage, stall for some time, and hopefully if he can get away with his life, he can manage to drop through that hatch and get away uncontested. Meanwhile, Candle there on the freezer stairs, the defense is perfectly read into this small tower push so far from the attackers, and that's really going to stall them out quite a bit.
Yeah,
Otherwise, though, not a whole lot of pressure.
the small tower presence seems to be like the starting point for Achieve Esports every round when they attack basement. They need to get the small tower pressure so they can clear out kitchen players and sort of work their way into obtaining the first floor presence, and that's where they start. Now, VDOT is going to catch aggro as he tries to move off, and so that is going to be the same opening pick that they had last time, as Mute is going to be going down. And so now they've got a little bit more presence on the second floor. We're going to see Hacks fall down tower stairs. We're going to see Candle work his way down. And so now playing at man disadvantage once again, we're going to see Mystic Academy just fully fall off this top floor roam that they've got going, this first floor roam. And now Achieve Esports can sort of work their way into the control that they want to achieve. And they're probably going to be going for the we're going to see the meeting hatch get open again. We've already have the security hatch open, so they know that the freezer drop is probably going to be good for them. The first round that we first saw them, they worked their way down freezer main, and it was beautiful. Now we're seeing an isolated player like Genji sitting on the tower stairs, looking to get a little bit aggressive. Hax is going to go down elsewhere, and Genji's going to be doing a lot of damage on the Cryptics as he's forced to back off pillar. And now things are looking very good for Achieve Esports because this 3v5 is a little bit more disadvantaged for them.
It might be more disadvantaged for them, but I still think you could make a drinking game out of the amount of times that we've seen a 5 versus 3 and then seen it bounce back into the favor of Mystic despite the early round disadvantage. So I certainly will not count them out of this yet. Candle's still alive right here. They've got the intel on where these players are pushing from. They know it's a pillar and a freezer push. They will have to watch those nades, though. Candle narrowly surviving despite the ADS. Can't quite find the player in there. Genji grabs one, Badger another. Looks like this 5v3 might not be so successful for the defenders. Achieve looking to find this as a 4-2 split. They won't quite make it a flawless, though. Candle finds Stews. He's rotating through bunker, but his position has to be revealed. They know exactly where Stews went down, and he's got it all to do. The diffuser going down. Oh, a great little pick right there onto Genji's head. You can't quite find the finish there. The pillar rotate will come out from Genji, though. He'll shut down Candle, and they'll make this a rather orthodox split when it comes to attacker-defender sided. Achieve Esports 2 to Mystic Academy's 4.
Yeah, it was excellent there by Achieve to at least secure their half. The 4-2 is really what you want for Oregon. And so Achieve Esports finally working out the round. They won basement twice as opposed to 3 times they attacked it. So excellent work from them to at least secure the default standard 2-4 split that they need. Now moving on to defense, they've got a little bit of work to do as they are 2 rounds disadvantaged, but it's not exactly unwinnable. They can simply win their basement primary site and their master dorms secondary site, or their kids dorm secondary site. And then we can bring it back up to a 4-4 split here. Now, what I really liked, I want to talk about that last round that we just saw, is the way that the soft destruction mechanic has changed is shotgun holes tend to be a little bit bigger. You can rely on the M590 to make it just a little bit more well-rounded soft destruction throughout the map. I was really hoping there that Candle was going to vault through the E-box rotate with probably 4 seconds left on the timer and find the pick onto the planner and then just sit there and watch as Achieve Esports just lost their heads as their planners now die with 4 seconds left and nobody really near him to try to pick up the bomb diffuser. But it seemed like the shotgun holes weren't quite made as big as I was hoping they would be, and so that we didn't see that happen. Nonetheless, Achieve Esports going to grab their second round of the split, moving on to their now basement site, which is exactly what we saw Mystic Academy bring on their first site. And we're pretty much seeing a relatively similar lineup here with the Mira coming out from Stews.
I was just going to comment on that. If you had any doubt in your mind that Oregon is not one of the most fundamentally understood, known, and most played maps in the pool for North American teams right now, and the fact that both these teams run the exact same operator lineup right now should probably tell you a little bit about that. Teams know how to play this site. They know how to play it well. These strategies when it comes to this level of siege are going to be around similar marks, I would say. And so we're definitely seeing that with the Mira. But of course, to counter the Mira, we have the Twitch. Cryptics right now, he can use those tasers on his drone. If he's sneaky enough with them and they don't both get picked off, he can open both of those Mira windows, which will completely open up the objective in terms of lines of sight. And that will really put a damper onto Achieve's defense. But that has not yet happened. Instead, what's happened is Genji, He's been phenomenal on entry so far for Achieve on attack. Looking to do something of the same for this first defensive site. He's roaming around Big Tower right now. There's a player towards the top repelling on T3. He seems to understand this, but he won't be the one getting the opening pick. Shu will. That's the Malusi inside of security. He will be picked off, though. Didn't seem to realize there was a player behind him in Kitchen using his own rotate against him. But because of that, the player on Big Tower will fall back. The defense doing a great, calculated, coordinated effort of not getting too aggressive. Genji falling back to the site and the appropriate time to make sure they're not overextending and throwing their lives away needlessly.
No, and that's beautiful work there by the defense, because that's, you find a pick, that's great, you can get a little bit aggressive, but as soon as one of your players falls and your other defenders have the opportunity to get out without being traded as well, that's what you need to do. You need to fall back. You need to accept, okay, sure, we found a pick. That's Ash off the board. That's beautiful work. That's a lot of utility off the board as well. Ash brings 2 breaching charges and potentially a Claymore to deny flank. And so losing Malusi, she's one of those set and forget kind of operators that you lose her, that's no big deal. You don't have to get aggressive to sort of counteract the utility that you've just lost there. What I also liked there was that Cryptix, he walked right in through meeting and just found Senpai Shu sitting in security, just totally unaware of his positioning, because the roam there wasn't quite fully well calculated. So it was beautiful work there by Mystic Academy to sort of take advantage of that, know which spots in the map they had free access to, and so they had the free walk-in to security there from Kitchen to be able to find that pick. So excellent drone work from them to secure, at least that pick did not go traded, or did not go not traded out.
45 seconds left on the clock, and the push into sight is going to be coming out here in just a few seconds. It seems like it's going to be an absolute slaughterfest. The stuns are prepared. Smoke canisters are flying out. Players prepping for drops. Frag grenades going out as well. The player on Pillar, what a great timing from Aggro as he's able to find Genji, who's been such a potent defender, or an killmonger so far in this match. A great shutdown for Mystic Academy, but they still have to get that bomb down on the site. They're trapped out in bunker. They've got this full northern side of the map in their control, but they don't have a clear way into the site without going through this choke point. Cryptix will be the first to attempt it, looking into Freezer. He'll find nobody. Aggro will be found, though. He'll be taken down. Quickly traded out, though. Badger goes down, gets fouled. Another one. The F2 coming out so huge right now from Cryptix, the last player, instead of Laundry, but Cryptix will win it out. A huge triple to end the round, and what a great flank work, rotating his way around the site and finding the tour to Mystic Academy, or Achieve Esports.
Oh, it was beautiful work there. Mystic Academy working in those last 15 seconds to isolate all of those players and knew exactly where they were playing. And so Cryptix, he just walks in, he finds the smoke, catches him off guard with the great pre-fire. He knows exactly where he's playing. The Zofia was not about to walk up to bunker and try to counter him and find a pick from behind. So it was great work from Cryptix there to find the swing. He saw the mirror go for the nitro toss, knew that she wasn't a threat, instead elected to swing onto the M590 standing there, and then found that pick. Doesn't push into the mirror, which is great work. Instead, elect to swing into long haul, because he knows that now with bunker free to take, that Zofia can rotate there instead, find the coverage from that angle. He elects to swing into long haul, finds the pick onto the Jaeger, and then boom, that round was all over. He knows exactly where the mirror is positioned. He's relayed that to his team, so he knows that the plant is good. You've got an extra player covering the plant, so if the mirror does swing out and Cryptix's timing isn't 100%, then that plant is still covered and that pick's going to be found regardless. So beautiful work by him. Excellent decision making. He found all 3 of those picks, and it just seemed like super flawless. I call it the flow zone. You get into those final 15 seconds, you walk in, you find the pick, you know exactly where everybody else is, and you're able to find the other 2. Excellent work there by Cryptix, and that's going to bring us to 5-2. Achieve Esports looking a little bit disadvantaged here on their defensive half, as opposed. I mean, granted, we did see Basement was the first round that Mystic Academy dropped, and then they still brought us to a 4-2 half. So Achieve Esports isn't out of it yet, but as far as this match's momentum is going, they're a little bit disadvantaged.
And to make the scoreline a little bit more manageable, maybe for those of you that haven't caught all of the games so far, or all the rounds so far, perhaps have forgotten, many of the rounds, I think at least 2 of them, came down to a 1 versus 1 or a 2 versus 1. Very, very close rounds that easily could have gone into Achieve's favor. And now that they're defending, generally in those 1vx situations, the defenders, again, because the attackers are always the ones that have to make a move, they have to aggress, they always have to be adapting, the defenders can usually sit and play accordingly. So defenders in those kind of 1v1, 1v2 situations generally have a pretty solid chance of making it out alive. And certainly, we saw Mystic Academy do that when they were on defense. They pulled out many close rounds, proving once again just how close of a game this is. So certainly, I don't want to discount Achieve Esports, even if they're looking a little down in the dumps, and perhaps this, I'm not sure if we're on a attack timeout. I actually didn't catch what we went into.
Just a
perhaps this
technical
will prove
pause, a little bit of issues. It's Siege. We all know how it goes. So a little bit of technical pause, I believe, as these players are trying to work out maybe a cursor bug or something along those lines.
There's it's always going to be something like that when it comes to a game like Siege, but such is life. But this could actually be positive for Achieve Esports. This can give them time. Obviously, they can't talk with their coach because it's not a tactical timeout, but they can at least sit there with each other, collect themselves, gather their bearings, and get ready to go for a big old push into the next round.
Yeah, I was hoping that after the first round, and we saw that go into the favor of Achieve Esports, that they would take the opportunity to sort of propel that momentum forward. But then we saw 4 rounds in a row come out from Mystic Academy. So we want to see the same thing come out from Achieve Esports. And now they've got a 60-second little sort of break in their momentum to sort of keep that going. You know, we want to see the 4 rounds come out from them and bring us up here as I want to see them do a hat trick. I want to see the exact same defensive outcome. I want to see this map go 8-7. Who doesn't? And so it does swing a little bit in the favor of Achieve Esports, as they've got a little bit of time to reassess what they want to do and how they want to push this forward. I don't believe we're going to be going back to basement, although that round did come down to a pretty tight scenario. We just saw Cryptix walk in and just win all of his gunfights. We're probably going to be seeing back up top. Maybe we're probably going to see them go to the Kids dorm site. I don't think we're going to see tertiary, but then this is Achieve, not Mystic, so everything's up in the air.
I would love for them to go middle floor, kind of try to throw the attackers off. It's a little bit more difficult to throw attackers off in that way. I know my PS4 rank stack and I, not to brag, we are high golds, but we used to back in the day love just throwing random sites into the rotation to completely throw off the attackers so they have no idea how to attack or they bring all the wrong operators. But now with attacker repick, that's not the same. It doesn't work like that anymore. You can go to a site that maybe the attackers are not as confident in pushing onto, but they can bring the operators that they know they need to take that site decisively. So it won't work quite like that. But regardless, a tertiary site's still not a bad objective, especially if you know how to use the upstairs and the downstairs. Since it's on the middle floor, you have that verticality from above that as a defender you have to watch. But if you're a clever defender, you know that you can use that against the attackers. If you cede position to them inside of the site, you can use those vertical angles, the hatch play as well, to get some nice picks onto those attackers that are trying to plant late in the round. But you can also use the basement. There is the hatch. If you go to kitchen meeting, there's the hatch inside of meeting that a lot of defenders will like to drop through and use the basement as a roam position. It's kind of like the basement in Villa. Nobody really plays down there a whole lot except to roam. Similarly, Oregon's basement can be used. There are 3 different stairwells that you can use to push up onto any side of that impending attack and shut them down from behind. So I think the tertiary site brings a lot of potential for Achieve to show some more discipline and some more of their skill, kind of like Mystic Academy were doing with their late game roams when they were back on defense.
Yeah, I could definitely foresee the basement being a pinnacle, a super high roam potential point for Achieve Esports as they try to work a defensive round. I think that if we head up top, we're probably going to be seeing a player probably sitting down in the basement trying to work a pick on a white stairs maybe, and they can just flop all the way around. The Oregon basement does work a lot like Villa in the sense that you can do that. You can put a player onto the freezer stairs there and sort of support the push down the security hall as they try to secure maybe a roam pick on the player playing in kitchen/security. So I do like Oregon's basement for its flexibility, and especially it's versatile even on the top floor all the way down to the first floor sites, because you just have so much variety and we're kind of where you can rotate. And it seems like every stairwell, the main difference is every stairwell here on Oregon leads to somewhere impactful that you can flank up and find a good pick, no matter what really site you're attacking. But on Villa, when you try to push up pantry stairs, if you don't catch a player playing off in kitchen, no big deal. But you can still push up brown, which leads to Astro, or red, which leads up right up the top red in the landing. So Oregon's basement stairs, they're a lot more versatile, which is kind of what I really like about the way that the roam mechanics play into this game. And based on the roam that we've already seen come out of Mystic Academy, I'm super excited to kind of see what Achieve Esports are going to bring under their roam as we head into this round 7 or round 8 and try to see, if they do a top floor, I want to see strong roam from them, because I feel like that could super play heavy into their defensive style and sort of catch Mystic Academy off guard.
Definitely. I know I'm just as excited as you are to jump into the next round. Unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be a bit more of an extension on that tech pause, so we're going to throw it to a break, but nobody go anywhere. The second Agro's internet comes back to life, we'll be back with you to cast the rest of this game.
life, can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I rip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bonnet. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted. Can't copy, printed. Can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoke it into existence. So consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap and I be speaking this.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Try to let go of all of the nonsense that you put me through. I give it all to you. I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue. You're uninvited. You wanna hold me close, but I know what you have to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why are you hiding? Tell me, what must I do? Come to
Okay.
All right. You
What
take
are
it
we seeing
away.
here?
We're seeing a 4v5 right now that apparently happened unbeknownst to all of us, including production. They just kind of jumped back into the game. And so here we are. So we will be playing without aggro. Unfortunately, it seems like his internet might have died. We're really hoping and praying that will come back to life. He was doing a pretty good job, especially in the early rounds of this game. Alas, he has been since taken out by the internet gods. Maybe he will rejoin us. One can only hope. But here we are on the top floor. We've not seen this objective from Achieve, and now they do have a de facto advantage that Mystic Academy are down a player. This will certainly impact how the rest of the game goes. On the bright side for aggro, though, Mystic have such a lead established right now that they can afford to lose a man and maybe lose a couple of rounds. They'll still maintain that advantage. They still have the opportunity to bring it back and buy aggro some time for hopefully his internet to come back online.
Yeah, we can only hope. And honestly, based on the operator lineup that we're seeing from Mystic Academy, it sort of looks like they are kind of affording to throw away this round. And we're seeing the Amaru come out, and the Lions. So I'm assuming maybe they're going to try to set up for some sort of calculated and educated rush that they might want to go for. But overall, I think Kendall's just kind of flexing his pina colada there, and Mystic Academy doesn't really have a plan heading into this round here. With the 4v5, they're probably just looking to maybe stall out as much time as they can for aggro to get his internet fixed out, and then in the last 30 seconds, we're just going to see a balls to the wall 4v5, just rush into the site and see what they can get done. But yeah, playing at a man disadvantage here is not exactly in their favor, but they're making the most out of it.
Absolutely, they are, and they do have that lion there. We haven't seen him get brought so far today, but he's certainly there. Not a bad operator in general, but he's probably primarily here to support that Amaru. The second she jumps in, or just before, he can use that EE1D scanner to go out in the sky, scan any moving enemies, freeze them in place so that the Amaru when the Amaru jumps in, she'll have the opportunity to take down a whole swath of defenders potentially. So we are seeing this white stair jump in, get opened up. We see the Zoph and the Ash positioned around that big stair door or the big window on Dorm. So it looks like a multi-pronged push coming out right here. And with the Amara, you can accomplish those in pretty rapid succession. So certainly not out of the realm of Mystic Academy for right now. And because they've got that Amara positioned, it's okay if the time starts to tick away a little bit. They need to make sure that they are perfectly set up to collapse and execute onto the site. So they can take a little bit of time in order to do this, but they have to make sure they don't get down so low that they won't be able to get the diffuser down in time and will lose the round as a result.
Yeah, and based on kind of what they're bringing here, I mean, we see Genji and Shu both downstairs. So really, ideally, it's a 4v3 onto the actual site. Now, if Shu can make a Nitro stick, we might see that swing back into the favor of Achieve Esports. But here we go. We're just going to get it started. They're going to rush in. They do the attic window jump in. We're seeing VDOT find a pick, though. That's going to be already the 5v3. But they're in the site. They're swinging it. And we're going to see Stu take down Candle while Cryptic swings on another pick. Now it's just a 1v1. Stu finds a pick onto his fellow man. But now Cryptic's here, 2v1 in the site, and Genji has the cross. So that rush did not work out very well. But man, it was super exciting because that kind of looked like, they had a plan there. And I was really hoping that plan was going to come together.
I was also hoping that plan. You could tell it was calculated, it was coordinated. They had the attic window jump in, I believe, maybe the dorm window jump in as well, the Amaru rush in. So they had that completely planned out. It just didn't time out exactly well. They lost that opening pick. The attackers did, and so they went down a little bit early, so it was a little bit difficult for them to bring that back once it was a 5 versus 3, but it was a noble effort, especially given that Stu's got the team kill with the C4 onto Shu, I believe that was, so that made it a little bit closer, but ultimately they had that collapsing firing angle there in the latter seconds of the round, and they were able to use that to proffer themselves victory. And now, oh, thank goodness, Aggro has rejoined. We're back in a 5 versus 5, an even game, so Mystic didn't have to lose too many rounds, and it was still a noble effort, I would say, going into that as a 5 versus 4. But you do have to wonder now, perhaps their mentals changed a little bit. Achieve, it was a bit of a meme round, some might say, that they were able to win there off of the 5 versus 4 rush. But regardless, they won a round. That could give them all the mental, not to mention the pause that just happened. This could give Achieve all the mental they need to start to turn this into a bit of a comeback.
You would hope to see it. I mean, honestly, since the switch, Aggro was one of the predominant players in the very opening rounds. And then as we had to do the rehost, Aggro has now since fell into 1v5 or to 1-5. And so even losing sort of Aggro's impactfulness as we move into the last couple rounds that we've seen here from him. Mystic Academy fighting on the back foot here with one of your top fraggers not really doing a whole lot. Cryptics has stepped up, so if they can find a way to shut these players out, they might be able to work something in their favor, but oh my.
Another rush coming out here. The Blitz. There's no Warden to counter. He's already in the site. He's busted the mirror window. He's got the Zoph there for cover. He's going to go ahead and flash the mirror. One goes down. Aggro will grab one, but the C4 will fall barren. Down goes the Blitz, the front line of that push, and down will go Candle as well, but it's still not unwinnable. 4 versus 3. You've got the Finka on the board. Just kidding. There she goes. At Genji with a great DMR line of sight to shut her head clean off her shoulders. It's all in these last two players. A great swing from Cryptics using that F2 phenomenally. He'll go down, though. It's all on Hacks. Doesn't see the player, and Freezer looks off at the exact wrong second. He's got those frag grenades, though. They can at least buy him a couple of seconds. Maybe he can make his way back over to Cryptics. In fact, he'll grab VDOT on the rotate away. What unfortunate timing for Achieve Esports. And somehow Mystic Academy are keeping this back close. Genji will finally finish off Cryptics. Another frag gets cooked out. The mirror running away last second. If that had been cooked for just a second longer, it might have found Stu's world, but instead he'll live to die another day, and Hack's gonna have to fall off, lick his wounds, and find some other way to push onto this site.
Yeah, the rush, we saw another rush come out there, but that time it was a 5v5 rush, so that was a little bit more winnable in their favor, and it was a little bit more calculated there, but the Blitz dying off early without even being able to find a single pick, he gave them the elbow control, which is what they needed, but it just wasn't enough to work it out into their favor now, and Hacks left on such low HP. Genji, he's just going to re-peek him and pull him down, and so Achieve Esports have found another round, which is going to give them 2 successful defenses in a row and bring us up to a 5-4 scoreline, which is now... that's momentum. That's all that they needed, because now they have chalked off 2 rushes from Mystic Academy. Granted, one was a 4v5, but they've done enough, I feel, because the momentum and the chalked mental that they could possibly swing into their favor, they're not out of it yet, and I love to see this performance coming out of them because standing off a 4v5 rush, no big deal. That's expected. But now stalling off a 5v5 rush with the blitz, the ever so deadly blitz there doing the bunker rush, that's something to be proud of. And so 4v5 or 4 to 5, that's what we're seeing here, and it's beautiful work there from Achieve to bring it back just a little bit.
I can't fault Mystic Academy for wanting to go for a rush, because what team would rush 5v4 and then once they get their fifth member back, a team that's been so disciplined and structured, that's been able to pull rounds out at the very last second, what team would do a back-to-back rush once you get your full team back? Nobody would expect it, especially not with a blitz, and it almost worked out. Like you said, they quickly got elbow control, but once the blitz got red and went down to that C4 from the player inside of Laundry, it was mostly downhill from there. Mystic Academy were fighting on the back foot with a man down, at least always at a man count disadvantage for the remainder of said round, and as a result, they lost it out. Like you said, Achieve, they've got that momentum now. However, they are having to go to a tertiary site, Kitchen Meeting. We haven't seen them play this yet. It's going to be an interesting one. We've talked earlier at length, actually, during both technical pauses about how the upstairs and the downstairs can be used on this site to make it potentially viable. But if you don't have a proper roam game, your anchors on site can easily get picked off from above or shut down, and the plant can go down from the attacker. So we're going to need to see a calculated and properly positioned roam if we want to see Achieve succeed at this and make this a tie ball game.
Yeah, and this is a huge monumental round for Achieve here, because this is the tertiary site which we saw Mystic Academy win. So now if they can win this and restart the cycle where they can go back to the top 4, which they previously won, this is going to be a huge round here. Tie us up the game, sure, 5 to 5, that's great, but it's going to reset their defensive cycle to where they can go back up to top floor. This is going to be a huge round here coming out of Achieve, because if they can win this, it's going to completely change the tide of the game. And Mystic Academy, they might regret having aggro lost there for the 4v5, and they might regret doing that rush there, which didn't work out in their favor. So this round is really going to be deciding the overall pacing that we're going to see for the rest of the game. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Nook pick. What do you think his plan is? Is he going to work his way up Freezer stairs? Is he ultimately just going to try to lurk and find an isolated pick? Or what do you think they're going to be bringing here with the Nook?
Given that it looks like the push is going to come from dining right now, they need some upstairs presence established. I can see the Nook maybe going for a rotate up the back tower stairs. If they've got a rotation into attic from back tower, if the defenders have one there, then perhaps you can make quick work of them, use those frag grenades effectively, and shut those players off that are upstairs. Because otherwise, once you get rid of those upstairs players with this OSA to lock down the long angle, you can absolutely go for a full free real estate plant behind one of those Talon shields inside of the site. Hax, though, his nade will be the first to strike. He'll take down Genji, and one of those Talon shields aforementioned will be the first to fall for the attackers. They still have the man count disadvantage until Candle goes down, making it more of an even game. VDOT with a great roam on the Jaeger. They haven't quite taken out that upstairs roam. As you can see, they're shooting at that player inside of Kids. Hax will be felled as well. VDOT a great double so far on the round. He's actually inside of the site right now. The roam is currently distracting from Mystic Academy. As a result, VDOT playing around behind this refrigerator pillar. He's doing a lot of great work so far inside of this round.
Yeah, and the Nock's still on the board, and I saw Stu's kind of working his way down main, but now with the 4v3, they decide to just not go for that sort of pressure onto aggro here. They still have Shu sitting in security and holding off this pressure, so they've got to try to find a way to get Shu out of this position so aggro can work his way in. A beautiful nade is going to come through, take a little bit of damage off of the hands of Shu, but a swing from there, aggro's going to pull the head off of VDOT. Beautiful shot from him. So Shu's still left in security. They know the positioning of this player, so it's all going to be up to Badger and Stu's to sort of find that aggression, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Shu and Stu's both getting aggressive. They're going to pull down Cryptics, and they're going to pull down aggro, and that's going to be your Nock and your Osa off the board. Now Baron's left in just a 1v3 with 15 seconds left here. This is going to be the tertiary site win here. He's got a lot on his plate that he's got to take care of. He's got to find all 3 of these picks. He has no time to plan. He's going to peek, and Badger's just going to pull his head off. And wow, we're seeing exactly what I had hoped. That is a tertiary site win. That is a hat trick coming out from Achieve Esports, and that is now going to be a tie scoreline.
High scoreline indeed. This makes it even more of a close game. I said before, Achieve Esports, they weren't out of it yet, and Mystic Academy will fall short yet again. Defense just proving to be too powerful of a side for the map of Oregon today. Not a lot of attacker success, but we are going to be going back to the upstairs objective. We saw the tertiary site, as you said, work out rather well for Achieve Esports. It did get a little close towards the end, but ultimately Mystic Academy stalled out. They had players moving into different positions. Finally, they managed to get that kill onto the ever powerful and ever obnoxious VDOT inside of the site. They caught him on the rotate, but they just had too many players split up. The Therm was going upstairs. One was still, the OSA was still trying to push from inside of dining, and the knock was still on security hallway. Nobody was there to cover the knock. Sure enough, Castle read that, went for the rotate, shut her down. After that, it was only a matter of time until the remaining 2 members, completely isolated from each other, were quick to fall. So not great positioning of the players there, though they were in a man count disadvantage. So a bit of a lost round given those opening engagements. But regardless, a very, very close game. We're going back to the top floor for Achieve Esports. They've only played it once, but they've won it so far, and it was a pretty handed win. I have to give them credit for that. So we'll see what their roam has to do. It looks like a bit of an extended positioning hold here. They've got the master walls as well as the arsenal walls opened up for increased viewability of the upstairs side of that main floor or top main stairs push. So I'm interested to see how they decide to play out the rest of this defensive round.
Well, it seems like what's they're trying to do is it almost seems like they want to counter exactly what Mystic Academy took advantage of them on the defense there. As Candle worked his way up main stairs, we saw on that one top 4 defense and found 2 picks. And so worked the 3v5 back into a 3v3. And we saw Mystic Academy actually win that defense there. So Achieve Esports is kind of like, what you did on defense is what we're exactly going to counter here that you're not going to be able to do to us. And so Achieve Esports, they're doing that trophy extension, and it seems like it's going to work out pretty well because the way that these players are pushing, especially with the knock on the board and the Ying, they're not going to be able to work their way into Master specifically. So they're probably going to have to be going for some sort of big window presence or attic presence, or they're either going to have to force these Mystic Academy boys to clear out Master, which is going to waste a lot of time in utility. And it seems like with this second floor or this first floor one that we had mentioned earlier, the Achieve Esports, I was hoping that they would bring out. This is being very well read into and countered. But Shu, he's going to find the first pick and pull down Candle. That's your Zofia off the board now. And a little bit more of aggression there by the Coyotes. He's going to pull the head off Baron. Aggro is going to find a pick elsewhere. That's going to be Genji. And so now with Baron down, Stu's down, Hacks on the AC Repel finding his picks. We're in an effective 3v2 here with 2 players down.
Yeah, very, very quick succession. These players have fallen. It's just really slipped away from the defense. It started so favorably for them, but these repels, these angles that the attackers have held, proving to be too powerful. Oh, but the Shu, the rotate! Oh my goodness! The double with the SAS shotgun. VDOT in sight will stave off the other player on the white stairs. They're now trapped between the upstairs and the downstairs player. They can't very well rotate without getting shot by one or the other. A great late game rotate. We praise Mystic Academy for them. Achieve Esports bringing it out right here, making this even closer of a round. But bear in mind, Aggro still has 2 frag grenades left. Cryptix has 10 kills to his name. These players have a lot that they can do utility and skill-wise to take down this round. They are cooking those nades, trying to throw them up into sight to get through the soft flooring, but it doesn't look like it'll be to much avail at all. All those defenders have fallen back off, playing more conservatively onto the site, listening. You see the player poised over there. The head going to be caught out, but Cryptix not grabbing him in time. In fact, I think he might just shoot down the Iana Gemini as it ran into sight. Unfortunate for both of the attackers right there. That could have been huge if they'd taken down the trophy player. Instead, I believe they'll rotate into attic as Aggro goes for a rotate onto main stairs. They're going to have to pull a lot out at this last second. The player going for the rotate. If the defenders get too aggressive, Achieve might just let this round slip away from them. Aggro, especially with this flank coming out here, they don't have a lot of time to make this work, but if they get the angles lined up, they just might be able to do it. But Aggro and Cryptix will both fall. A great round from Achieve to pull that back from essentially a 2 versus 3 or a 2 versus 4, and they've just gotten themselves on to match point.
Oh no, it was beautiful work there. I mean, the man disadvantage that they had, we saw Shu just absolutely clean up those players on bottom white. I believe that he'd actually dropped down all the way to the freezer stairs, or perhaps he came up main stairs from the basement. As we mentioned, that basement roam is so heavy, and so he's able to work his way up. They try to go for the res on the bottom white player and try to pick up Baron, and that just doesn't work out as Shu swings, takes out 2 players, works into a 2v4, and with the Yana pinched out, I believe that was Aggro there, pinched out on the white stairs. There was just not a whole lot left there. I would have liked to have seen VDOT and them kind of work that way and isolate that player and bring it into a 2v1 a little bit sooner, because then you wouldn't have had the staggered 1v1s that we saw there in the late round. But they elected to not go and get super aggressive onto Aggro there and not try to catch him looking the wrong direction. Instead, they divided their time. We saw excellent rotation from Shu as he was able to work his way back up into sight. And so then leaving the 2v2 there, it was great positioning because, VDOT, the 416C, a little bit better for those long-range engagements. And so he was able to challenge the player on white stairs pretty effectively. And then with Shu just waiting for Aggro to walk up into trophy with the head holes there that he had, M590 not close to range. That was a guaranteed gunfight for them. So great positioning there from both of those players to lock out that 2v2. Another clutch scenario then coming out from Achieve Esports to secure them another round. And now we're seeing them for the very first time have a round advantage. This is 4 rounds in a row, which is exactly what we talked about that I wanted to see. 4 rounds in a row coming out from Achieve Esports. And now there you have us on match point.
You've been almost prophetic this game to the point that maybe, just maybe, you've broken a caster's curse, but I won't ask you to make any further predictions and try to test God in that way. And regardless, we're going to head back to the basement objective. For those of you that may have forgotten, there is a round win down in basement for Achieve Esports, but it was also their first and only, I believe so far, defensive loss. They did lose down here the first time they played it. It was mostly off of the back of a huge push from Cryptix. Oh my gosh, he swung around the site. He circumscribed it, actually, and managed to take down 3 players very quickly, one after the other. So if they can stop Cryptix from popping off quite as much, or at least keep the man count disadvantage, or the man count's a bit more even, the defenders can win this here. It wasn't a complete loss last time they went here. It looks like they are adapting, bringing the Kaid to shut down maybe some more hatch play. But the attackers are already making quick work on this back tower, progressing onto the rear stage stairs. There is the player up above, and I don't think they realize that he's there. Genji and VDOT can go for a beautiful pincer here and potentially grab 2 of the attackers as they try to make their way, unbeknownst to them, that there are defenders nearby. Oh, yep, they don't know at all. VDOT with the catch onto Candle. He's going to take out the drone as well and rotate back downstairs. Only one attacker will be taken out, but that's a huge pick for the roamer, and he gets away scot-free.
And he's got the attic rotate to play a little bit more of a flexible roam and just be a thorn in the side here for these defenders. And so he's got a lot of versatility here on this roam. Now, what they thought that he did was something that Achieve Esports did the last time they played this. VDOT on this roam and Genji on this roam, they just elected to rotate back down to site. They didn't want to take any more challenges, and they didn't want to play any more aggressive than they needed to. So when they found the opening pick, all the defenders from Achieve Esports rotated back down into site. That was not the case this time. No one said VDOT elects to head up into T2, where it has not been droned, and he's got a rotation out, so he knows that's a little bit of a smarter play, and he was able to successfully find the pick. I think Genji was baiting there for him, and he was able to find that, but Aggro's going to trade that back with a nade now, and he's going to find another one. He's going to pull the head off of VDOT, so now we're in a 4v3 scenario. Here's Mystic Academy working their way back in, finding these picks. Hacks, he's going to take down Badger. Now we're in a 4v2, and what presence really did they have on the site? Because Genji's here just playing in pillar, and Shu is on such low HP. This is not looking like a winnable scenario for Achieve Esports, as they have given up their man advantage, and they've elected to get nothing for it. And we're going to be seeing Genji miss the swing there. Meanwhile, Shu's going to go on elsewhere, and then Cryptix is ultimately going to find Genji sitting there in freezer. So this is not the first time that we're seeing Mystic Academy just be at a man disadvantage and just be able to pull the round back in their favor. Excellent work from them there, because honestly, things looked a little bit lost. They looked like they got caught totally off guard there by VDOT finding that pick, but they didn't let it phase them at all. And so Mystic Academy, they're going to find their win. We're going to see 4-2 halves on both sides. And now we're into 6-6 match overtime.
Yeah, incredible comeback, really, from Achieve Esports, but then great for Mystic Academy. The last second when it matters most, they tie it back up again. The game, it feels like, has almost reverted back to exactly how it started. Achieve Esports losing their first basement objective on defense because they were out-fragged. Mystic Academy just bring the trigger finger so far on these basement defenses, apparently, and it's worked out successfully 2 out of the 3 times they've had to attack down there. So a great round for Mystic Academy to bring it back. Meanwhile, we see Achieve, just like in the opening rounds when they were on attack, Achieve were great at grabbing and finding the opening pick round after round. And yet we saw Mystic Academy claw back so many 5 versus 3s to defensive victories. So it really just feels like we're kind of taking a bit of a time capsule trip back in time, this time not in a DeLorean, just on the map of Oregon, though we are going back down to the basement. It is Achieve Esports on defense yet again. They're going to have to stop all of these kills coming out from Mystic Academy. Even if they get those opening picks, they have to make sure that they're not feeding into individual engagements once the attackers make it all the way down into the site. They need to have those crossfires better established and stop swinging unnecessarily and throwing away their lives.
No, I'm not happy with them going down to basement, because Achieve Esports, they won top 4 every time they went there. They were flawless on those defenses. And basement is the only site that Achieve Esports has lost now twice on defense. We're almost seeing mirrored halves coming out from both of these teams, because they lost the very first round, both of those being basement defenses, and then they lost the very last round of the half. We saw 4 rounds in a row come out from both of these teams, and here we are still at match point. So almost perfectly mirrored halves coming out from both of these teams, which really speaks to the absolute equilibrium that both of these teams have found in their attacks and defenses. They're very well matched up, and so this is such an even matchup to bring us to a 6-6 with almost mirrored halves. You love to see this level of competition because they really are fighting for as many points as they can get to try to secure themselves a playoff spot. Beautiful work coming out from both of these teams here.
And that's really the beautiful thing about maps like Oregon and Clubhouse is because there's such even grounds. Every team knows how to play these maps. They're your bread and butter of the game. Because everybody knows how to play them, once you get onto maps like these, you can really see people's game sense and gun ability shine. It's not just on pure strategy alone. Most people know how the strategies work, attack and defense both. They know how to play around them, how to counter them, etc., etc. So what it really comes down to is, do players know how to execute, how in the moment when everyone's sweating bullets, you got to know how to make those bullets find opponents. And I think both teams have proven they can do that with just how close this has been so far. Oregon has been a great canvas for which this match has been a work of art, of Van Gogh, I would say. A little bit messy at times, but beautiful nonetheless. And here we go, working their way down through this E-box hatch. This was their point of aggression the first round that Mystic Academy attacked on to the basement side. Oh my gosh, we're seeing the stun come out and the frag grenade quick to follow. This time, though, the pillar player will fall back out in time. Aggro, though, will take the opportunity to drop, and he's going to swing. The Jaeger doesn't see him coming at all. It's actually Candle from the back tower stairs grabbing the kill. The player inside of Freeze are going to keep Aggro frozen in his position. Genji, though, going for the rotate. He sees the gun player of the player in the site, but he won't be able to grab too many at all. Candle and Hacks making quick work of this defense. These defenders shut out of most of the site. He'll grab one, though, a great angle from Genji. Falls back before the grenade can find him, but Shu will add up that tally as well. Hacks gets dropped as well, a 3 versus 2, and suddenly Mystic Academy, this lead, this victory is slipping out of their hands. They've got this Finka still in pocket with that Adrenal Surge and a frag grenade that she can potentially use, especially as Baron is getting the diffuser down. The defenders are cut off from this location right now. They don't have the rotates, but they somehow still will force Baron off. Cryptic grabs one onto Genji, though. Essentially a loss right here, unless Shu can come back, but he can't. Candle with the shutdown. An insanely fraggy round for Mystic Academy, which is exactly what we've come to expect from them attacking onto this basement objective.
Yeah, I didn't like the pick to go back to basement there from Achieve Esports, and it didn't work out in their favor because as the defender sided as this map is, you have to go to the defensive site that favors you the most, and that was Kids Dorms, which is exactly what we're seeing Mystic Academy bring here. So Achieve Esports, it almost just seemed like a throw pick there as they picked basement to go for their first site. And I mean, regardless, you've got to win one of those because Achieve Esports starting out on defense, you have to win one or the other. You have to win both of those sites. Sorry. So you have to win basement and you have to win Kids Dorms. I just don't think that starting out on basement was really the right pick there because now they're down 6-7, and Mystic Academy has reclaimed the lead, which is the first thing that we've seen them do in the last couple rounds. So now Mystic Academy up 7-6. That was such a huge round for them to take. Basement was most definitely their strongest attack, and that just fed right into the Achieve Esports pick there. Fighting now from the back foot as Achieve Esports, and as they head into this attack, Kids Dorms just hasn't been the most prolific site for them to be attacking on. So Achieve Esports overall disagree with the pick, and now let's see if Mystic Academy can close it out here 7-6. Let's see if they can make it 8-6 and secure at least 1 point here heading into this last match.
Let's not forget how defender-sided this match has been today. The only losses that have come for Achieve Esports, as you were saying, came on that basement objective. The rest of the time, they were winning these defenses pretty well, pretty handedly, I would say. More handedly than I think Mystic won some of their defenses. And yet you opt to go for the basement. Just so questionable. And now you have to attack again. We know that Mystic has been so powerful on these defenses so far in the game. It's going to make it really, really difficult for you to pull this round out, but not impossible. We did see Achieve. It was 2-4 on their attacking split, which means they won at least 2 rounds, and I believe one of them was onto this upstairs objective. It's not outside the realm of possibility. They very well could do this right here, but they're going to have to get around a pretty stout-looking defense. The Malusi Banshee there, those wubs giving away the position, slowing down players, forcing more utility to be burned. The mute there to shut down some wall pressure, act as some anti-breach that will have to be dealt with. Again, more utility being wasted. Finally, you've got the Aruni, you've got the Jaeger for that anti-nade, and the Smoke, who's going to be the crux of this defense, not only because it's Cryptics with 12 kills, but also because those canisters can plant deny. If he can stay positioned firmly inside of Attic or Kids and chuck those smoke canisters at will onto games or dorms or wherever else the plant is going down, he may very well clutch out the round for Mystic Academy and push them over the edge to win here.
What I think Achieve Esports has to do, a jump out actually, instead, and Genji's going to find that pick. So now that's going to be a little bit more advantage into their favor. Genji's going to find a huge opening pick onto Candle. And actually, what I was just about to say was they have to deal with Candle's roam, because the last time, or one of the times that we saw Achieve Esports attacking onto this top 4 site, we saw Candle absolutely dismantle a 3v5 man advantage that Achieve Esports had obtained, and then bring it down to a 3v3. And then ultimately, Mystic ended up winning that round. So now that's a huge pick, taking down Candle first, because that's a lot. Not only a huge gun and a good fragger on the side of Mystic, but that's your flank player on the side of Mystic Academy. So that's going to be the one thing that I wanted them to deal with, and they've already got it dealt with here in just this first minute and a half. So excellent work there finding that first pick. Now they're just going to slow down, and they're going to have the time to sort of work out what they really want to do, and hopefully they're setting up flank drones so we don't see that come into play. But Baron sitting below this attic breach, and now he's going to be looking to find a nitro as soon as VDOT clears this Aruni gate and tries to walk in. Let's see if they're aware of it. He's looking down there. He knows that this player's there. Sees the head, goes for the swing, doesn't end up doing anything, just trading out a little bit of damage, but he's going to go back and re-peek it. Implied none of this nitro cell is going to come through, not going to net anything here, though, instead. So he's probably going to like to just back off into sight, and he's going to slow things down. He tried to go for a pick, tried to get aggressive and get a little bit active, but he wasn't able to work it out. Genji's actually going to be catching off his flank there as he tries to work his way back. So now Achieve Esports in the 5-3 man advantage, but this isn't the first time we've seen Mystic Academy pull off a 5v3.
Yeah, again, take a shot every single time we see a 5 versus 3 that shifts back into Mystic Academy's favor. But the last time I said that, they wound up throwing the 5 versus 3. With the player position down the hallway, though, they can look to change this back in their favor, and they will. Hacks with a big one onto Genji right there. Not only one of your top fraggers, but your Finka, those adrenal surges, those frag grenades, they're no more. And the player, the rotate, he might grab one, he'll certainly grab the Thermite. Badger will be felled. Hacks on about half HP. The player's coming around Master Bedroom. The swing will come out. The diffuser is down. Hacks is going to wisely back off and force them to pressure that diffuser and that wall if they want to try to get into sight and get the bomb down. 9 seconds left, less than that actually. Shu firing around, trying to find enemies. They backed off. They're playing so conservatively. This is excellent for the defenders. It will be evened out by Stews World 1 versus 1 essentially, but Cryptics will win it on time. Stews can't quite find him in time. And my goodness gracious, what a phenomenal game we saw today. 8-6 in Mystic Academy's favor.
Wow. Yeah. Honestly, I would be in the hospital right now if I took a shot every time that we saw Mystic Academy bring a 3v5 back into their favor. I mean, Hacks is just insane, proven to be an excellent fragger on their side, because he finished out 11-9. Not only that, but combined with the picks that we saw from the very first couple of rounds there before the rehost, beautiful work from him there to bring it back. And I mean, that's just insane. Another 3v5 in the books of Mystic Academy, and they're going to close that map out 8-6, looking beautiful here as we head into map 2. And what are we going to be seeing? Clubhouse, another huge fundamental map. So this map has just been a barn burner, and I hope that we're going to see the same thing on Clubhouse here. But wow, just what an incredible performance by both of these teams here in map 1.
No doubt that Clubhouse, yet another fundamental map like Oregon, can turn into a similar barn burner situation, though it should be noted, Oregon was Achieve Esports map. They lost it in very close fashion, mind you, but they lost it nonetheless. Clubhouse, again, it's the pick of Mystic Academy because it's such a common site that doesn't rule Achieve Esports out from being able to take it, but it will certainly be a difficult feat, especially starting with one map in the enemy's belt. That morale, that's going to be a detriment to their moral and, just thinking and ability to be motivated for this upcoming map. That could really be the tide turner, I think, in the rest of this series. But regardless, I think we're just about ready to throw to a break. So don't go anywhere except maybe to get a little bit more food or something to drink. We've got a great second half coming back on Clubhouse. And we're back. See, that wasn't too long at all. But while we were away, there was actually a very interesting development in the Group A of Canada Contenders League. Fuego, please enlighten us.
Yeah, so actually, if we could bring up the standings here, what I want to take a look at is Seer Esports took a forfeit victory to Sonic Boom. So Seer Esports has now guaranteed themselves 6 points, and how the round differential is going to play into that is going to be insane, because based on how this matchup goes tonight, Achieve Esports, if they only pull off one map, and we go into the cider map with Villa and Mystic Academy, we're able to take 2 points. That means we're going to have a 3-way tie, all coming down to round differential, heading into deciding which of these teams are going to be moving off into playoffs. So that could be absolutely humongous. That could be just an insane way to end off this Group A with a 3-way tie. I'm super excited, because if Mystic Academy is able to secure the 2-0 here, then that will actually knock down Achieve into third place, as we were talking about earlier. So Achieve Esports, they have to do their best here to at least secure Clubhouse, because if they can't secure Clubhouse and they get 2-0'd, they have lost their playoff spot. So this map, Clubhouse, this is going to be all of it. This is going to be deciding right here, right now. This next map is going to, everything's on the table. All the cards are played, because this is going to be deciding who moves into playoffs here for these last 3 teams. SYR securing their number 1 spot. Achieve and Mystic fighting here to see where we're heading. So, I mean, it's going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely insane. And I can't wait to see Clubhouse here tonight.
The stakes could not be higher than they are right now. It's, we started the night with both of these teams, Achieve and Mystic, first and second place in the league, and all of a sudden Sire has snuck their way up to the top. So these teams are no longer first and second place respectively, or even that at all. So with this round win, that's at least 1 point going to Mystic Academy. So they at least guarantee 5. So they are essentially tied right now with Achieve Esports, fighting for that second place spot, or to potentially throw off Sire Esports altogether. So much going on, so very, very intense, and I think we're just about ready to jump on in to our Clubhouse match. We're going to Germany.
We're going to Germany, and man, this is going to be electric. This is going to be huge. The performance that we're going to be seeing here from Achieve Esports, because they got to fight back already on the back foot, already down the map. This is going to be insane. We saw excellent fragging capability come out from Achieve Esports. Genji pulling out just absolutely insane numbers there, finishing off that match. So heading into Clubhouse here, I hope that we could see the same performance from him, because I really want to see Achieve Esports secure this map. I'm not trying to sound biased, but I want to see it happen. I want to see it come out. I want to see us go the distance and pull us out 3 maps. But let's see if Mystic Academy got anything to say about that, because if they win, they secure their playoff spot, and it's done and over with. They've got 7 points on the board for their standings, and so let's see what we got here.
And certainly a big portion of how to win a map is, determined by the ban phase. The Thatcher, the pretty stereotypical ban coming out here. Clubhouse has probably more hard walls that are important and actually matter to the site than perhaps any other map in the entire game of Siege. I mean, you've got Jacuzzi Wall, you got CTV Wall, you've got Dirt Tunnel, you've got all these different hatches. So to see the Thatcher get banned out means that anti-breach is going to be a lot more potent in staving off hard breachers. Speaking of hard breachers, Hibana getting dropped is perhaps one of the biggest detriments to the attack on this map. Ace and Thermite both usually preferred hard breachers for making bigger holes in walls, but Hibana, she can counter impact tricks with her X-Kairos pellet, her ability to switch the number of X-Kairos pellets that she's using at a given time, her ability to open hatches and still have enough to open up multiple walls at the same time. Hibana is by far the most versatile hard breacher in the game of Siege. Losing her on a map like Clubhouse with multiple hard walls and multiple hatches, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, Mystic Academy banning out the Valkyrie here, followed by Achieve's Miro. That's going to leave Cade up on the board, which is an operator that plays very hand-in-hand with Thatcher. And we saw Cade left up on Oregon. Didn't really slow down these attackers as far as getting those hatches open and getting the wall control that they wanted. So leaving the Cade up here on Clubhouse, Mystic Academy definitely have a plan to get around and negate their way around the Cade being up. And we're seeing Maverick being brought out. We're also seeing an operator that we did not get to see on Oregon, which is Flores. Of course, these are all subject to change given attacker repick. But I would say at Mystic Academy, they definitely have a plan to open up these walls. Hax, I'm assuming, is a very well-versed Maverick player. Maverick is one of those operators that, you got to be pretty experienced with him to kind of know the little subtleties and nuances of how his gadget works and what you can really do with it. And so seeing Mystic Academy ban out that Hibana, that's huge, but they've got to have a plan for it. And now heading into the first site, Yeah, Badger has a cursor bug, so we might not actually be seeing this first round. But anyways, if we were, yeah, we're going to see a rehost here. But if we were to see this first round played out, we're going to be seeing Gym Master first, which is a little bit odd. You know, it's moving its way into a more preferred site, but usually we see Basement first as team's primary site. So starting out here for Gym Master is definitely a little bit odd.
Yeah, or at the very least, a CTV cache, if not basement. I definitely agree. Gym bedroom. I was a little surprised to see myself, but definitely excited. Like I said earlier, when you've got maps that are, very cut and paste, like Clubhouse and Oregon, teams can throw in little pocket strats every now and again that can just really, really foil against each other and make for a very exciting game. So I like to see this gym bedroom coming out. And even though that round won't be happening quite yet, bear in mind all of the players will have to maintain the same operator lineups that they had once the rehost went into effect. Those attackers and those defenders will all be the same. Some of those defenders we saw Frost getting brought. Frost has a lot of versatility on those windows. There's the window to gym and the window to master bedroom, the window in construction. Those three could take all of your Frost welcome mats if you wanted to, but there's also that great ability that one has to make the rotate. A lot of teams will play Mira or play somebody in that bathroom, use that soft wall there to make a rotate onto the jacuzzi wall so you can get to gym a bit more easily from inside a bathroom or master to make the rotate around 90. Having that rotate there, not only super pivotal for the defenders, but if you don't shoot out the flooring completely and people have to vault over that, you can place a frost mat there. I've seen many teams pull that off where a successful frost mat in the bathroom, attackers in the dying seconds of the round just trying to get themselves from the jacuzzi wall into sight, fall into an unsuspecting bear mat and don't have time to get up and get the diffuser down. Really excited to see how the frost will be utilized once we jump back into this round.
Yeah, and Frost is one of those operators that does have a lot of impact as the time has dwindled away, and as far as her ability to maintain herself in the meta. We saw Frost really not being played a whole lot over the last couple of years, but her kit's been changed around a little bit. She had the 1.5 actually for a while, and Frost was really heavily picked because that 9mm C1 with the 1.5 deadly weapon, but she's since lost the 1.5, but she's also gained the ITA S shotgun, which is the same shotgun that Mira shares. And so it's a lot of versatility with her kit. She's got a shield, she's got a shotgun that she can make soft destruction with, and she's got a good gun. The 9mm does have a little bit of slower fire rate, but for the defense, that's not such a hindrance as it is on the attack. So Frost definitely is making her way into a staple pick as far as the meta goes. Now, with Mira off the board, that's a little bit why I'm shocked to see them go gem first. Mira has a lot of prevalence on the basement site, but with her off the board, it's not really such a hindrance. You have different ways to hold onto the basement site as far as how you want to hold it in the way the attackers can kind of go. But with Mira off the board for Gym, she's got a lot of prevalence there because you can put it in the bathroom, exactly where you're speaking about having that frost mat there, and you can look out on the jacuzzi breach, and it just creates an extra layer for the attackers to try to deal with. Now, more commonly, we'll see another Mira based over on the Logi wall looking into construction, and so that allows the defenders to play all of sort of like a, let's say, more like a horseshoe in the fact that they have, the lines of sight that they can really look at. And so you have the person posted up in the Logi looking into con, you have a person posted up in jacuzzi or a bathroom looking into jacuzzi. It creates a lot of avenues for the attackers. They have to deal with a lot when you have the Mira up on the board. But that said, Mira off the board, they're electing to go into gym. You don't have that security blanket like a Mira. You can't take those peeks around those hard walls and find those picks as easily. So bringing the frost maybe in her place is what I think they kind of planned out here. Maybe bringing that shield as an extra way to sort of deny and slow down the attackers there. You do have the slotted shields now, which is what a change in the last couple of years where you can see through them, and so it kind of works as a mirror window in that way. I'm interested to see what Achieve Esports is going to be bringing onto the defense here, and what is their thought process behind going to gym first, especially with the mirror off the board?
Well, they certainly have to have something planned because, after all, they were the ones that banned Mira, I do believe. They were the defenders, so they got first and last ban, and Mira, I believe, was the last ban off the board after Valkyrie. So clearly they prepared for this. I think, like you said, they're going to use that Frost Shield as a way to look through those lines of sight that they can open, maybe between Logi and sight, maybe between bathroom, but they're also going to have those Frost mats as sort of denial. You can push up to a Mira window, punch it, and then you're basically clear to jump into the site. But if you got the Frost mat there, that's always going to be, pressuring you. Even if you know that the frost mat is there, the time that you take to look down and shoot it, that's time that you're not spending looking at and shooting the defenders that are standing inside the site, and that can be the difference between life or death for an attacker sporadically running inside of the objective. Now, looking at the attackers lineup, though, I don't have all of them off the top of my head, but I do remember seeing the Maverick on the board. You commented on what a high skill player that he is, and Hax has to have a lot of knowledge and ability on him to be able to use him properly. Now, Maverick, we're going to see Maverick probably on every single site, I'm willing to bet. With that Hibana having been banned out, they're going to need a secondary hard breacher of a variety. And while Maverick is not usually, doesn't fall into the same vein as your Thermite or your Ace, he can get hatches not quite as quickly and easily as Hibana can, but he can still get hatches pretty well without wasting such a big utility like 2 Ace Selmas or 1 Exothermic. So I have no doubt that we'll see Maverick, his M4, and his frag grenades popping off in every single round. And it looks like, yeah, certainly they have to bring the same lineup, so he's going to be attacking onto this gym bedroom site to start us off.
I actually want to speak to that because that brings up an interesting sort of talking point. Where do the attackers, as far as a rehost goes, fall into the having to pick the same lineup? Because with attacker repick on the board, sure, that used to be the way it was. The attackers, they have to pick the same lineup because going into the prep phase, those are now locked in and you cannot switch them. But leaving the prep phase, I suppose maybe pick the same operators at the start of the round again if the rehost is called after the start of the round and into the prep phase, or I mean into the actual action phase. But with the attacker repick in the prep phase here, does it play the same? Do you know, does it play the exact same where the attackers have to maintain those picks?
It's interesting that you bring that up. I was actually thinking about that as we went into the rehost. So if you'll notice, when Achieve called for the rehost, there was a long delay before our observer actually noticed it. And I don't think that was any fault of our observer. I think that might have been on purpose. I think they wanted to play out the rest of the prep phase so that they gave the attackers the chance to switch off. As we're seeing Candle going to switch on to Osa right now. So maybe perhaps it was, I don't know if the Osa came out as an attacker repick in the last time that we tried this round before the rehost. But regardless, it might have been that our observer was waiting out that timer, that clock, for the attackers to make any sort of different picks and then lock those in as the ones that they have to pick for the round to start. If that's not the case, I'm not sure the legality of Candle going for the OSIP switch here and Baron going for the Ace switch off of Thermite. But regardless, it's happening. There hasn't been any word from the administrator, so apparently it's allowed, so that's all well and good. Very excited to see Osa in play with those Talon Shields, using them. Certainly, I'm sure she will on the windows to try to get some lines of sight inside of the building, and also for a potential post-plant situation.
Yeah, coming out from the defense here, what we're seeing is a very common hold. Actually, we're going to see Aggro go ahead and start to work his way into dirt here, so he's going to be getting a pretty aggro there on the knock. But coming out from the defense, what I like is that the CC or the CC cache extension is just no longer viable. You cannot extend into cache and hold it the same way that you could. I love this. Is Candle going to break that? Yes, I love that. Yes, he is just completely cut off the lines of sight from Achieve Esports, trying to beat players out on the highway, and they no longer have to put a player isolated over on the side of CC Plat to hold that player. He's actually going to break the one in Con, maybe hoping for a run out that he could try to bait, or maybe try to add some pressure onto Con here. But yes, putting the Osa shield on the CC window, I absolutely love that. I'm sorry that I went on a tangent, but I've spoke to the reliability so much about that I've actually missed Badger getting picked off. But anyways, opening pick coming out, and that's actually going to be traded back out as Aggro falls down, and Genji's going to take some damage. So things are already getting heated up for the first minute of this round.
The Knock had a great entry to pick up that opening kill, but was quickly traded out not too long after by Shu, who went for the nice downstairs rotate. I believe he might still be down in the bar area, but a frag grenade will find Stu's world. So just as they even out the man count, they're going to drop it even further, especially with Genji being potentially down by the same frag grenade. What a nade coming out from Cryptix there. He absolutely yeeted that sucker into the site. Picked up at least 1.5, it looks like, for his trouble. Another one coming in onto VDOT. He'll narrowly get away in time. Genji's picked up just to die, but at least VDOT's there to trade it back out. Prone beside the bed. Cryptix, he got a lot of kills last round, but he'll be starting off with only 2. Still pretty good for him. Candle will grab 1, but he'll be shut down by the Mozzie Shu, who's the last one left standing. He'll finish him off, but it looks like the Logi push and Hack's coming up, maybe main stairs right here. Shu, he's not in bad positioning right here. He's got the construction hold. As long as he doesn't let Jim get out of his hands, he can hold this from the back line here in construction. He has the shield. Players are all on the north side of the map. Nobody's pushing that south balcony. He's got the line of sight, and it looks like some intel, some pings coming out as well. This is not a lost cause for Achieve despite the disadvantage.
No, absolutely not. And Shu does have the great positioning here. Hax is going to go repel in. He's going to be shooting a little bit to disguise the repel in sound that it makes. And so now Hax has worked his way in. Baron, though, finding Shu out in con, and he's just going to elect to take the gunfight, and he's going to win it out. So that's going to be the first round going in the hands of Mystic Academy as they look to take this advantage and run with it.
Yeah, great start for Mystic Academy. They're up one map, and now they're up one round. Really, I think what went wrong for Achieve there, they had the right idea in trying to trade out that opening pick, but they just weren't able to equalize as frequently as Mystic Academy, or as Mystic Academy were able to do. I think that frag grenade as well, downing Genji, they had to take another defensive player, go over there to try to revive him. By the time they did, Genji was easily finished off, and the reviving player in quick succession was also shut down. So it really just happened to turn more into a wild goose hunt that did not work out in the favor of the defenders at all. That having been said, it was a 1 versus 2 to finish. She was able to work around those Osa shields and actually fell the Osa herself of Candle on that south balcony. So not at all a complete loss for Achieve. And plus, they were on a bit more of an unorthodox site. Of course, you want to win that, but not the end of the world. They're down 1-0, but they are going to basement, arguably one of the best sites if you know how to play around these hatches. With Hibana off the board, I think this turns this into even more of a turtle site. It'll be much more difficult to get those hatches picked off without a thermite or a maverick getting C4'd or impacted or shot from beneath. So I think Church Arsenal right here could turn out to be the strongest site we see from both sides when it comes to defense.
Church Arsenal most likely will be. It is most teams' very first primary site that they elect to go to first. And so Achieve Esports electing to go to Gym first and losing that round, not the end of the world. They still have basement to come to. Most likely going to be a swell victory for them if they can find the picks that they need to early on in the round. With Kate up on the board, they're going to be able to deny the hatches. And so I'm also expecting to see a couple impact tricks coming out from both Shu and the Wamai here. And so we're going to be able to deny the opening of the main hatch just for a little bit as VDOT works to deny any ace charges or other hard breach utility that Mystic is looking to bring. Now, if they don't read into this properly and they still elect to try to open up that kitchen hatch and let that be the pivotal point here for their attack strategy, we could see Achieve Esports take this round. Candle already, though, taking a little bit of damage, kind of just challenging the roaming players there, but looks like he's going to fall back down. And so Achieve Esports not electing to go for a super stellar roam here. So Mystic Academy pretty much has all of the first floor and second floor presence that they want at their disposal if they elect to use this to their advantage with 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the round, and we're seeing a turtle hold come out from Achieve. Mystic Esports pretty much has free reign over this first floor.
I don't fault the turtle hold at all. A lot of people will see an SSG type roam, with a very heavy upstairs extension, but when you've got a site that can be turtled as well as this basement without Hibana, I say absolutely go for it. Because of that, they know the players are most likely going to have to funnel from blue or from Moto. We're going to see Hax go ahead and open up the Moto hatch. It is electrocuted, but that won't stop his torch from burning through it. Unlike Pokemon here, fire beats electricity, or at least gets around it. The Kaede, it looks like, might have just pulled his claw off the wall, unless maybe the Maverick Torch just burned that out. Regardless, they will get this Moto hatch open, which is good for the attackers, but the defenders are most likely reading into this already. They know that is such a big choke point. You can cut it off from the 90 rotate at the main stair door. You can cut it off from inside of Church. Not only that, but you've got a smoke with 3 canisters. You've got no C4s left on the board, surprisingly, but regardless, still a solid choke point to be able to hold. VDOT, though, will grab the first. He'll finish off Candle. He'd taken a bit of damage earlier in the round, but he will be not much longer for this world. He's finished off, already puts Mystic Academy at a deficit. Achieve just need to keep this up, stall out for more of the round, and they'll get an easy victory here.
That's a huge bit of utility off the board as well. Zof does bring 2 proximity detecting concussion mines, which can help find out those players that are going to be sitting in a little bit more of the ratty positions there for Mystic as they work to make their way into sight. He's also going to be losing 2 impacts, which is going to help take out the Malusi Banshees and the shield that Badger is bringing. So already seeing all the Nitro cells off the board. Achieve Esports has effectively traded out the utility as well that they've already just taken out from Candle. And now as the Mystic works their way into sight here, we're opening up the Church wall, because they know that is going to be free for them, given the Cade Claw positioning that they found out earlier. A little bit of an aggressive peek there onto the Oil Pit player. Not going to be found out, though, just yet. Just trading a little bit of damage. VDOT's going to swing back into it, take another shot of damage. Is Nade, though. If he can send this through into the Church player, he might be able to take about the smoke behind bar, but no, Badger's going to persist, and he's going to be able to lead his life just a little bit longer, but he is going to get found out. So that's going to be 2 picks, 3 picks coming in the way of Mystic Academy. Hax finding 2 and Baron finding 1. Genji's going to trade that back, though, so that's going to be a 2v2. Genji's going to find another. Now we're into the 2v2 situation, and now it's just Shu and Genji left. Cryptics and Aggro have to make their way into sight. Cryptics starting to plant there on the church bar. Genji, though, getting active on it. Let's see if the coverage is there. He's going to go for the wall bang. He's not going to be able to find the picture. The plant's going to go down, but he's going to be able to pull Aggro off the plant. Now Aggro just trapped in that corner, and Cryptics is going to be able to get found out. The Genji there going absolutely insane as he finds a quad pick there to secure the round for Achieve Esports. They found the man advantage, and they just did not let it slip. So beautiful work there from them to secure them the first round on this defensive half.
Genji, a great clutch there. The man inside of blue, we saw this, contrary to what I was believing, I thought the Moto push would be completely stalled out, but the players pushing down from main stairs, able to grab some very clutch frags onto those members inside of church, opening up the wall as well a bit further so that they could get that diffuser down and get that planted. It quickly went into a 4 versus 2, much to my surprise, in the favor of Mystic Esports. And even more to my surprise was the fact that Achieve could bring it back, and it was solely because Genji was positioned so well inside of blue. The player inside of church inside of Moto Hatch was not able to find him out, and as a result, Genji just playing off that generator inside of blue found 2 big kills there, and then was able to rotate back into the site and find those last 2 planting behind the bar. Great round from Genji, but Achieve Esports, I hate to say it, you can't rely off of individual performances like that to win back-to-back rounds. You need a bit more of a cohesive team play. You started off so well, you were playing so well with your conservation, but then you let it slip there at the end. You took too many engagements. We've seen Achieve get overly aggressive before at times when they shouldn't, especially on the last map of Oregon. They'll swing when they should just hold flank watch. They make too many aggressive moves, especially on the defense, where the attackers have to come to you. Let them come to you. Don't sit there and take those peaks. Let them come your way. Take them out as they fall into sight and go from there. But regardless, I'm ragging on Achieve a bit. They need to be a bit more cohesive in their team play, but otherwise they still got the round win. They've got Genji to thank for that.
Yeah, and well, I want to speak to a little bit to the fact that Achieve is the reigning champions of CCL. They won the first season with the help of Badger, Genji, and Shu still on this remaining roster, and so they're actually, at the time, we're playing under Valor's GG, and so now switching up their roster a little bit, falling under a different org. We're still seeing the same stellar performance out of those three members of Achieve Esports: Badger, Genji, and Shu. Shu and Genji both working very well together on the last map, finding out to be both of the top frags. And Genji having an absolutely stellar performance across both of these. He's found not only a great performance on Oregon, but now working his way into a quad kill to secure a round for Achieve. Definitely fighting to maintain the fact that they deserve the CCL victory in Season 1, and now they're looking to obtain their spot into the playoffs for CCL Season 2. Heading into this second defensive round, though, we're seeing CC, which is a site that is most likely fallen by the wayside, just given the fact that Maverick is up on the board and CC plat wall is pretty much free. Badger, though, he's going to get aggressive and he's going to just pull aggro right off the board. But now they're already at a man disadvantage here as Mystic, and with that wall being so free with the Maverick on the board, that poses a great position for Achieve Esports to be in.
Absolutely. Badger was able to get the cross. I thought for sure he was going to be pincered out of his position in Logi. You saw the sledge run up onto the roof, presumably to take out the hatch. Oh, Cryptics, you're not looking the right way. Badger will grab him, fall off for free, and he just keeps falling back onto different roamers. This roam here is so extensive, so layered. It's like an ogre or something. There's just so much going on. You fall off onto different positions. You've always got somebody there to back you up. Also, this Maverick right now, those feet holes, that's going to be dangerous. Hax finds that out the hard way. He'll be felled by Stu's World Smoke Canister. And this roam right now has just been too strong for Achieve Esports. Oh my gosh, the run out from Stu's World. He'll grab it as well. An SMG 11 kind of round for Achieve. And I talked about team play being needed a bit more. And wow, they absolutely were listening.
No, most definitely. I really love the roam that they had there because as who was the mute? Badger. As Badger fell down the gym hatch, we saw VDOT sitting on the main stairs holding that way. They couldn't establish a cross onto Badger as he fell down the gym hatch in the billiards. So it was beautiful teamwork there. I mean, having the fallback covered, that's the kind of established, succinct roam that you want to see from a defense here coming into Clubhouse, because it's one of those maps where roaming is just not extremely prevalent. We see a turtle come out on the defense for the basement site, and here on the gym bedroom site, we see a little bit of an extension over into Con and Logi, but overall, roaming is just not really kind of where you want to place yourself on Clubhouse. So to see such an established roam absolutely taking advantage of Mystic Academy there on the attack, beautiful work from Achieved, and if they want to secure their playoff spot, it's exactly what they've got to keep up here, and they've already secured themselves the second round. We're heading back to gym, where we did not see them victorious last time, so we potentially could see a 2-2 split, but if Achieve can now take this round, give us the hat trick, give us the 3 rounds, Achieve is looking like they're in great position to secure a very solid defensive half here.
Call me Olivia Rodrigo because I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here right now. If you guys don't remember or weren't here for the Oregon game, let me catch you up. Mystic Academy lost their first round, then won 4 straight. On this map, we've seen Achieve Esports lose their first round and so far have won 2 straight. That's not any sort of indicator. There's no science there to say that will be exactly repeated. But I can't help but hope that maybe that will be the case. That would be incredible just to once again showcase how very close both of these teams are in terms of skill, gunplay, game sense, strategy. Everything has just been balancing so well against each other. It was, an 8-6 win on Oregon for Mystic Academy to take the first map. I think it'll once again be a very close round. But we are going back to Gym Bedroom. This was the first site that was lost by Achieve. If they want to get these 4 rounds in a row at least, they're going to have to win this site back out. With the pressure coming in from below, from this Flores, they're going to have to watch those drones. They've got the Wamai Magnets and the Jaeger ADSs to try to stop grenades, protect those Frost Mats, perhaps those Kite Electro Claws, but they haven't exactly, besides the Mute, they don't have a whole lot to counter those Flores Rotero drones. If those Mute Jammers go down, those Rotero drones can force players out of their positions, especially this Frost, who's playing so precariously on the main stairs right now, goes for the peak, but gets taken down with that player down. The rest of the attackers know that they can flood up the main stairs, but VDOT, he's got something else to say about that. Down goes the Osa, probably trying to play those southern balcony windows yet again, unsuccessfully this time. And now it looks like we're getting a bit of a Mexican standoff here between Aggro and Badger.
Yeah, these players have just been right next to each other for about the last 30 seconds, and nothing has come of it. Now, I thought Aggro was going to swing onto the Frost and get traded, but he elects to not. Now, surely Aggro has heard Badger as he sprints away, but he's maintaining his position. He's stalled, and he's instead bringing a player around to sort of help him isolate this roam here that Badger's attempting to go for. This is the problem with roams if it's not succinct and synchronized. Now, Badger, he's going to find the pick onto the player that was moving to support him, and now he knows exactly where Aggro's position is. He's going to swing in, and he's going to take out both of those picks, and so that is just beautiful work from Badger to find both of those. And now we're going to see a gym half at least fall into the man advantage favor of Achieve Esports as Badger just goes absolutely huge and dismantles all of the first floor presence that Mystic Academy was bringing here.
Badger's just been volatile so far on this map and lethal to boot as well. On the last map, he was such a support player, and this go around, we're really seeing him find his potential. And so far, it's been in the hands of a Mute SMG-11. He's been lethal so far these past couple of rounds, just poking people's heads, using that shotgun. It was an unfortunate kind of counter roam coming out from the attackers. They had the player Hacks on the Maverick. He could have pushed Billers, they could have pincered it, but they didn't. They both went towards bathroom. Hacks got caught from behind, didn't realize it in time, and Aggro was quick to follow afterwards. Now it's all on Baron and Cryptix. Cryptix using his frag grenades to no avail, but he does make sure at least the main stairs are clear. Baron can come in, but he's got a cross angle established at the top of the stairs. If he walks up, he's as good as dead. VDOT on the roam will manage to grab Cryptix. It's all on Baron right now. He can't even grab one. Genji with that AUG, too much of a beast of nature, and the round will go Achieve Esports direction.
Oh my gosh, it was just excellent work there from Badger. I mean, he was just such a pivotal point there as they worked to maintain their downstairs roam. They didn't want to give it up, and Badger getting a little bit too active, but it worked out in his favor. He found 2 picks, led him into the 4v2. So beautiful work there for Achieve Esports to close out that second round. Baron tried to repel in. He masked the sound with his gun firing there, so I don't think they were exactly aware, but it was beautiful work there by Achieve to not give up that pick too early. So with Genji being the devil that he is on the AUG so far, he's not losing that gunfight. And then Hacks was also found out elsewhere on Jacuzzi Balcony. So that was able to lock out the round. And that's going to be a hat trick. And guess what we're heading back to now? Basement, where we saw Genji come up huge the last time we came down here. Genji finding a 4K in what seemed to be a little bit of a disorganized round, but Genji stolid, just didn't let anything get to him, and he was able to find 4 kills that round and just pull it out for Achieve Esports. They even had the plant down, but it did not stop them, and they were able to secure the round. So now heading back to basement, Cryptix is got to be a little bit more impactful here. Candle's got to be a little bit more impactful here. Aggro has to be able to find a couple picks. We need to see these Mystic Academy boys step up into the roles that we saw them on Oregon, because on Oregon, all of these players were playing such in great manner and so organized and just there was not a step missed here on any of their really rounds on either side of the fence, attack or defense. Now, granted, they still fell 4-2 on their attacks, but that's expected to be on Oregon. And it's expected to be here on Clubhouse. I want to see them turn up a little bit and not let Achieve Esports just run away with this match, which is kind of like what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it should be noted a 4-2 split. Again, on a map like Clubhouse, I'd say less defender-sided than Oregon, but still not the end of the world to go 4-2. And in fact, they still have the potential to make it a 3-3 right here, which I think would definitely net the map in their favor, at least at this point in time. But certainly losing Cryptics that early, that's not going to net anything in their favor. They're going to take a disadvantage. The Sledge losing that soft destructibility to watch that basement 90 hallway, to get some of kitchen open potentially, to have those frag grenades as well, and also just who's historically been your top gunner taken out so early. Crucial loss there for the Sledge to go down that quickly. The attackers already going to be in a bit more of a disorganized situation, and it looks like they're going to have to deal with a little bit of a roam this time, potentially. Not exactly sure where VDOT is, but he looks like he might be in a position to play around that blue area and take out any players trying to get their way close to site hacks. Meanwhile, he doesn't have the Sledge to cover him. He'll have to find somebody else if he wants to get this hatch open in time. It looks like Candle might be the point man to watch those main stairs. If Hacks can get this hatch open, that'd be a great entry point into the site. As we said earlier, Kitchen, just too difficult to push with the hatch, given that the Hibana is banned out right now. So Moto's going to have to be their point of attack again. But without Cryptics, I'm not sure how successful they're going to be in trying to funnel through.
Yeah, great work there pulling down Cryptics. We saw such an impressive performance here from him on Oregon. So to be 3-5 in this first half, not exactly bad. He can definitely pick that up on defense and see what impact he can sort of bring into this match. But starting down in a 4v5 on a site that you already lost last time certainly does not bode well for them. They were able to lose a man last time, but they were able to trade that out pretty effectively. So now heading into the 5v4, where Achieve Esports, they find their early pick, they fall back down, and now we're seeing the full turtle roam, or the full turtle site come out from them. They're not going to be looking to take any overly aggressive picks that they can't trade out effectively. This is not looking good for Mystic, but let's see what they can do to bring it back into their favor. They've already got the Moto hatch open. We saw the exact same take from them last time. So let's see if they can switch things up a little bit. Although we are seeing some adaptations come out from Achieve Esports here on this defense to make it a little bit more of a succinct victory.
We are seeing, it looks like the kitchen hatch finally, nope, not quite being open. The player's just going to open up the floor a little bit. Aggro will be taken down. Candle's at least able to take down VDOT. I believe that was the player in or around blue not long ago. So perhaps if he's been cleared out, if nobody's there, Genji's there to take his place, though. And those smoke canisters are already flying out to stall the attack just a little bit further. Candle down from Oil Pit, firing with that LMG, trying to find a little bit of anything, but Achieve with some great trigger discipline right now, waiting before they take that engagement, not wanting to give themselves up to the never-ending spray of the LMG. The player's still behind the church bar. Genji, though, he'll strike from blue, rotate back in the sight. Candle not quite quick enough on the draw to take him out. He'll grab the head of one, though. Hacks with another. He'll swing around, and oh, Genji's looking the wrong way. And oh, behind the bomb chassis goes the Malusi. Can't win it out. Candle with a huge clutch from inside of blue. A great pincer with only 2 members left. And Achieve Esports have lost their momentum. Mystic Academy jump up 3-2.
That is such a monumental round for Mystic Esports to take there. And to anybody that's saying Zolf or the LMGs don't need to be nerfed, that is a clear-cut example on why they exactly do. Because he's just able to walk in, he's able to find the pick onto the mute, and then he's able to find a pick onto Genji there on the box 3. Church door into blue, and so or Arsenal door into blue, and then he doesn't stop firing, and then he just swings around. He's like, okay, I've finally gone through my 150 bullets in my Zelf LMG, but he doesn't stop there. He whips out the pistol, he finds the 3rd kill, and that is just such a huge round for Mystic Academy to take now. Because getting back to CCTV, which is where Achieve Esports, they found a round victory last time, but it was honestly off the hands of a little bit of a disgruntled roam that they brought out that just Mystic Academy was not prepared for. We found an early pick from Badger and Jim, and then he was able to find another one and then fall back, and that was a 5v3 that Mystic Academy could not bring back into their favor for once this matchup. And that's huge momentum for Mystic Academy to take that, because if they were heading into this at a 4-1 deficit, we might be seeing a 5-1 half. So that was just absolutely insane stuff from them. Heading into CCTV, they got to work something out here. They obviously want a 3-3 split, and so they've got to bring something a little bit different here. They can't lose those players out early on the roam from Badger.
It's certainly doable for them. Like you said, the roam was what was so potent last time for the defenders to get that round win as maybe a fake run out right here. There is an alibi on the defense. That's what it is. A hologram chucked outside will constantly ping that an opponent is always outside. What that does is it means that you cannot know if somebody jumps out of the building, it's already saying opponent detected outdoors. There will be no further indication. Because of that, we're going to see a lot of aggression from Achieve Esports, just like we did last time. As I say that, though, Aggro will find the hologram. He'll shut that down. So at least make that a little bit more difficult. A bit of a panic there at the start of the round, but ultimately just some wasted utility from the defense. But a point to note here, the Maverick is trying to get through this wall right here, but that's going to be a very, very difficult task for him to accomplish. As we talked about earlier, Maverick, a very high high skill player to play. And what the defensive players did on that wall was shoot holes in it to make it more difficult for the Maverick to burn through the soft portion and the hard portion simultaneously. Often it winds up tripping up a Maverick and keeping him from getting the wall fully open. Of course, if you're just going for a thermite push and you're not trying to burn all the hard breach off to go for like a Zofia or Sledge opening of the soft wall, you don't have to worry about that as much. So a great adaptation from the attackers to just go ahead and pound that wall open. But they can't quite enter as easily as all that. There is a player on the catwalk in Garage. If they're able to distract him enough, Candle should be able to push in and possibly find the player on red. But until that happens, they're going to be in a bit of a stalled match right now.
Yeah, most likely what we're seeing is both of Genji's Cade Claws, Electric Claws, being placed on the G1 and G2 garage walls underneath rafters, which is going to secure VDOT's position there a little bit stronger, as it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the attackers to make their way into garage and clear out that rafters player, which seems to be a focal point of the attack that they're trying to go for. We got the CCL, but Candle's just going to run in. Is he going to find a pick on the VDOT? VDOT goes prone, but now Aggro is also going to find that pick, so they're working together very good to be able to find that pick. And Aggro's going to find another one. Candle, they're just in sight. 2 picks going in the way of Aggro, and Candle going to find another one. And Candle going to find another one here, as now it's a 5v1, and Shu is just completely off site. His position is not quite known, and he's on such low HP, but Candle's going to take the swing, and he's going to go down. So Shu's now worked one back into his favor. He's got to get aggressive here on the side. He's got to find out a few isolated ones. He's going to see the red mark from the grenade, peek out a little bit, but Baron's got his cross, and so that's going to be the 3rd attack round going in the favor of Mystic Academy. Beautiful work by them. They just walked their way into sight. They picked off the Raptors player. They knew that was free real estate for them, and then as they worked their way into sight, they just kept finding pick after pick after pick. We didn't see a flawless round come out as Candle gave up his life, but beautiful attack there from Mystic Academy to take all of the control and not miss an opportunity that they saw open.
For sure. Without a doubt, that was a phenomenal round from Mystic Academy. And I think a point of note, I talked earlier about how one of the defensive round victories for Achieve came off of the back of Genji and how that was mostly a solo player performance in that round. Well, we saw Shu in the previous round also pop off. I think he had a triple, at least a triple, to help win that round, just charging into sight with that well-calculated aggression that we've seen so constantly from Mystic Academy tonight, especially in these last 2 rounds. The difference is Shu had so much support from his teammates. Aggro was able to take down the player inside of the site. Inside of a catwalk, I should say. So just a great counter roam from the attackers to be able to set Shu up to get that triple kill and to walk into sight. He's not able to get those kills if it's not for his teammates assisting him. And it was absolutely excellent work from those teammates to set Candle, or maybe it was Candle and not Candle is who I'm trying to say, not Shu. Great work from Aggro to set Candle up to get those LMG kills and help net the round victory there.
And that is the difference right there. It laid out textbook definition between a solo player and an enabled solo player. Because a solo player that is able to just find the picks all by themselves, sure, that's great. It's definitely something to be proud of. That player's got insane gun skill and great awareness to know exactly where the player's going to be pushing, so he can isolate those players and find those picks. But an enabled solo player is so much stronger, because while we saw Candle walk his way into the CC site, completely caught off guard, or completely catching the player on red off guard with his pants down, not finding that cross, as he just takes his way into CCTV. He distracts the attention of the Raptors player, VDOT, which then leads to Aggro actually finding that pick from garage door. So then now Raptors is free real estate for them. They work their way up the Raptors stairs. Aggro finds another pick, and then by then the situation is just all over. They've got all the control that they need to lay down an effective execution and an effective plant. We didn't even see really the plant come down until it was already a lost round for Achieve Esports, but it's just beautiful work there, beautiful synchronicity, and beautiful team play coming in there from Mystic as they push in, not just by themselves, not with no information, but calculated, methodical.
Absolutely. I don't think I could have said it better myself, but we are back. Interestingly, the first defensive round for Mystic, and it's going to be the same as for Achieve, Gym Bedroom, usually one of the more tertiary sites on this map, and it's been the first pick for the last 2 teams. That's an interesting point to bear in mind and to take note of, but even more interesting are these angles being held from below. There's no real ceiling versatility you can use on a top floor site, so they're watching these angles from below, watching these hatches, making sure that if these defenders try to rotate off through the hatch into bar or into billiards, they will be cut off. Speaking of being cut off, Candle, he's the first defender to die. Oh, almost quickly to follow. It looks like the Maverick of VDOT walking through the sights of a player all the way back in vending machine, and he will go ahead and rotate back up the red stairs, probably for the best. The roam might not have gone the most successfully in terms of netting kills, but it certainly wasted a lot of time. We're down to a minute already. You've lost that Wamai, a bit of a crucial operator to lose, given that his magnets can give constant anti-nade ability. But not the end of the world to have lost a roamer that has stalled for so much. Aggro still trying to keep this aggression going. Baron, it looks like, taking the brunt of the fight as well as it's pushing up that main stairwell and through the floor inside of Bar. The attackers, they've made good kill progress, but not a lot of great progress onto the site so far. They're going to have to work quickly with each other if they want to make this a successful attack.
Yeah, and beautiful work there from Genji. Sending those nades up. He's going to be able to clear out the bathroom player. Now, a smoke canister going to be coming out, going to take Genji down a little bit of health, but it's also going to die off the main stairs pressure. So it's going to give the defenders a little bit more flexibility to kind of rotate around and take the positions up that they need to, knowing that main stairs is going to be locked off for at least 10 seconds. Now, as they look to make their way into sight here, all the players from Achieve Esports have taken just a little bit of damage, but they're not exactly faltered from that. Badger's going to walk in. He's going to catch Stu's going to walk in, catch the player prone there in gym. Badger's going to find a pick elsewhere. Genji also going to trade that out as well. He's going to find a pick. Now we're in a 5v1 scenario. In the absolute flop, Aggro left all alone here. Badger's going for the plant. Aggro working his way up main stairs. He's not going to find anything. That is a flawless round for the first attack here coming out from Achieve Esports.
And we saw Mystic Academy. We've seen them. It's 5v3s. You know, those are the big jokes from Oregon, right? Every single round, it felt like, especially when Mystic Academy were on the defense, they would lose opening pick after opening pick. They would stall for long enough so that when the final push came to shove and those 5 members of the attack flooded into sight, they were being funneled so well by the remaining defenders that they were easily able to be picked off. And there, we saw the player in gym, had the angle onto the Jacuzzi ace as he ran in. Didn't matter. He was shut down, even after shooting an alibi Prisma. The rest of the players in sight completely collapsed after that. We thought that they had the hold onto the main stairs with those smoke canisters, but that was quickly denied. Once the smoke was taken out, those main stairs were able to be pushed up, and all the players were able to just flood onto sight. Great adaptation from Achieve Esports, not only to pick up those opening kills, but to finish the round all the way through and to turn it into their first attacking victory, putting them once again back up in an advantage 4-3. But now, of course, we go back to to Church Arsenal, the basement objective, which has been mostly a turtle site, and yet, regardless of that fact, has been close, a close win for the defense, and then a close loss for the defense on Achieve Esports' defensive side, I should say. So interestingly, not quite as defensively sided as we initially thought. We'll see if Mystic have anything to say about that, if maybe they want to try to tie this game back up 4-4.
And you mentioned that Achieve Esports, both times that they came down to this basement defense, while they did lose one round, they elected to go for the turtle both times that they came down here. But you mentioned an SSG roam, which is also common, which is kind of what we're seeing here coming out from Mystic Academy. An SSG roam really just centers around bringing the castle and allowing castle to sort of cut off the lines of sight for the roamers upstairs so they can fall back a little bit more gracefully without having all of their cutoffs being watched by the attackers. It also involves reinforcing the CC plat walls and the Jacuzzi walls, so the attackers can't just make their way. Is Shu going to find this pick? A little bit aggressive, and Candle's just going to walk out, and he's going to find the pick. That's the vigil coming into play, not being able to be successfully droned, and he's going to walk out, and he's going to take Shu off the board, as Shu's just kind of sitting there looking, maybe waiting a little bit for some drone info to walk in the garage, but Candle's going to take him out regardless. A little bit of lack of coverage there, as Candle's able to just walk through the breach that the attackers had just previously made. Now, Genji working his way down main stairs is going to be able to catch out this Malusi and Bar, and let's see if they can find this pick.
Mystic Academy already doing a better job of finding that opening pick that was such a detriment of theirs in the last round, and they're already doing so much better this round, so mad props to them, and mad props to Candle for having the balls to take that run out. But speaking of the SSG run, we see Hax right here about to get into an engagement, not quite looking in the right direction. The sledge will fell him. Those castle barricades, not enough to protect him from a headshot coming down the main stairwell. A great refrag will trade us back out to an even 4-4 man count. The attackers still not very close to the site. They did just grab bar control, which means they can start getting that moto hatch pressure applied. And similarly to Mystic, when they were on their attack, I highly doubt that Kitchen will be a large point of contention. It's just too able to be C4'd from beneath, too able to be impact tricked out without the Hibana on the board, and just seems like an unfeasible site to be pushed for better access to the kitchen site. Meanwhile, we see Stu's World. He's going to go ahead and rotate into bar. He and this Maverick, it looks like, are going to be a 2-point man to try to take out this hatch. and perhaps the thermite as well. We're seeing a lot of hard breach come out right now from the attackers, as well as frag grenades, as well as kills. VDOT finding one onto Cryptics. Down will go the castle. His utility's already been used, but losing that man can never be a good thing. But if you're on the defense, you still have, if you don't have a mankind advantage, you still have the ability to stall. That's what you need to do. Again, the attackers, they're going to have to push to you, and let's find out exactly how Achieve Esports plan to do that for the remainder of this round.
We saw the oil player get caught off on the drone. They're seemingly unaware of the drone that came down from Moto. So they're going to know the positioning of one of these players here as they go to open up the main hatch. Doesn't look like it's going to get impact tricked, so they're going to have that as free reign that they want to take. Aggro going to find a pick, but he's going to get traded out by Genji. Actually, they trade themselves. So here we are in a 3v2. The hatch drop is there. The plant is going down, but Baron has a smoke canister in his pocket. Badger going to take a lot of damage, try to rotate deeper into Arsenal. One kit smoke canister still in play. He goes for it, but it's not going to be able to go because Stews has the coverage, so plant is going to go down. Candle's going to find VDOT. That's the main stairs player. One person on hatch and one person in D's Arsenal. He has to be able to find these picks. Badger is on low HP, so he might be able to secure that even 1v1. But Stu's here on the vertical coverage. He's kind of watching if he wants to try to work his way up main. Candle's now worked his way into blue, so he's going to try to find a different cross here to take. But with one player on the hatch providing vertical coverage, and with Badger still in deep Arsenal, not fell just yet, he's going to take a single bullet of damage. It's looking all but just losable here for him. He is going to find the pick, though, onto Badger, but the vertical coverage has to be read out here by Candle. He's looking up. He's trying to challenge the player. He's going to try to fake the defuse here, but he only has a second left to stick this. Pros don't fake, but he is going to fake it, and he's ultimately going to lose the round. Even if he finds this pick here, this round is going to be going in the favor of Achieve Esports, and that is going to be it. Stews finds the pick, closes out the round, and now we're seeing a 5-3 split. Instead, Achieve Esports taking another round and taking yet again another map off the back of Mystic Academy.
Great round from Achieve Esports there to bring that back. They got the opening, or not, from Achieve Esports. They did not get the opening pick, but they were able to trade out most of the kills that did not go in their favor. So getting that plant down, especially once they had the hatch open and the player in Arsenal failed, it was just a matter of holding that angle. Stu with a phenomenal angle could not even be seen by the smoke player of Baron all the way inside of Church. He had the cutoff there, so even once the smoke canister had to force Badger deeper into sight, the cutoff was there, Baron was felled, and it was all on the last one remaining player of Mystic. And it was great patience as well from the two remaining attackers. Of course, once the diffuser goes down, the attackers sort of become defenders and the defenders attackers. So the defenders did a great job of learning how to play that, that kind of off-site roam passively. Stu especially playing above. He's got multiple lines of sight that he was opened with those breaching charges, used them to his advantage quite well. So even when the player of Badger inside of sight was killed, he was able to finish things off, or at least provide enough pressure to scare the player off the diffuser of the player of Candle off the diffuser from beneath. Great round from Achieve Esports. And despite the loss from Mystic Academy, these two consecutive losses, they still feel like basement is probably going to be their right play to make. They're going to send Cryptics up here to take down these drones from some pretty intense positions right now. But ultimately, yes, we're seeing the basement defense come out again, and we're also seeing Goyo on the board. What do you have to say about Goyo?
Well, Goyo is an operator that we've seen a recent rework come through. If you know Goyo, about a year ago, he brought two, I believe actually a year ago, he might have even brought three, but as of before this rework, Goyo brought two Vulcan shields, and it was just a shield that had the same sort of peaking ability that you could see. It had a slotted shield, so you could still look through them, but the main thing about it was it had a giant can of gas right in the center of it that the defenders could shoot to deny the attackers from trying to push up into it. But now, the way that his rework has gone through is he's instead elected to detach the Vulcan canister off the shield and just use it isolated by itself. He thought, hey, I'll get a lot more use out of this without the shield, because now he's got 4 of them, and they deny about twice as long, I believe 20 seconds of denial here coming out from the Vulcan canisters as they get broke. So you have twice as much utility that you can bring with Goyo, and twice as long that you can deny it with. If anything, I think it was a little bit of a buff. It's not exactly a nerf from Goyo.
They certainly could be used as shields to look through before, but yeah, I would agree. The versatility and the viability, the long-lasting nature of these new Goyo canisters, I would say it's more of a buff than anything else. And besides, you still have a shield, since Smoke still has a shield, and he's going to be such a similarly solid operator to deny plants and deny pushes at the last second. That's a lot of area denial for the defense to be bringing right now, and that could spell potential doom for the attackers as they're already trying to make this push onto the back of Church. They've got this line established. They're throwing grenades over the top. If the Thermite can get across safely, once this anti-breach is taken out, if it gets taken out at all, he will be able to get these walls open, but so far they've been unsuccessful, whether because of ADSs or biffed frag grenades. That electricity from the Kaid Electric Claw is still up on the wall. The Maverick will make the cross, but they have to watch this foot angle right here, not to mention a potential rotate from Moto, but Genji will start off pretty early, grabbing a kill onto Hax. That's going to help the attackers quite a bit, but getting that opening pick will mean nothing if they cannot get inside of Church right here. They're taking a lot of damage from deep inside as well. It's going to be a last-second denial. It seems like the wall might finally get at least Maverick open. The players in Church are going to have to be a bit more cautious as yet another one will fall. Cryptix goes down. It's a 5 versus 3 for Mystics Academy. This isn't the first time this has happened, and it certainly might not be the last, but right now they've got a lot to do with not a lot of time left. Oh my gosh, Shu and Stu, though, 2 big kills back-to-back. It's all on aggro right now. He's deep prone inside of sight. He'll manage to grab Shu. Diffuser is not yet going down. He'll grab another one potentially inside the hallway, not quite, losing out on a couple of shots at the last second. Now the diffuser is going down inside of Church. He doesn't have a lot of places to rotate. They're all being watched right now. The deep angle from inside of main stairs. The player near the wall in blue. There's nowhere that he can really go right now. And on a sliver of HP, he is certainly going to fall within the next remaining couple of seconds. He's trying to make this push up past the generator, but the cross angle's established in Stu's world. 2 great picks, at least for him in that round. And a great bounce back from Achieve Esports, pushing us all the way on to match point.
Yeah, and Mystic here, they're going to be taking attack timeout because this is 3 rounds. This is 3 attacks in a row from Achieve Esports. Mystic came out great on their attacks. They found their 3-3 split, which is a favorable half for them. But now 3 attacks in a row from Achieve Esports, that's not looking good. So Mystic Academy, they're just going to decide, hey, we got to sit back. We got to take a breather here. We got to figure out, what's going wrong, because while they look so strong, even man disadvantaged on Oregon, that is not the same case. Every time that Achieve Esports has been able to grab man advantage here on their attacks, they've been able to secure a round. Even if they lose the opening pick, they work 1 or 2 back in their favor, and then they just lock it out. The very first round, we saw a flawless come out from them. And so now, heading into the second round, we saw a little bit of an aggressive roam from Candle there. He was able to find the first pick and take down Shu and the Zofia, but Achieve didn't care. They just walked in. They found the control that they needed to. They obviously had read into the roam that Mystic Academy was trying to bring, called it the TSM roam in the chat, even though we spoke to it being the SSG roam. But then on that last round, it was a 4v1. They find the picks, and now granted, aggro was able to trade one back, but then it's a 4v1 in that scenario. Plants going down. None of these players here from Achieve Esports really giving up a pick, and so we're seeing a total sort of like the momentum that they were able to carry on map 1 has not transferred over. Mystic Academy are always fighting from the back foot here as we look under this clubhouse map.
And I think with this TAC timeout coming out, none of these objectives, we've seen Mystic Academy lose every single defensive site. They still have yet to get a defensive win at all on Clubhouse so far. I don't know about you, I think it might be time to pull out the bar stage site. Perhaps this TAC timeout, not only here to shift momentum back in their favor, not only here for them to gather their bearings, collect themselves, and steel themselves for the rest of this match, but also potentially a turning point for them to throw out maybe a bit of a pocket strat that they're not quite used to running, but that they always save for a rainy day. And honestly, looking at rainy days, I'd say right now for Mystic Academy, it is pouring. They've got to act fast. They've got to do something out of the ordinary to really throw Achieve Esports for a loop and to take them, off their advantage, force this to OT yet again.
Yeah, if it's pouring, they've got to pull out the thunder and lightning here because they've got to pull out something different. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a large stage strat. That's the thing with defense is, especially with Sakaripa, you just don't have that kind of versatility. You don't have those sort of the surprise element that you can flop here onto the attackers. So for Achieve Esports already being up 6-3, they found every single attack. They've got the versatility in hand. Mystic Academy doesn't. So we've got to see something different come out from them. And we're going back to Jim here for this first site. We are seeing something a little bit different. I don't believe they brought the castle last time that they came to Jim, so maybe that might help slow down and stall the attack here from Achieve. But Mystic Academy down 3 rounds, it's not looking great.
And it looks like we are actually seeing bar stage. I feel so validated right now as a caster and as a human being. They listen to me. We're seeing a little something different today, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time we've seen bar stage come out so far in this map. And the operator lineup we've got for Castle, there's so many doors on this downstairs objective. Castle, even above, can force rotations through certain locations, just funnel the attackers in ways that are valuable for the defenders. We've got the smoke with the shield, 2 ADSs to boot as well, using this newly formed wall, this kind of coverage behind or in front of the bar to lock off that line of sight that used to be able to be obtained from walking in that main entrance. Other than that, we are seeing a bit of an upstairs hold as well. Construction is being watched like a hawk because the defenders know if they let that hatch over stage get dropped, not only will the attackers have the vertical ability to watch over a planter there and shut off any counter diffuses, they'll also just be able to drop straight onto the site, throw frag grenades down, pressure that smoke even more, and just be an absolute pain in the side of this defense. So a great roam coming out so far. They've done a great job of stalling. We're already a minute and a half into the round, and I'm very excited to see how this all boils down.
Yeah, it's the beautiful thing about bar stock is you have a lot of just variety in how you can play it. You can really run like a top floor gym sort of hold, but then also transition back down to the site when you feel like the top floor hold really isn't going your way and after you've wasted enough time. That's exactly what they're doing. We're seeing a couple players still posted up on the top floor, just denying this sort of entrance here from Achieve Esports as they work over from the CC lounge side and try to grab this control. But if they can't clear out these top floor players, then we might see a potential retake from the top floor come out from aggro. And if they can't really get aggressive here because Hax he's falling back down. Actually, what I like from him is he's falling down in moto and he's able to chuck those smoke grenades up and he's denying Badger here. Badger's going to take a lot of damage from that smoke grenade. So beautiful work here. It seems like Mystic Academy have definitely done their homework and they know what they plan to bring here for this bar stock or for this bar site.
Yeah, even though they've fallen off that top floor rotate or roam, having that downstairs ability for the smoke canisters to come through has been pivotal. And you see that the castle inside of Kitchen, he's also rotated back downstairs. All that VDOT's going to be shooting is a skinned cow or pig or some such. So there's not much there for him to find inside of the kitchen. They do have site control, but they have to watch from below, especially their planter, their man Badger. He's down on a sliver of HP. The smoke canister will be overthrown. The plant's going down. This is the detriment. Once you give up that south side of the defense, you don't really have a great way to retake it. But of course, Baron, as I say that, comes up blue. He's able to grab one, but it's an absolute frag fest. Trades back and forth across the board. It's a 3 versus 3, but the health is low on the attackers, and the man count's low as well. Cryptic finds Badger. It's on these last two members playing outside of the stock and 90 doors. And the last one on the main door as well. Site control back in the hands of the defenders, even more so after finding the pick on a VDOT. The last member of Stu's World, he's going to have to get aggressive here, trying to listen out, but he doesn't have a lot of time. He's got to hear them properly. He will grab one to aggro. He's getting these red pings out. He's going to grab the one, but he gets traded out in the end. Cryptics with the last second clutch and just enough time on the board to get the counter defuse down. He'll clutch it up for his round, and he'll keep Mystic Academy in this map.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Stews was going to find all 3 picks there because it looked like he had found the lineup, but it was actually a little bit of body blocking coming out there from Cryptics, and so he was able to just absorb a little bit of the damage and also let the diffuser at the time absorb a little bit of the damage, so that wasn't able to, Stews wasn't able to find both of those picks lined up just quite as successfully. Now he was able to find one, but beautiful swing there from Cryptics to provide the coverage. Once Stews gives up his position there in that scenario, they did the exact perfect maneuver. You keep the guy defusing the bomb while Cryptics goes for the swing coverage, and with such a little time left on the diffuser, it was the smart play. Now, Stews was able to fell the diffusing player there, but then Cryptics there with the swing able to secure that. And so Mystic Academy they're going to bring it up to a 4-6. That was a beautiful defense from them there. I saw a lot of innovation coming out from them. They had well-timed rotations. They seemed like they really knew what they were doing. That wasn't just we've lost everything else we've tried bringing, so let's go to bar stock. No, they had a plan and they executed it perfectly, and that's going to secure them their first defense. Let's see if they can flop it around now, sort of switch this defensive side on its head, and see if they can't grab a couple more rounds, because while as much as we want to see Achieve Esports grab this map and make sure that they can secure at least a tie 6-6 across the standings, we also want to see this map go to the distance, because who doesn't want to see absolutely electrifying performances from both of these teams?
Innovation was the name of the game last round, and it looks like some of that's going to be brought this round as well. Perhaps during the tactical timeout, it wasn't just a bar stage defense that was discussed. It was also how to rework your past defenses, your top floor, your basement. How do you make these more effective? We're seeing the alibi get brought, the spawn peak coming out inside of the hologram right now. You got 2 different people to shoot at. Which one are you going to choose? Aggro might not be successful with the spawn peak, but we're also seeing the Maestro come out. Oh, the head right here. Oh, he's running around the gate. They seem to know that the spawn peak's coming and aggro is going to fall off. Unsuccessful, but both Italian operators are getting brought. The Maestro, he's got these evil eyes in to potentially deny thermite, exothermics, any sort of serious utility like that. Drone intel can be denied by those tasers, but they're also just seriously, in some way, kind of bulletproof cameras that can sit on the site and give really needed intel to the defenders when it comes to trying to counter wherever the attackers might be coming in from. And right now they're coming in from CTV, but we've got a pretty solidified hold over here. The Jaeger and the Wamai, both of the projectile utility burning operators, they might get droned out here, but they've got so much utility that it's going to be very difficult for VDOT to try to flush them out with these frag grenades and for them to get the push inside of cash. It's going to be a difficult force for Mystic Academy to put up with as they go ahead and aggress inside of this offsite roam.
Yeah, and he finds the angle. He's not going to be able to pick Candle off of that angle there, and he's actually going to get a little bit of damage traded out of there by Cryptic sitting in a column with cross angle, although Vidot's going to repeat Cryptic's, and he's going to pull his head off. And then Shu is going to find aggro. That's elsewhere on the map. That's going to be your alibi going down. So that's 2 huge opening picks here from Achieve as they look to close this map out. Genji just getting active, walking in. He's secured now this gym hall positioning here for the attackers, but he's going to get a little bit too aggressive. He's going to walk his way into gym, and Baron's going to take his feet out. So that's going to be 1 pick traded back out for the advantage here for Achieve Esports. But then Badger's going to find another pick. That's Baron off the board. So that's going to be your Maestro being traded out. Now it's all up to Candle and Hacks here in this last little minute, 15 seconds of the round. You're seeing a little bit of a still just aggressive. They're not slowing down here. Candle's getting aggressive. He's trying to work his way back here. Takes a little bit of damage on the Shu. He's going to find the pick onto Ace, and now we're in a 2v2 here as Hacks finds another. But Badger's going to trade out Hacks. Candle knows the positioning of Shu from the previous gunfight earlier, and he's going to be able to take him down now. Walking in through the gold rotate, Candle finds the shot. Beautifully timed peek there. Just pulling Badger's head off, and he's going to be able to just lock down that round. Beautiful 3K there from him, and Hacks finding the pick elsewhere. That was a 2v4 situation. Mystic Esports, I got to say, in the clutch scenarios, they are just beautiful. They have great positioning. They have great gun skill. You leave these Mystic Academy boys in a clutch scenario. I'm betting 50-50 that there's a good chance they'll win it.
It's like a combination of Bosco and Chala and Bride all combined. Just insane clutch potential, like you were saying, from Mystic Academy to pull that one off 2 versus 4, but the attackers just got disconnected. They were pushing from multiple different angles. Not a bad idea, but they didn't have any sort of coverage or cross angles established. The defenders got aggressive at just the right moments, those pings coming out at the exact right time for Candle to be able to play off of them, beautifully landing all the rest of those headshots. Again, great individual performance, but it was based, like you said, off of enabled team play. If the teammates had not been there with the pings, if they hadn't been able to give that intel and feed it and provide some of those cross angles earlier in the round, then there's no way that Candle would have been able to pull that off. So Mystic Academy, though, went in by the belt loop of their pants right now, barely hanging on right here. And yet, all the same, they pull this back to a 6-5. With that having been said, they are going back to basement. Again, we talked about how this site should have been so defender-sided, but so far, we've seen the attackers win more pushing onto the basement than the defenders. This time, the defenders, last time their upstairs roam didn't quite work out as they had anticipated. Perhaps this time they'll find a bit more luck, find some more opening kills, and be able to collapse back onto the site and execute fully for the full duration of the round.
One thing I want to speak to coming out from Achieve Esports, which I feel like is a big reason why they've had a lot of success here on their attacks, is they're electing to bring triple hard breach. We didn't see triple hard breach come out from Mystic Academy, even though they found 3 attacks on their side, but Achieve Esports, they're electing to bring the Ace and the Thermite in conjunction with the Maverick, which just gives them a whole lot of variety with how they can really open up the walls. We spoke to the fact that Clubhouse is one of those maps where the external walls especially, but just hard breach in general is so impactful on how you can field out a round win for the attackers. So bringing the triple hard breach has really proved to be quite a huge boost to just the overall speed that they can take their attacking rounds, and they're putting that triple hard breach to great work here. Now, another thing, Candle. He's dropping Cryptic's numbers for map 1 here. Candle is 15-9. He was the player we saw last round clutch up and find a 3K in the 2v4 scenario, and he's 15-9. If we see this map go the distance at least to overtime, he's potential to drop a 20 bomb, and that'd be an absolutely insane performance from him.
And you can tell that the defenders, the rest of Mystic Academy, they know how good he is. They're trying to give him as much protection as possible. Multiple Wide Magnets, at least 2 ADSs on that blue generator. We saw Genji play so well off of that generator on his defense to be able to clutch up a 2 versus 4 situation. So I think Mystic Academy are hoping that potentially Candle could do the same. He has since rotated back into sight, but he definitely has the clutch potential to win out a basement site if it becomes close. But they do have to worry about these vertical angles getting open. You hear a lot of explosions going out. C4 is going out, not quite grabbing the attackers in time. There is only one C4 left on the board. That's from Baron inside of Church. He's going to have to rotate into Arsenal if he wants to make quick work of any of those attackers from above. The Sledge gets away scot-free, doesn't lose any life at all, doesn't lose his own life. He still has those frag grenades left as well to be a pain in the rear for all those defenders in the site. Meanwhile, though, that hatch is still up. It's still electrified, and there's still 4 impacts in the pockets of the defenders right now. they can impact trick and take out any kind of anti-breach that goes off onto those hatches. So it looks like the hatches, they're going to fall off a little bit, except maybe Moto hatch is being pushed, and they're going to go ahead and get this back church wall open, not without losing a lot of health. VDOT dropping so much life, but it's all worth in the end. They've got the position set up. If Shu can fell this player inside of blue, the round just might go into their favor.
Yeah, working in these last 30 seconds here, Cryptic's taking a little bit of damage. It's a 5v5. We're seeing the 20-second meta come out. But yeah, once again, I thought we were gone, but no, here we are. So Badger now has dropped Moto Hatch. They have the church wall open. Shu just biding his time here. He's going to swing out, though. He's going to find the pick on the aggro, down him, swinging around back to blue, but Badger's going to secure the player. Badger's going to find another one, secure 2 picks in the round, and give them church control. Candle trading that out, looking to go for the res onto aggro, bring it back to a 3-4 VDOT on such low HP. This is definitely still winnable for Mystic, but the plant is down. Now they're fighting for a post-plant scenario, but there's Candle. He's going to pull Badger down. That's such a huge, impactful kill in this round, especially given his performance. So now bring it back to a 3v3 with VDOT on such low health. Candle finding Genji off guard as Genji's looking towards blue, and that's going to be the pick in their favor, but VDOT, it's still low HP. He's going to find a pick onto aggro, and Hax is down. So 1v2 scenario, VDOT walks down the main stairs, and he's going to catch Candle not looking, and that is going to be map 2 going in the favor of Achieve Esports. We are going the distance. We are going to see 3 maps here. We're going to Villa.
Barn burner for Oregon, barn burner for Clubhouse. The fundamentals from these teams coming out strong, hard, and fast. What a phenomenal game. I'm so pleased we got to witness it, and I'm so pleased that we get to go to Villa, a third map, where maybe we'll see some different, some different team play coming out here, definitely some different strategies. But unpacking that last game, my goodness, that last round specifically, Candle in the clutch is just unrivaled. Those headshots that he was landing, these last second little flicks, there's no question about it. He is by far the clutch master for his team, but unfortunately too many members of the attack left standing. You had the player above, you had the player in Moto. It was a 50-50 shot for Candle vaulting through that church wall. There's no way you win that both 100% of the time, so he was going to go down regardless. A noble effort nonetheless. Very, very closely both these games have been. I'm very excited for what will hopefully prove to be a very close Villa.
Yeah, and what I like from Candle there is he dropped another 3 kills in that round. It's just insane. He dropped 18 kills across 12 rounds in Clubhouse. That is a stellar performance. That is a 1.5 KPR. Beautiful performance from Candle there. I really was hoping maybe they were going to clutch that out and send us into OT, but nevertheless, we didn't see that. And so, yeah, we're going to be going to Villa map 3. But before then, we're going to cut to a short break, and we'll catch you guys back here to close out this map 3.
But I'm just getting started. Got my eyes on the target. No, no. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. To give me your loyalty, cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. I broke all the cages, no, I won't sit and take it, no, no. They left me for dead, I guess I'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, cause I'm taking the world, you'll see.
inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body...
And we're back once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back to the event of the night, I would say. What an exciting match this has been so far between Achieve Esports and Mystic Academy. Both of these teams now, even more so than before, clawing to get a playoff spot. Let's throw it over to Fuego and find out exactly what's going on with the standings right now.
Yeah, once again, I want to pull up the standings here as we, take a look at this matchup and really just how the numbers are kind of coming into play. So we see Achieve Esports up 5 rounds in the differential here. So Achieve Esports gathering the victory from that map here. They have secured 6 points at the least. And seeing a 6-8 fall not in their favor and then a 7-5 fall in their favor, we're even on round differential so far. So that being said, Mystic Academy has to achieve a victory here at least a 7-2 because I'm assuming that will give them the head-to-head victory. So if the round differential falls in a tie, that's where we'll head, is to head-to-head. So Mystic Academy, even though they fought so hard to secure themselves heading into this map 3, they need to take a very dominant victory here on Villa because given that SYR, they achieved a forfeit victory over Sonic Boom, which is going to give them very solid round differential and might put them ahead of Mystic Academy. So Achieve Esports there, just securing that map, they've definitely put themselves in good standings to secure their playoff spot. Mystic Academy here, though, gathering that 1 point, putting them up to 5, even round differential still, they're still down 5 rounds. We've got to see something stellar come out from here on Villa. They have to be near flawless, only being able to afford giving up 2 rounds if they want to absolutely lock in their place here in the playoffs for CCL.
What a tight margin Mystic Academy are going to have to slide by. I have to give props to Achieve. They lost that first map. They easily could have just gone down on the second one, and that would have given them the boot, actually, from this league and from playoff contention. But they steeled themselves. They brought it back together, and because of that, we're going all the way to the vineyards in southern Italy somewhere, to Villa, with some bans obviously coming in. We talked last map about how bans can really affect the way that the map is played. We saw how not having Hibana made the kitchen hatch very, very difficult and almost unusable for basement pushes. Let's see what kind of bans we've got going on this time.
Yeah, Flores, no surprise to see him off the board. He plays very much so the same across all maps. And so Villa being relatively similar to Oregon as far as shield meta and how shields can play into it with a lot of utility on the board. No surprise there. Thatcher, that's an expected ban. Now, what I like is Mystic Academy. They took the Flores off the board first, which pretty much leaves Achieve Esports boxed in. They have to ban the Thatcher off unless they have strats without him. But being that he's such a prevalent ban, they most likely don't. So that's why they did that first ban there with bringing the Flores, locks in the Thatcher ban, and now we're seeing Valkyrie off the board. That's pretty standard. I want to see a Mira ban off the board here, but what do you think?
Mira's very likely. We can maybe see the Kaid to go in favor with the Thatcher, though probably not. Kaid Electroclaws are a bit more easily taken out on a map like Villa, but instead, Malusi getting banned out. I'm both surprised and not at all. Malusi, an operator that you don't usually see banned, at least not anymore when she first came out. A little bit overpowered with those Banshees, being that they were fully bulletproof. They'd only be destroyed with utility. Now, or by being meleeed, I think. Now, of course, you can walk up to them as long as they're active. You can shoot them from a distance, walk up to them and melee them. Take them out with utility they're a bit easier to deal with. But on a map like Villa, Villa is interesting in that it's got a lot of long hallways and long corridors, and because of that, those banshees can really shut down a push coming down that hallway, just start to give away. And something like, especially I'm thinking like 90 position, top main stairs, top middle stairs, even just coming into sight. Those banshees, they're viable on any map, but especially on such an elongated, I should say, corridor based map like Villa, that will give the defenders a lot less intel on where the attackers are coming from, and it'll also be a lot less of a pain to those attackers once they get in the building and they want to make push come to shove and get onto the site. They don't have to be worried about getting slowed down anymore or called out by the infamous Wub Wubs of Malusi Banshee. Now, because Malusi's not here, that does mean that Mira was not banned out. So we're going to see her quite substantially play into how this site of Aviator Games especially works out. She can be used on any site, but this is by far the biggest. There are lots of soft walls in between the sites here. You've got the safety point of Vault for rotates, so it gives Mira a lot of versatility in how she can place those Black Mirrors and use them to her advantage in watching and to study, which is usually one of the primary points of aggression for an attacking team coming onto this objective.
I'm assuming that that is exactly the thought process coming from Mystic Academy here, because Malusi was an operator we saw very heavily used on Oregon, which almost, I would say, pretty much led to their victory, because Cryptix and Aggro both took extreme advantage of that operator. The great gun, the MP5 that she has, the ability that she's just a 3-speed alone, so she's great for taking quick gunfights and finding those picks. And they were the ones that actually banned her. So I'm assuming that they were just like, well, we don't want to ban Mira. Valkyrie's off the board. We don't really plan to bring Cade, and we know how to deal with him, I'm assuming. So, why not just ban Malusi out? It's going to make our attacks a lot easier, but it's not going to hinder or put any hindrance on our defensive roam play. So let's ban the Malusi, and we're going to bring the Mira instead. So that's exactly what we're seeing. They're bringing the Mira. It doesn't look like they're electing to do the year 3. Okay, Shu is already finding a pick there. He's going to catch Candle off. That's going to be an insane first pick from them. And now they're working their way over from Master side, so that's going to be a great opener from them. And V-Dodge is finding another pick onto Baron, catching him totally off guard. There's still another player, Cryptix, though. He's going to back off instead, elect to just not take a gunfight, not risk getting traded out, kind of take an aggressive angle. But those gunshots, he's getting pre-fired, and so he's just going to fall back down. Not looking to hit this barbed wire here as he works to make his way down red stairs with the assistance of Hacks. And now they're in a 3v5 scenario again. Why do we keep seeing 3v5s?
It really is either the boon or the bane of Mystic's existence. On Oregon, they pulled off many defensive wins in 5 versus 3. In Clubhouse, I don't think they got a single one to work in their favor. So they're going to have to try to make this an Oregon and not a Clubhouse if they want to pull this off. On the bright side, the diffuser has been dropped, presumably in a position that it can be recovered easily by the attackers. Probably just the default planter of, I guess it would be Badger, saying, hey, I'm going to go for a long rotate. You take the diffuser, you're in a safer position, you hold on to this, and yeah, we will see it get picked back up and drop right afterwards. But there we go, picked back up finally. It does look like the attackers are a little bit stalled on how they want to get in, and Hax is going to stall them even further. He'll take down Badger. Cryptic's quick to follow. A jump out from Hax actually looks like from the Clay Tachanka room. He's got to be careful about entering back inside his position, being constantly pinged out here. So hiding behind this wall won't do much for him. He's going to have some seriously superior gun skill if he wants to make his way back inside of the building. But even though he can be constantly pinged from the outside, just the fact that he's out there is going to scare away those attackers from wanting to push onto that way at all. They know that he's out there, so he's a constant threat, a constant distraction, something blaring on their screens, and they're going to have to play around that in what is now an even man count if they want to try to get back to the site and make this a round victory.
Well, if they're not careful here, Hacks, his ability is just one-punch barricades like that, and then boom, he's worked his way in. So now he's no longer getting active pinged, although Genji does know where he's at. That nade's going to ring through, and he's going to find the pick there onto Hacks. So beautiful work, but look at how much time Hacks has now wasted. Aggro is just going to trade that pick back out, and now it's a 2v2 hit in the last 10 seconds. Cryptic's going to find one, but Aggro's going to go down. That's Shu working his way into sight. So now it's all up to Cryptic, who is on very low HP, but he's felled the diffuser, and Shu has no time to locate him. And he's going to walk through the He knows that he's in study, but he's not going to find that pick. So yet again, another 3v5 working out in the favor of Mystic Academy, and they're going to pull off round 1 AVG. Hacks doing a beautiful work there. Beautiful job, just wasting the time of those attackers. And by the time that he was able to be felled, we already saw Aggro there with the Mira taking those top-down angles onto main stairs and then finding that trait almost immediately.
Yeah, roamers, again, it's been said before, I'll say it again, they don't need to get kills, they just need to stall for time. Usually that happens inside the building, but Hacks just showed that you can stall from anywhere, even if it's outside of the building where you're constantly being pinged and have to punch down a barricade to get back inside. It was a complete and total suicide mission, but it netted a kill in the favor of his team and wasted an incredible amount of time making the Finka deal with him instead of pushing up to help Shu aggress onto site. An absolutely excellent roam there, and a great finish to the round that initially started so poorly for Mystic. They gave up that extended roam very early on upstairs, fell back downstairs, and Achieve Esports just didn't know how to push onto the site. They didn't seem to have intel on the players. They were worried about going for an all-out rush, even though it was only aggro on the site, and they probably easily could have felled him. They didn't want to push without having that knowledge, so you saw them kind of get nervous, get antsy, start rotating, try to go for a main stairs push. By that point, Mystic had already reconvened around that position. Those roamers on the downstairs were able to finish them off and get the round dub. Now, though, we're heading to Kitchen Dining, the only played downstairs site. So Villa, like the old clubhouse, really only has 3 viable options for defensive sites. Living room, library, not really seeing the light of day ever. So Kitchen Dining will be our only probably main or first floor site, I should say. And because of that, you're going to see a lot of C4 play. Usually Master Bedroom is the point of aggression for the attackers to try to make their way into the building. Though it looks like a bit of a different approach, pushing from the west side. Stu's World and some other members of Achiever trying to get just some lateral play style right now and forego that potentially dangerous verticality, made even more dangerous by the fact that a Pulse and more C4s than that have been brought.
Yeah, I'll do this study over here as I go for this top 4 clear. They seem to be well aware of the Capcan that is resting his place inside of a bar. So they're really going to be establishing this cross angle here on the 90 window as they work to make their way up. VDOT getting very close, getting swung by Cryptics, but he's going to be able to win that gunfight. Although taking down a low HP, not a big deal, as you do have Genji with the Finka boost, who is going to slowly recuperate that HP on the side of VDOT over time. Now, an aggressive pick from 90 read out here, possibly by the audio call from Stews, or maybe perhaps he was droning. So VDOT going to find a great pre-fire as Candle goes for the swing. That's your Oryx off the board. That's a lot of late round roam potential off the board as well, as he's able to work his way up hatches and really maneuver his way around. And so that's going to be him off the board right away. Again, we're seeing Mystic Academy in a 3v5. Now, they do have a lot of utility on their side that they can try to work this back into their favor. If Aggro and Baron can let their Nitro sing and find their mark, we could see potentially 2 easy picks swing, and then we're in a 3v3. So we have to find excellent utility usage coming out from Mystic Academy here. Genji working his way into the mud room with Hacks downstairs, probably trying to find another rotation here. He's just holding that hatch, waiting for a player to just unbeknownst walk past the hatch and find an easy pick now. So most of these players from Mystic Academy just being very solid, just holding their positions, and HEV Sports trying to work what control that they can try to find.
The lateral pressure right now going to be huge. Those players above can't do a lot. If both of the C4 players of Aggro and Baron can sit in sight and just Nitro sell them from above, we're going to see a lot of damage drawn to Shu. Baron's actually rotated upstairs. A dangerous drop through the courtyard, the middle, but he'll be felled instantly by Badger. Hacks now stuck on the downstairs roam. They seem to know that he might be there. They're watching that middle stairwell. If he comes up, he'll find his head taken clean off. It's a dangerous position right now. And Achieve Esports, they might not have site control, but they certainly have a decisive man count advantage. They're in the driver's seat right now. All they have to do is take out Aggro. He can't kill them all with the UMP. He'll grab the Gemini, but it looks like the Zoth going for the push. He's already inside. Aggro's missed his chance. He'll grab the Iana at least, but he can't quite get that. It was the Finka, not the Zoth. The LMG of Genji strikes true. Aggro grabs 2 actually for his troubles. A 3 versus 1. Not unwinnable for Hacks, but he's got to swing right now. They found him out. His location has been discovered, but Shu has been felled. However, Hacks doesn't have sight control, has to dance around this fragger, and he's going to go for the memo rotate. He hasn't been caught out. If he can manage to grab the planter before he can get the diffuser down, this could be huge, but it's been read by Stu's World. Great cover man there with the angle, with the beautiful SSG skin on that 0 AR, and he'll clutch out the round for his team.
Yeah, it was great work there from Achieve to not give up yet again another 3v5. They were able to work the picks in their favor, and then when Badger elected to go to the drop down jungle there, he just was found out. I think maybe he could have tried to work his way back into sight. Nonetheless, he swings with the M590 in the living, maybe hoping the player was a little bit closer than how Badger was. Badger was positioned a little bit farther back than perhaps, or the mute dropping there, finding Badger. Badger was positioned a little bit farther back than perhaps he had hoped. I believe that was Aggro, and so when Aggro falls down, he's just, he's caught out, tries to go a little bit too aggressive there, and so he's going to fall. 5v2 in the favor. Now Hacks doing a great job working that back. That was pretty insane. I am not sure exactly where he was able to find 2 of the picks there. I believe that was Cryptics on the pulse. Found 2 of the picks on the players in just quick succession. Perhaps he found just a lucky headshot onto the guy in mud, but nonetheless takes down 2 there. And then Genji follows it up with a swing to secure the 3v1 with sight control there. Hacks found off. He's able to take down Shu. And then, it's just not going to work out in the favor. They've got sight control. And one thing Achieve Esports have proven so far is that they are beautiful at, once they've got side control, not giving isolated 1v1s. And when they do in that scenario, when they're trying to go for the plant coverage there, they've proven that they can also win those as well. So excellent attack coming out from Achieve Esports, and now rotating into the second site, we're going to be seeing not Dining Kitchen, not Living Library, not AVG because it's locked. We're going to be seeing instead Trophy Statuary. Trophy Statuary is one of those sites that I'm honestly surprised it wasn't picked first. It's kind of worked its way into the meta as being the primary site, especially with Mira on the board. AVG is a little bit more viable, but Trophy Statuary still kind of plays the same way in its Mira setups and the way that you can hold on to Master and Closet.
And you know that when it comes to a push on a trophy statuary, you're going to have a laundry push, you're going to have a pantry push. People are going to get, the attackers, that is, are going to get access down into the kitchen and try to frag from beneath, not only to find and kill defenders that are above, but also to take that anti-breach off of the wall. The usual way for attackers to get into this site is to push those walls inside of statuary looking into the master bedroom. If they can get those open, you still, of course, have to watch across the balcony into game room or in trophy. That could still be a point of contention, but you have at least a bit more ease of access in terms of getting into the site and potentially getting the diffuser down. Aggro, though, he'll be the first to fall. Not looking good for his team so far that he has dropped. He is currently top fragging for them after that beautiful double that he was able to net in the dying seconds of the previous round. He'll go down, but his Mozzie drones and his Mozzie pests, wherever they are, they will live on and potentially continue to do more damage to the attackers. Cryptic's, though, going to do more damage to the attackers in a bit more of a physical, tangible way. He'll grab one, but before he's quickly traded back out by Shu. The LMG just proving to be too much for this defense. And VDOT finding another, despite the one pick that Mystic Academy were able to get. They have not found any other kills since. 4 versus 2 Achieve. They found themselves in these man count advantages time and time again. Like you said, once they get site control, they're set, but it's getting into site. It's executing onto the site that is always the bane of their existence. If the site is ceded to them, I think they'll have a chance at winning it. But if they can't take out these players that are anchoring, they're going to have a hell of a time getting in.
Yeah, Shu wasting a little bit of utility there. ADS going to catch that out. And so as Achieve Esports look to make their way onto site, they're finding they're a little bit down on utility, but that's not going to be too much of or big of a deal here, as they still have a couple frag grenades on the board, as well as 6 stuns that they can use. So excellent utility saving here from Achieve Esports as they work to make their way onto site. Now, with the 4v2 coming out, we've seen Badger rotate out to Master Balk. So he's going to be able to deny the player sitting in Master. Shu's going to go for the hop-in. Now that's going to be the Master player. Brick's door gone off the board, and Shu's going to find the pick elsewhere. That's going to be an insane flurry of kills. Excellent work there as they succinctly coordinated their way into site, finding both of those picks. And that's going to be the second attacking round coming in the favor of Achieve Esports.
Achieve taking 2 back-to-back after their opening round loss to Mystic. And you have to remember that opening round loss was a very close 1v1, a last-second kind of ordeal. Achieve, time and time again, have been given the man count advantage. And even when they haven't won, they brought it very, very close. So Mystic, even when they've won, not looking very confident in themselves, not looking very coordinated, and certainly not looking very roam heavy. Every time they've tried for a roam, they've been shut down instantly. They've lost the opening pick, I believe, every single round now. That's going to catch up with you eventually. I don't care how coordinated and how disciplined you are as a team that can anchor on site and that has the intel to provide the information to make the necessary swings to shut down players that are trying to push. If you keep losing those entry frags, eventually they're going to catch up to you. And it looks like you don't have to say eventually here. They're already doing so. 2-1 Achieve over Mystic right now. Not a great way to start Villa, especially when you're defending first. Villa, traditionally a defender-sided map. The longer it's been in the meta, just like any map, of course, it'll start to shift a little bit back into the favor of the attackers as they learn sort of the defensive meta, the defensive setups that go into a map like this. And especially with attacker repick on the board, also shifts the favor of this map to not quite as defensive-sided, but still 2-1 split so far, not what you want to see. You got to bring this back here. You got to have a more successful roam, a more successful extensive hold inside of Trophy Statuary, and get out yet another AVG win.
Yeah, AVG is going to prove to kind of be the clutch site here, as they went to Dining Kitchen, they lost that. They went to Trophy Statuary and they lost that. So they've got to secure this AVG victory. They're bringing relatively the same lineup here. I doubt Hax is going to be going for the sort of the same play style, as I don't foresee him catching himself outside, although it did work to good effect last time. Now, beautiful preset here from Badger here. They're kind of doing the same attacking style, although they do have a mirror window in their face this time. So let's see how they can deal with that. Last time we saw them attack this site, they were able to find a couple opening picks, which were beautiful in their favor, but ultimately lose out the round. So I want to see what Achieve Esports can change out here. Perhaps we're going to see a couple nades from below as Genji's positioned himself here in clock, although getting a little bit active and taking an aggressive gunfight there on a player playing bottom red. So Genji's position known. Perhaps these players above are going to be wary of nades from below, and so they're not going to be sitting in those isolated spots. Now, VDOT, though, just going to get insane. He's had an opening pick now twice in a row as he finds out Candle. And so that's going to be, again, an opening pick going in the way of Achieve Esports. Candle dropping 0 kills so far, 0-4.
You know, that 0-4 stat, that big donut hole on his scoreboard right now has to be playing huge, not only into how he himself is playing and able to affect his team, but also the mental and the potential of his teammates. When you have your kill leader who went 17-10, I believe, in the last game, and he is suddenly bottom fragging for you with a big old goose egg, that really hampers your team's mental when your leader is down like that. So definitely not helping Mystic Academy. Neither is the fact that he's died yet again in this round. He didn't even get to do a whole lot of stalling. We already see that the trophy statuary extended hold has been seeded, and not only has it been given up without wasting too terribly much time, that's also an extra mirror window that you no longer have on the site. Those mirror windows can be great pivot points for the defenders to find kills, just like how Cryptic found one onto Shu. With that offsite and with the frag right here to take out the potential player, maybe even pop the mirror window from beneath, it's going to be even more difficult for these defenders to use that utility properly. Aggro, oh my goodness, the verticality coming out from Genji so well. He's got the better angle despite the fact that Aggro was above. He'll find yet another kill for Achieve. They're up in a 4v3 right now, but they've got to finish out this round before I give them any props.
Yeah, I thought it was great timing there from Aggro. Almost like he had a sixth sense, was able to smell that the nade was going to be coming up at his feet there as we saw Genji prep for it, but he was able to get out of there and then get traded out immediately. So now Stewsville going to find another pick onto Hacks. 4v2 here as we move into the last 30 seconds of this round. All these players positioning here, 2 out on the master balk, and Genji and VDOT both rotating over to Skull Wall here. Looks like we're going to be seeing sort of a default plant here. VDOT, the one with the diffuser, but those smoke canisters denying a whole lot of time. VDOT's going to make his way in that Finka Boost great time so that he doesn't absorb a lot of this smoke damage here. Nitro Cell going to ring out, though. Going to find one. Stu's going to trade that back. Now Cryptic's here, all left in the clutch scenario. 1v2. He's going to find one. He's got to work it back in their favor. Now, Plant is going to go down, so they've got the crossfires that they need to hold here. One player going to position himself 91 in study, but he's going to find the pick on the study guy. Now it's a quad kill coming out of Cryptics here, fighting his way back into this round, but a nade in the hand of Genji. Is he going to catch out? It's not. Nade's going to net nothing, and he's going to reactivate that Syria gate to ensure that he is not going to be able to get pressured well, but he's got the angle. Cryptic's there, just not sure what he is doing. He's just going to try to stick to the diffuser, hoping that maybe Genji just doesn't try to push on him and he can find it, but he's not. Great effort there, though. 4 kills on the round. Not going to be able to find the ace. And now Achieve Esports up 3-1 on Villa. I want to stress just how important this matchup is here for both of these teams, because even if Mystic is able to secure this map, it does not mean that they secure their playoff spot. So Achieve running away with this map right now as they are 3-1 on attack. Achieve Esports is looking to lock this out. They want their playoff spot, and they're fighting tooth and nail for it.
Every round counts in a game like this one, and the fact that Mystic have given up so many already, like you said, even if they claw this back, they're still certainly going to lose more. I highly doubt they take 6 rounds in a row to be Achieve 7-3, which might be what they need to do if they want to stay in playoff contention after Sire took the win today over oh my god, a Sonic Boom and a forfeit. So really unfortunate for Mystic Academy if they keep giving up more rounds. Even if they win this, they still might not go on, which is the most tragic thing here. They know they've got to step up here. They can at least make this a 3-3 split on the defense, get that momentum going, get a half change, maybe use attack timeout. Just keep the momentum building. You can't let up. You can't relent at all. And it doesn't look like they're trying to. 4 C4s on the board. They said, maybe that's why we lost Kitchen Dining last time. We just didn't have enough C4s flying to the ceiling to take out any unsuspecting attackers. Of course, the main issue last time is the attackers didn't come in from the usual trophy statuary location. They came all the way in from the south side of the map out towards Ruins. And the C4s were not primed in positions to take them out in time. A lot of them were actually on players that were roaming. So by the time they could have maybe used those C4s, they were already gone and off the board. So they need to make sure that they're adjusting their roam. We do see a spawn peak already coming out from the Mozzie of Candle, trying to find his way back onto the kill board. And he's going to start aggressing. So far, last time they played this round, or this objective, they did not have a really great roam going on inside of AVG. This time it looks like it's just Candle by himself, nobody to assist. That'll be even less people on the board for him as Hax is the first to fall. And oh, there goes Candle immediately after. VDOT finds him out yet again, 0-5. That big old 0 on his board right now, not boding well for him or his team. And that 5-3 deficit, not even a minute into the round, also not boding well.
No, but Baron's going to be able to trade that back now. He's going to find Shu, and that's the Sophia LMG off the board, and a big fragger here on the side of Achieve Esports. So that's going to be at least a pick traded out. And Baron, while Candle still has dropping a donut, Baron's going to find his way onto the board with his first kill of the round. He's still persisting for this living room roam. He has a rotate that we've seen placed earlier on the top of or in the middle of red stairs, so he's got a way out. But he's just looking to sort of persist and see if he can't work another pick. This is what Mystic Academy have done so well, is they've persisted in this aggression. They've worked the 3v5s back into 3v3s, and they've been able to close out the round. So Mystic Academy is going to have to do that again here. Nate's going to ring through. Not going to net anything, though. Baron's already made his way out. And now we have Cryptix, Aggro, and Baron all back sort of near the site with 3 Nitro cells on board and the Pulse still alive. Not exactly an unwinnable situation here for Mystic Academy, but they've got to maintain more discipline and try to find an isolated pick, because last time we saw them come to this site, they were able to they lost a man advantage early, but then they were able to kind of, bring it back around. We saw Hacks find a couple picks, so they've got to maintain some discipline here as we head into this final minute of the round. And it doesn't look like so far they're looking to give up an easy pick.
Not only is the utility there for the defenders, but you see that line of sight open from jungle. The player still above hasn't quite been droned out yet, and actually looks like Aggro from the site will manage to grab one inside of living room all the way from Memo. The air jab will go off, but to no avail. The defenders keep this a 3 versus 3 Achieve. We see them spin their wheels in the dirt so frequently. They get these advantages and then just cannot finish out the round onto the site. They've got the utility. They've got stuns. 5 stuns combined, actually, and still 2 frag grenades on the Iana. This could be the exact kind of range play they need to flush out these players that are deep inside of the site right now. But we also still see now 2 C4s as VDOT grabs yet another kill, a huge one onto Cryptix, who was the clutch master of the previous round. He's going to start banking these frag grenades in right now, flushing out these players, threatening them, scaring them a little bit. But there's 20 seconds left on the board. It might be a 3 versus 2, but man count means nothing if you cannot get your butt into the site in time. They know the player's in Memo. He'll grab him in time. VDOT a great triple on the round, but they've got to swing this last player towards Laundry. Not a lot of time left. Pulse can't even grab one of them. VDOT, he's been lethal, an absolute machine. He'll headshot every last member of Mystic Academy, and he'll take yet another round for Achieve.
Wow. I mean, just the pure flawlessness as they come into their executes. They're just not giving anything up, and it seems like they just have all of the intel. They just know where these players are sitting, and they're just finding those picks. VDOT walking in, he's going to pull Baron out, M590 in hand, and he's just going to catch him lacking, and doesn't even get a shot out of that shotgun there as VDOT just walks in and pulls his head off. And then he just knows, okay, it's great game sense, because Pulse has to be in Laundry or at least on the music box, because they've cleared out at least a little bit of China's side. They probably had a preset sitting in kitchen, so they know he wasn't there. So that leaves 2 positions for him to possibly be on pantry stairs, giving callouts perhaps with the cardiac sensor, or Laundry, where it is more likely that he's getting usage out of his utility. And so it was great work there from VDOT to swing around once they were in the 3v1 scenario and just know exactly where that Pulse was going to be, because had he not found that pick, or had he walked in and got caught off guard by the Pulse there, that potentially could have spelled disaster, because they had a player on the other side near China, and so there's nobody really left to cover the plant, so they would have had to go for the aggressive play, probably try to find that kill, which just wasn't really in the cards for them. He had to provide excellent plant coverage there onto the planter as they both worked their way into Memo. So it was beautiful there coming out from Achieve Esports. Great game sense, great fundamentals, and great attacking overall as we head into round 6 here to close out this half.
A phenomenal effort so far from Achieve on their attack. Cannot fault them for much of anything. I talked about spinning their wheels in the dirt. They do get a little stalled out in rounds, but one thing you can't fault them for is that they found the opening pick every single round. But that's not even going to change. VDOT, he should have been killed there. But Candle, the mental is getting to him. You can tell those biffed shots, the messed up window. He can't quite see the player, and he loses out yet another opening pick. Stu's were on the Cryptix. Oh my gosh, it's just like poetry. It just happens every single time. It's this beautiful portrait being painted right now by Achieve, and the further that Mystics get into the dumps, the more they are getting aggressive. You see Genji right now, the LMFAO in the chat. Oh, just another one falls. The aggression from Mystic Academy, clearly not tempered, clearly not well timed, just throwing balls to the wall right now, and they will be felled for it.
Get off me. That's what VDOT says. he takes out Candle on a gunfight that he had absolutely no business winning, because it wasn't like he was just posted up on Study Valk. No, he was on Repel. So he had just no business winning that gunfight, but he does nonetheless. Then he walks in, he swings a full 180, getting peeked from Study Door, finds that pick, and then he just walks in and just takes out another within the site. VDOT just absolutely going insane here for Achieve as they look to close this out and lock in their playoff spot. You can't ask anything more of VDOT. I believe he's 14-3, just nuclear numbers here. Achieve, they're looking so good. A 5-1 attacking half on Villa. That is just all, and this is all but a lost map here. I mean, for Mystic Academy to try to climb this back, it would be an absolutely insane performance from them. I hope that they do it. I'm not going to wish bad on them. I want to see him pull it back, but just the way the numbers are looking, Candle going 18-10 on the last map, their top fragger, now going 0-6, it's not looking good.
I don't want to bring Tier 1 esports of Siege into this too much, but Achieve Esports, they remind me so much of Space Station. Space Station as a team, for those of you that watch the NAL or perhaps don't need to know a little bit more, Space Station as a team have a phenomenal mental. They also have a phenomenal entry kill differential generally. In past seasons, or past stages, they especially have. I think Stage 2 and Stage 3 of last year, one of the best entry teams in all of Tier 1 Siege, I do believe. You see that from Achieve. They've gotten the opening kill every single time on this map. They've gotten most of the opening kills on past maps as well. Not only that, but much like SSG, they get those opening kills. Sometimes they stutter out, they kind of falter in the late round, but they also have that mental to bring things back. We've seen Achieve in deficits before. We've seen them claw back. We've seen their stamina and their mental game. They lost the first map. Their map pick, let's not forget, an 8-6, so nail-bitingly close on Oregon, and yet they've still brought this back to a third map where they are absolutely dominating Mystic Academy right now. So the mental game, the entry kills, all of it is so reminiscent of SSG, and SSG being one of the best teams in the league right now for NAL, you know, it's proving well for Achieve as well. We will see the Nook, though. She's going to flank around the Razor Bloom, just tank it like a champion, and manage to find the first kill on Deshu. I was talking about entry. Looks like I might have just cast or cursed Achieve. They've gone one man down, but not in a difficult position. Even more difficult for Baron. Genji will trade out one more. Stu's World goes down. VDOT another to fall, though. Suddenly it's a 2 versus 2. The kills have just gone absolutely back and forth. You can tell that Mystic's mental right now a little bit shot. They're just going all out aggressive. This round, more so than last, it's panned out for them. It is a 2 versus 2. They do still have at least one frag grenade left, but they've got a lot of ground to cover and a couple more players to kill.
Yeah, and Hax is going to go down now, so that's going to leave Cryptics all left in the 1v2. Now, he's a stellar fragger, definitely top fragging here, as we see on Villa. Now, while his team hasn't been able to do a whole lot, he's been able to find the picks. Cryptics, I'm surprised they weren't seeing each other, but he is eventually going to be able to pull out the pick onto Genji. Now, VDOT, 16-3, located here on the study door at top main. Has to kind of just play time. Ooh. He's going to swing out, but Cryptics, he's going to be there for the pre-fire. The bulletproof was there, the 90 cam was there, and it doesn't matter. Question mark in the chat. Cryptics is going to find the pick and send VDOT packing here as they bring just one round into their favor here for a 5-2.
Once again, the caster curse coming out. Looks like me trying to compare Achieve to my heroes of SSG might have put them down just a little bit, but losing one round is certainly not losing at all, especially in a 1v1 that was just an all-out frag fest of a round. And you see Mystic, they're coming back here. You saw the round before Achieve really trying to get in their heads, trash talking the chat, and now Mystic, they barely win that one back, but it doesn't matter. If you win a round, you can trash talk all you want. The rest of your circumstances are irrelevant, and they're trying to get back into the heads of Achieve. You know that on Achieve, though, they're saying, hey, come on, we're 5-2ing these guys right now. Let's put them aside. Let's try to finish this out. But Mystic, this could be the momentum that they need. They brought it only, both the rounds they've won have been incredibly close 1v1s to finish, but perhaps it gives them just enough momentum and morale to be able to swing things back, push the pendulum back in their favor.
Yeah, they're certainly going to need something. They're probably going to need to get into the heads of the Achieve boys here just a little bit as they try to work, these rounds back into their favor. It's not undoable. Defense is arguably, it's we saw it tends to be in their favor, but Achieve taking 5 rounds, it's not undoable here for Mystic Academy. They need to stop relying so much on the solo play performance. Candle still didn't find a kill in the last round. Maybe he steps it up, and he is the turning point into this matchup. And we can still see Mystic go all the way, but I think a little bit of trash talk, a little bit of getting into the heads of the Achieve Esports roster here might just be what they need to pull out. Honestly, it seems like to me they're on their last legs, pulling out whatever dirty cards that they can try to pull, because at this point, you've got to do everything you can to try to secure this dub.
We're seeing a very similar team comp come back on the same exact site of Aviator Games for the defense. The Thorn Razor Blooms did not pan out quite as well as they might have hoped last time. You saw the Nook sneak around one before it could go off. They're great proximity alarms. They'll alert the defenders to a player's location and do potentially a lot of damage, but they're not always the best at getting a timely kill. There's so much indication, so much prior warning for those Razor Blooms that by the time they go off, the attacker might have already rotated away from that position or pushed past it completely like the Nook did. Meanwhile, Genji, playing on the Thorn herself, not just her gadget down below, will get droned out. He'll have to fall back through library, maybe come up main stairs here as long as there's not a cutoff established. And it looks like the drone work, Mystic Academy Esports not trying to get as aggressive this time. They're doing their due diligence with droning, and it looks like they're just about ready to start to find these engagements. Hax taking a little bit of damage, but VDOT here, he's poised and ready to swing up on this middle platform from the middle stairs. This could be absolutely huge if the attackers have not read into his current position. And sure enough, he will be shut down. Cryptics, a great job in accomplishing that, and the Gone 6 will go out. Not sure if that was to take out a Bulletproof or the camera, the default camera didn't take out either. At least the default cam. Another will fall, though. Candle, suddenly these opening frags are really starting to go the way of Mystic Academy. Candle finds his first onto Shu, making this a 5 versus 3. Let's see if Achieve have Mystic Academy's ability to bring it back. Stews, though, certainly trying to start that. He'll take down Candle. No more kills for you this round. That LNG is off the board, but let's not forget the Ying is still here. She's got all of her Candelas and a lot of bullets in that magazine.
Yeah, well, good on Candle to at least find a pick before he's traded out. So we're in a 3v4 with the advantage into Mystic's favor, and then Nox still on the board with a single grenade, and Hax as well with 2. So they got quite a bit of utility now. They're not electing to bring the hard breach nor hard breach charges, so that might prove to be a deficit here as Stews is able to find another pick onto Hax. That's your Sledge off the board. He's not really dropping exactly insane numbers either, and now they've lost their top red control. They could easily flip that back into their favor with a person simply pushing over, across the short hall, but nonetheless, Dean Candel is flying through now as they look to make their way up main. Genji, though, he's going to find the pick onto aggro, and that's your isolated player off the board now. So just Baron being shot on the low HP, and both of these players located on the red 90 side. This is not looking very good here. We got a player posted up in study looking to find these cross angles. All they have to do is play disciplined here. All they have to do is hold on and not give them a pick. Baron looking for some good pre-fires, but he's not going to net anything. Smoke canister going out. If Baron so much as walks into that, he is toast. Badger going to fell. Cryptics here, and now we're all down to a 3v1 with Baron on such low HP. It's just looking unwinnable here. HEV Esports looking to move this into match point. Baron rushing all the way around to the bar door. He's going to get caught out by the footholds there, and Badger is going to clean him up. So now 6-2 in favor of HEV Esports.
Great fortitude coming out from Achieve. They're losing those opening picks so quickly, actually. Mystic, they did their time droning. They found out the Jaeger on the middle stair platform. Great read from Mystic. Great use of their intel. They take him down. They grab another kill. Looks like they're poised to push onto the site, but then they get stalled out. The 2 frags come back in quick succession from Achieve. They even out the man count, and then now it's Mystic's turn to start spinning their wheels. The Nook, if she'd managed to win out that kill on the main stair, on the front stairwell, she just might have been able to take that engagement further into sight and help secure her team a victory. But because she was shut down, she just didn't have the right angle. The Thorn looking from above is going to win that 9 times out of 10 as long as she knows that the Nook is coming. The Thorn knew that, shut her down, and was able to push that even closer to the brink, forcing Mystic Academy into yet another loss. Not a bad effort from them, but just an inability to finish out the round there, and a great use of the smoke canisters on the utility from the defense there to help finish out that round. As we look to go into a trophy statuary site, I think that was attack timeout. Nope, not attack timeout, just some lag. I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing one at all come out from Mystic Academy. This is match point after all. The round differentials aside, if you want to win this, you've got to step up right now if you want any chance at all, remotely, of getting into the playoffs for CCL.
I think the reason we're not seeing attack timeout come from them is because they know that if they're to work this back into their favor and bring just a few more rounds onto the board, that would be the better time. Achieve Esports coming out so strong, they didn't want to use attack timeout on a defensive half where they are favored to win it out. So Achieve Esports coming out 5-1, leaving him at just such a grasping for straws state of mind. Mystic Academy, if they're looking to use attack timeout for this last map, it's probably going to be if they can swing these rounds back into their favor and find this sort of success that Achieve Esports was able to find on their attacks. I'm not surprised that we haven't seen one so far, but I do hope that Mystic Academy can perhaps bring a couple of rounds in, and perhaps we'll see it later in this game.
We are, however, going over to trophy stats race. So far, we've only seen AVG 50% win rate so far for Achieved, but now we're going to see the other upstairs site, and it looks like an extension inside the Master bedroom. You got Badger here. He's got the Surrey Gate protecting him from Master. He's got some ADSs inside of there as well to protect him from that window. That closet position usually one of the first things flushed out, one of the first positions, I should say, flushed out by the attackers when they come to push a site like this. And that'll be a lot more difficult given that Badger is hiding in there with the SAS shotgun, the M590. That'll make life a lot more difficult for the attackers. Speaking of which, Stews fell by Candle. Great work from the attacker so far. They'll actually go up with the man count advantage, even though Genji trades it back out. But Aggro, another quick one onto Genji. Looks like the closet position doesn't matter. The Amaru's come in. VDOT will finally fell her, but the cross angle from Trophy is established. A very quick round going out very quickly. Hacks and Baron, the only two remaining members. Hacks on low HP. Shu, though, we've seen him in the clutch before. Quite the clutch master, if I do say so myself. The faked plants, the air jabs coming out. Shu's got to get around. He's got to work himself around these air jabs if he wants any hope of getting into the site. He'll force Baron off with the C4. He's inside of Saturate now, but they see him. The cross is established. Baron shuts him down. Another quick rush site for Mystic, and perhaps they didn't need the tactical timeout after all. They're going to go up 6-3.
Yeah, Amaru there. I didn't have a whole lot of faith in the pick there, but it seems like they were just going super aggressive there into their attack. They knew where the players were at, and so they were able to isolate a couple of those site players, leaving Shu, as we saw him earlier in the round, just sort of the lone man over there on the study side. So Cryptix did a great job of working his way in with the Amaru pick, walked right into bathroom, was able to fell the closet player there, and then got a little bit more site controls. He found another pick onto the Astro guys. He switched around, so he was able to be traded out by VDOT there, but by that point, then they know that one player is located off-site, which is Shu, and then VDOT fell as he was able to swing Cryptix as his position is known. So then all Mystic Academy has to do, we saw the Zero Hacks take the gunfight onto Mazi, Shu, and Skull, but he didn't exactly engage fully in the gunfight. All he wanted to do was grab the information on where the player was at. So it was great work from him. He found out where that player was at. He got the information that he needed, and then he just backed off and was able to provide excellent plant coverage onto Baron. And now it was great from Baron there, having the awareness to hop off plant. Even though we saw Shu walk in and not look over at Baron tucked in that corner, it was great by him to hop off the plant and establish a crossfire with Hacks to secure them that round. Beautiful work from them, and we are seeing 5 attacker repicks. Every single member here from Mystic Academy switch off the previous operator that they had picked. What we're seeing here from Achieve Esports here on this defensive roam here is a living room library extension. So how can we expect Mystic Academy with 5 full attacker repicks and no hard breach on the board? How are they going to play into this living library roam that we're seeing from Achieve Esports?
They're mostly planning to take down these castles. There are a lot of soft walls on a map like Villa. You can make a lot of headway from inside of library, take down those castle barricades. If you can flush out this roam inside of living room library, you're going to have a lot of luck advancing onto the site. You got the Ash, you've got the Zoph to help with that. The Buck as well to get some verticality. If they can get above and get those long angles from inside of Vault down in the living room, they can also help shut down that extended hold. Aggro, though, already, they're just going for a full-on pantry rush. They know the players are on an extended roam. They will be spotted out by the proxy. That will give the defenders a bit of time to run back. Sure enough, Badger will grab Candle, not before he's traded out by Baron, though. 4 versus 4 situation, but now the attackers, at least 2 of them are inside, but they gotta watch their backs. The players coming up pantry behind them. VDOT will find one onto Baron. The cross angle established from middle stairs down red carpet hallway, and there is the rotate. You see it coming up from Shu right now. Cryptix will grab Shu on the rotate, though. A great read from him right there. He still has sight control. The plant going down. VDOT biffing his shots, though. Hacks manages to grab him. The diffuser can't quite go down. The Orcs, though, trading out bullets. Stews will grab Hacks from behind. He's got the shotgun out right now, but he's gonna have to get into a close engagement for that to be anything viable at all. He'll swing the bomb chassis, try to grab it, but Aggro and Cryptix, they take the kills back to back in simultaneity, and they will win out yet another round, 6-4, and Achieve with this all-out aggression, keeping the momentum flowing.
Yeah, I think this would be a good time to take a timeout if you are Achieved, because now you have just given up 2 rounds in a row, and it was 2 rounds that a Mystic Academy is just bringing out unbridled aggression that is catching Achieve off, they off guard, because we saw that Amaru on the previous round just, do Gara hook things up into the Astro window, walk her way in, find a couple picks, and now in this last round that we've just seen, a pantry laundry rush, which granted is a great way to attack onto the living library hold, because you can find those isolated players off the site, and they really can't hold a whole lot of cross angles that are going to challenge the players trying to walk in from pantry and laundry. So it was beautiful. It was a good call on Mystic Academy's side to try to find that attack, and it worked out well for him. Now, if you're Achieve Esports, That's 2 rounds in a row. You're on match point, and you have been here for the last 2 rounds, and you still have not closed out this match. If Mystic Academy could translate the momentum that they have just grabbed from finding those 2 dubs to those 2 round victories, those 2 monumental mental chalking round dubs that they've just taken, Achieve Esports, they've got to close this out here, because if it's 3 rounds in a row from Mystic Academy, that brings them up to just 1 more round, and that is just so much more doable from them if they get into the heads of these Achieve Esports players. They've got to find a way to close it out. They're so good at playing disciplined, but we're going to see here. This is going to be the round, I feel.
And we saw last round, it was not unwinnable for Achieved. Even though Mystic rushed straight into site, they read the roam and just aggressed onto site as quickly as possible. Achieve had the cross angles coming back. They had the site so open up. You saw the long angle from Red Hall that was held by VDOT on the Mozzie. Did a great job of picking up at least one player looking through Mimo, but he just couldn't grab the next couple of kills. They whiffed a couple of shots. The player on the pantry roam, he trying to come back into sight, a great strategy, but he was red. They just didn't act quickly enough, and when they did, they didn't have their guns trained on point. That could be chalked up potentially to mentality being pressured. They realize now suddenly it's not a 6-2 anymore. It's not a 5-1 situation. It's a 6-4. 2 more rounds, and it's going to be going to overtime. And you know that Mystic Academy, they haven't been amazing so far on this map, but they've shown themselves to be able to win in the clutch when it really, really matters. They've kept themselves alive so far, and they're going to have to look to do so, attacking once again onto Aviator Games. 50% win rate, a win and a loss for the defense so far. Mystic Academy going to have to try to channel that win if they want to take this site specifically. Actually, no, maybe they haven't. Yes, no, they did win this site the first time they attacked onto it. That's correct. So, yeah, Mystic Academy got a lot to do in this round, but it's not, we've seen them do it before. You know, it's not impossible. They just got to steel themselves and really push together as a team, not let themselves get into isolated confrontations.
No, and they're going to do a great job of that, because last time we came to the site, we saw VDOT fall first. And now, granted, Achieve Esports was still able to win that round, but not giving up that first pick too early is going to be absolutely huge. Now, they have caught Genji out here on this roam. They know that he is sitting on Astro stairs. They have the information. Now, it's all going to come up to timing here. Candle and Aggro both looking to get aggressive, and they're just going to find that pick. Genji caught out. Huge opening pick here from Mystic Academy, as they're going to be able to take out the isolated roamer from Genji, who had a bit of prevalence in the last time that we saw them come here. Now, Candle, he's going to swing around. He's going to find another player. That's going to be Stu's going down as Candle looks to make his way. He's just walking into Skull here. He's got maps control. He's going to catch Badger off guard. VDOT's going to find a trade, though, but then get traded immediately by Aggro. And now we're in a 4v1. This is what I was talking about. Mystic Academy, they have taken all of this aggression and they have translated it into a huge, absolute advantage here. Plant is going down. Shu's going to find one, but he's going to swing out and find another. That's 2 huge picks in the favor of Achieve Esports here. Nitro Cell's going to ring out and not net anything at all. So Hacks and Aggro post-plant scenarios here, and they're both located top red. This is a winnable situation. Great effort by Shu here to find those 2 picks and bring it back, but he still has a lot of work on the table. Shu has to find both picks, and with both of these players knowing exactly where he's going to be pushing from, the nade's going to ring through, and it's going to pull him out, and that's going to be Shu off the board. Great effort there. Beautiful shots finding those 2 opening picks, but a well-timed nade as he's going to catch Shu's rotation, and that's going to be the 5th round win and the 4th attacking win here from Mystic Esports. This is polar even. This is not even night and day. This is night and night. This is day and day. We are seeing the exact same mirrored sides from both of these teams across almost every map.
Yeah, Mystic Academy there, you finally see that team cooperation that I think they were lacking so much in the defensive half. You also see those entry kills starting to go their way. They had the read onto the player Astro stairs, send 2 players over together, easily fell him. They grabbed the next coming up middle stairs. These roams from Achieve Esports right now, not panning out the way that they need to. You got a Thunderbird on site, but they try to leave the site incredibly open so they can collapse back onto it from their extended roams. But so far, I would say you should need to go for more of a turtle strategy. You've got the Thunderbird in sight. Let your players sit in sight. She's a great anchor character. Have more with her. The problem is all these players on the roam are getting completely caught out, leaving you high and dry when you need them most. Even if you have clutch potential with an amazing player like Shu, he can't win a 1 versus 4 when the diffuser is already planted. You can't rely on that every single time. It looks like Achieve Esports really going to have to try to change up their strategy here. Come on, you're 1 away from victory. You've been on match point for, 4 different rounds now. You can surely close one out, but Mystic Academy, they're not going to give it to him easily, you know? Mental's getting chalked, as you say, and both teams, momentum has shifted. The tables have turned. I think this could really go either way at this point.
No, if Mystic Academy want to bring this up to a 6-6 overtime and take us the distance, they have got to unleash Baron. Candle started out this map 0-7, but even he has found a way to stretch himself even a little bit further than Baron and find a few picks on the board. So now he's leading in frags over Baron. Baron is 4-10, R4C in hand, and with Diffuser as well. Let's see what he can do. Now, something I want to talk about is Cryptix. He brought the Fuse last time. Now, granted, Mystic Academy still won the round, but we didn't see a whole lot of impact here coming out from the Fuse. So let's see if maybe they can work a little bit better utility usage here. Onto the Skull window is going to be a Fuse charge going out. Not going to net a whole lot, but perhaps clear a little bit of utility there. So first pick, that's a Razor Bloom. That is Genji finding a Razor Bloom pick onto Hacks, but Kando luckily going to be able to trade that out. Badger going down aggro, finding the pick onto Badger. That's going to be your smoke off the board. That is a lot of plant denial utility. And Baron seems to be already in the site going for plant. Are they aware of this? Shu here, located on top red, but there's a player maps. He's got he's okay. He's going to catch him out. That is Shu finding the pick onto Cano. Cano going down. Cryptix finding two. That is two huge picks there. It is now a 3v1. They've got site control. This last player, VDOT, he's located on top red. He's located from 90 all the way over to Skull here, and plant is going down. Baron's going to get the plant down. He is really going nuclear as far as providing the opportunity for his team. Cryptix going to swing out, and he's going to pull VDOT down, and now we are at 6-6 overtime. What? 2 5-1 halves coming out from both of these teams on attack? What is happening?
Kenji getting the Razor Bloom kill too. You think that would shut down the attack? You think that would stall them out? They say, oh, we just lost a player, let's regroup. But Mystic just said, no, keep charging forward. You lost a player, great. That's one less Razor Bloom we have to worry about. Let's go take down the Thorn herself. And they did just that. You see these trades coming in perfectly, beautifully working in tandem because these players are moving, pushing, and working together. That's exactly why we're seeing an overtime right now. Interestingly, we're going to Dining Kitchen. We've got Achieve. They're staying on the defense for this first round of OT. We're seeing an interesting lineup. The Oryx for that roam. Alibi, try to trick some players, maybe block off some windows from being jumped in, maybe have an upstairs presence as well, using her shield for positioning. 2, the Mute coming out, Captain for trap. Castle and Mute can work together to shut down lines of sight. Honestly, though, I think the Castle needs to focus those more on the objective itself. You can do some great positions turtling on this kitchen dining site as long as you have some sort of upstairs presence to stop a potential fuse or a buck or a sledge. You can turtle a lot of your guys inside of this. Is a wide site. You can play into Mimo. It's basically an extension of the site. Laundry a little bit as well. You can really lock these players out. But if they keep extending this roam, I'm not sure how successful it's going to be given how much it's failed them already.
No, usually you would assume that starting out on defense in OT is an advantage. But given how this map has gone, Villa, one of the most, I feel like, defender-sided maps in the pool currently, and probably even more defender-sided than Oregon or Clubhouse, respectively. Starting out on defense, but Chief might be starting out from the back foot here. Granted, VDOT going insane, 19-9, and the attacker lineup that they're bringing here looking pretty solid. Aggro, though, on the IQ, perhaps he was expecting the Pulse to be on the board, but, not going to find that. But regardless, Achieve Esports here. This horizontal roam over to the living room library, it might prove deadly this round, just based on the fact that we're not seeing a pantry laundry rush come into play, but we're not seeing the Pulse on the board. We're not seeing a whole lot of nitro utility. Stu is the only person on the team with the nitro. A couple impacts on Shu's side, but other than that, it's not a very standard lineup that you would expect to see here on Dining Kitchen. And so I wonder what the Chief Esports plan is, because it seems like Mystic Academy, they've switched things up. They're probably going to be going for a top down here. So they've certainly got a plan themselves.
A little bit unorthodox from the defense right now. That Oryx, though, this is his time to shine. He needs to get up to the top. Right now, he's just sitting and playing inside of Mimo, possibly trying to go for a late round roam. But he needs to be taking advantage of this time to get up there. You hear the fuse charge, the fuse cluster charge going out. That'll start taking out a lot of utility on the site. The laundry hatch opened as well. The players have wisely, though, rotated back inside of Mimo. Mimo is mostly safe from fuse cluster charges, so those will mostly just take out utility within the site. There is no upstairs roam present at all. These players, they are just trying to play on the main floor, though Genji, he's going to change that up a little bit. He's pushing up the middle stairs. I don't know if the attackers have any sort of angle. Candle trying to aggress to get this angle. Oh, Genji taking a lot of damage, but that Rima dash will get him away just in time. He's going to fall back downstairs, lick his wounds, but he does at least live to die another day.
Candle almost trying to find the head of Badger there, and he's actually going to find that pick as Badger gets a little bit too antsy, tries to work his way out, assuming that Candle's fallen off the peak, but Candle's going to persist with the LMG, doesn't need to reload, and so he's going to be able to find that pick. VDOT being droned here now in Pantry, and that's going to be a man advantage going into the favor of Mystic. VDOT, proving to be an absolute menace, going to take off one of those Selma charges there, just sitting in Pantry, but What I like here is we've got a player in the basement. That's Candle. He's pursuing the alibi roaming, the V-Dot roaming here on Pantry Stairs. If he can find this pick here, Cryptic's going to find a pick elsewhere, but V-Dot is going to take down Candle, so he's going to at least trade that back now, and Hack's rotating downstairs to take up the same positioning that we just saw Candle die in. Let's see if he has a little bit more success, or if V-Dot can find a good pick here and lock out this roam clear coming out from Mystic Academy.
This is really going to hinge on whether or not Vidoc can get this kill. He's on the hatch play. He sees it come out from the alibi ping, but that's going to ping out with the proxy alarm as well. The sledge knows that he's there, and he knows the sledge is there. Now they're both in a little bit of a dance here in the pantry. The frag grenade coming out. That's going to kill you anytime. He's going to drop the hatch. The sledge doesn't seem to realize this. He's ready to back up. He sees it in time. Hacks with a great read. He'll shut down the alibi, and site control now in the hands of the attackers. All they have to do is get this diffuser down with the defenders. It looks like there's been a bit of a rotate upstairs. If they can use the verticality against them just like that, Hacks will get dropped. The diffuser dropped as well. Stu and Shu from upstairs, rhyming together, killing together. They're using these impacts against them. Suddenly, the entire tables of the match have been turned. This corner at least seems safe. Cryptic's on the cover right now. The swing from the main door, not looking the right way. He'll grab one onto Stu. He can't quite grab the captain, though. Diffuser will go down. The swing coming out from Aggro through the couch right now. He's losing a lot of HP. This could be very, very intense right now. Shu with a lot more health right now, but he's got to play on the attack. He's going for the counter defuse. Aggro just has to read this at the right time. He's rushing back towards the site, but he's not reading it fast enough. Coming off his Shu, he grabs it in time, and he's got plenty of time for the counter defuse. The 9mm coming in absolute clutch, and Shu capping off for his team well behind VDOT with a big 12 kills. What a huge round for Achieve to finally bring back a defense.
Wow, and talk about fighting from a disadvantage there. I mean, that was just insane. Honestly, I thought there that the Capcan was just going to stick it because it didn't seem really like I thought she was going to stick it because it didn't really seem like Cryptics had all that much knowledge on exactly if he was on the diffuser or not. So by the time that he actually walks in to go for the swing there, perfectly timed there by Shu, he hops off the diffuser. He's able to secure that kill. Honestly, either way, he definitely had the advantage there. He was playing into the IQ's head, and the IQ just didn't. On such low HP, I suppose I can't really fault the IQ for playing it the way she did, but nonetheless, she was going to be able to find the kill and then take the defuse and now achieve Esports on a site that we did not favor them really to win, starting out on a defensive half, which has not proven all too successful. Achieve Esports finding their first round on defense, now heading on to attack. They might be able to close this out. Now, where are we seeing Mystic Academy go? Right back to the same site, running relatively the same lineup, switching out instead for the Thunderbird and the Pulse. And so, what is up with them going dining kitchen? Why?
I honestly can't quite wrap my head around it. We saw it work for Achieve Esports there on that extended roam, despite what I thought would work for them. They managed to pull it off, so I think we're going to see a similar mentality, especially with Aggro running the Pulse, who's kind of the peanut butter to the jelly of this site. You almost always see a Pulse. I was surprised that he didn't come the last go-around. But that cardiac sensor can, of course, see all those players directly above. If there is a fuse that's brought, or any sort of buck or sledge, it doesn't look like they're being brought. Any sort of player above, though, can not only be pinged out by aggro for other roamers to go and kill, but can also be shut down by a C4. The Aruni using those Surya gates. No castle, but the Surya gates can certainly close off some of those lines of sight, burn some more utility, and especially with the potential run out coming here. This is ballsy from Hacks, but Mystic Academy so far, all of their previous round wins have been off of big, aggressive plays that they have made and succeeded at. So he's got the player above to help assist him as well. It looks like 2 players now inside of Laundry. They just might be able to get some opening round frags, shut down this Achieve Esports attack, and put them in the dirt before they can get too much of an advantage.
The study player getting caught out there, and it looks like we have players aggressing onto his position as... Oh, no, sorry, that's going to be 2 defenders instead rotating upstairs. So both of them going to be caught out on drones there. Oh, Genji going to be able to find a pick onto Baron, as Shu as well is taking a little bit of an aggressive stance. Now we're seeing a player rotate outside, looking for a little bit of run, not going to net anything there. But opening pick going in the way of Achieve Esports here. Redot trading out a little bit of damage, but not dying just yet. So we're not going to be seeing that. We're not going to be seeing the man advantage equalized here. And with Finka on the board, all that damage that Mystic Academy has done so far in the early round is going to prove to be not as fruitful as they would hope, as Finka is still on the board. So man advantage going in the way of Achieve Esports. Baron off the board, not going to be going nuclear. Spoke about him a couple rounds ago being 4-10, and he is still 4 kills on the board. 4-12 here. Him off the board, a Nitro Cell off the board. A lot of great utility, especially with the Pulse on the play. He's got a lot of variety that he can use that Nitro Cell for plant denial or to find a pick on a potential caught off guard player upstairs. But nonetheless, he's off the board now, so his impact on the round is going to be none.
An aggression right here coming onto Bicycle Claws. The defender rotates out. Genji's now taking up position, and he's got this angle onto the site itself through the partially destroyed kitchen wall. But Cryptix, he's gotten upstairs. He's been droned out, though. That's going to be dangerous. He does always have jungle if he needs a quick rotate to get the hell out of dodge. But otherwise, he's going to be pincered up here. He will use that positioning, though, to shut down the A Selma. He might not be getting kills, but he's certainly shutting down the utility. Oh, he can almost see him there. I couldn't tell if maybe he could or not. But Stu's World, he'll add on to that entry kill count. He'll shut down Candle. No more Captain on the board. His traps will survive. Hax, though, goes for Badger. It's a bit of a trade, not quite even. Stu will take down the Captain to further save his own life. Down will go that Ace, though. That's really big. You cannot get those walls open. You're going to have to push through those primary door entrances now. That kind of funneling could be potentially deadly, especially with 2 C4s still on the board for Mystic Academy. Take this round. We are seeing the laundry push come as VDOT grabs one onto Cryptix. That's big with how big Cryptix has been so far. VDOT 21 kills. Absolutely nuclear for his team right now. Stu's World going for the laundry hatch. VDOT with a knife kill. Another to follow. Aggro's the last one left. It's the Pulse. He can scan them from anywhere, but can he shoot them from anywhere? Can he kill them from anywhere? He's behind the B-bomb chassis. They've ascertained his location all the way deep, actually inside of Pantry, I believe. They don't seem to know where he is now. They're a little bit confused. He will be caught out. He grabs at least one. The diffuser's still going down. C4 goes out to no avail. Shu shuts him down. Achieve Esports are your victors. They're going on in the playoffs.
Oh my gosh, Baron, I couldn't have said it better myself. That was a barn-burning series. I mean, we had at least 12 rounds across every map. We saw 2 8-6 overtime victories, and wow, just for Achieve Esports to maintain stolid in that and just carry it all the way to the end, not lose focus. We saw Mystic Academy bring back 4 rounds in a row. They fell 6-2, and they brought 4 attacking rounds in a row there to secure them overtime, but they just fell short. It was almost like a mirror, just in the opposite way that we saw Oregon play out. And so, yeah, Achieve Esports, they're going to be your victors. They're going to secure the 8-6 victory on Villa, and they're going to be heading to playoffs.
Absolutely. Definitely a very close game. You cannot argue that. An 8-6, 7-5, and finally another 8-6 to win it out. Achieve their mental game coming in huge, their stamina, their ability to play out all of these rounds to 3 maps, 2 of which went to overtime, 1 which was only really a round or 2 away from overtime. Just an incredible game to get to cast. Both teams were very capable of going on to the playoffs because of the Sire Esports forfeit win over Sonic Boom. They instantly get access basically to the playoffs, and because the round differential wasn't great enough, even if Achieve Academy had won that game, I don't think they would have advanced. So perhaps it all ended better in the end, that they went out with a bang certainly, but did not quite get the win. That would have just been heartbreaking in the end. Regardless, Achieve Esports are going on with, I believe, Sire, not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that's who. Both teams should be going on to the playoffs now, and absolutely well-deserved congratulations and GG to Achieve Esports.
Yeah, I mean, a stellar performance, like you said. Even if Mystic Academy couldn't take that round differential in their favor and secure their victory by the round differential, it was at least a stellar performance for them, just for them to fight so hard back into that game and bring it all the way to an overtime. If we could have seen them have gotten the point victory and got that 3-way tie at all 6 points for across the board for those 3 teams, maybe we would have saw some sort of numbers getting flubbed there on the side, and we saw Mystic Academy go on. But nonetheless, that's not the result that we saw. Achieve Esports fighting tooth and nail to secure this victory for them. So yeah, they definitely proved tonight they earned their playoff spot, and they earned their CCL win last season, and we're going to see them move on. Let's see if they can grab another dub as they move into CCL playoffs for season 2.
Absolutely. They're poised to take it. I'm very excited to continue to witness their rise to stardom this season through the rest of this Canadian Contenders League second season. But that is going to do us in for the night, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a long haul, but it has been an absolute pleasure to cast alongside Fuego, and for both our observer and our producer. Thank you all so much. Incredibly grateful. You can see all their names scrolling across at the bottom. Make sure to go follow them on Twitter. And keep in touch with them. They've done an excellent job tonight. It's been just a pleasure casting and getting to cast and watch and commentate over and just witness this greatness that was this 3-map barn burner of a game between Achieve and Mystic Academy. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and stick around for the playoffs coming in the next couple of weeks. But until then, we're heading out for the night.
Whatever, anyway, every time we try to talk, I'm out, I'll be any day. It's always something that we know.
see your face, I can feel it coming back. These shivers are every day. Whoa, I say it's over.